Chapter 1041 Scaring Himself. Fang Yuan's situation was very weird. Qizai could not help but feel wary. What sort of Dao marks does he have? Why can he use the killer moves of different paths and receive an amplification effect, without any hindrances? Qizai seemed to be preparing while waiting patiently and at ease, but in fact, he was working hard at racking his brains. As far as I know, in history, only one person could do this, that was Reckless Savage Demon Venerable. There were a number of demon venerables in human history, among them was Reckless Savage. He was the founder of Strength Path and had also cultivated Transformation Path. Historical records had stated that he could transform into countless things, and his Dao marks could change at will. For example, when Reckless Savage Demon Venerable turned into a lightning wolf, he would be able to use Lightning Path killer moves. When he became a swamp crab, he would be able to use Earth Path killer moves without feeling any disturbance and weakening from other Dao marks. Ordinary Transformation Path GU masters could only specialize in one kind of transformation. For example, in Northern Plains Imperial Court Contest, Chenglong and Chenghu could only transform into a dragon and tiger respectively. As for Transformation Path GU Immortals, for example, He Lang Zi, he could turn into 3 types of wolves, having different Dao marks on him. But when he switched his Dao marks, he had to wait for some time and use certain methods to get rid of the original Dao marks and prevent the disturbance of Dao marks of other paths. This problem had troubled every single Transformation Path GU Master and GU Immortal in history. Except one person, that was Reckless Savage Demon Venerable. He could transform at will without considering the interference between Dao marks. Unfortunately, after Reckless Savage Demon Venerable died, his method was not passed down. Countless talented individuals had tried to learn his methods, but their results had been failure, obtaining nothing. Don't tell me that this enemy here has inherited a crucial Transformation Path inheritance of Reckless Savage Demon Venerable. Qizai thought of this and felt a fire of excitement burning in him. Other than this explanation, he could not think of anything else. Of course, GU masters cultivate in various ways. There are countless numbers of people and methods, not all of them follow conventional wisdom. Qizai squinted, he was still very calm. Actually, his guess that Fang Yuan had obtained a true inheritance of Reckless Savage Demon Venerable was still an underestimation of Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan could do this because he had the rank 9 Sovereign Immortal Fetus GU that Spectral Soul Demon Venerable refined. This Immortal GU was not ordinary. Not only was it the crucial thing needed for Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's revival, it was also his hope of surpassing all of the Venerables in history. In the past, after Spectral Soul Demon Venerable died, he was not resigned to that fate. Thus, he built Shadow Sect and planned meticulously. During that time, he not only revised on the knowledge gained during his life, he even searched for countless inheritances all over the world. Among these inheritances, there were GU Master inheritances of all kinds. They could give Spectral Soul Demon Venerable new inspiration and brand new directions. There were also GU Immortal inheritances and even a number of the other Venerables' inheritances. Shadow Sect could obtain one of Red Lotus Demon Venerable's true inheritances, the most mysterious Venerable in history, not to mention the other Venerables. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable controlled Shadow Sect and set up Zombie Alliance over the 5 regions. After tens of thousands of years, he accumulated his foundation and researched, putting in immense effort and making huge sacrifices. Eventually, he gathered all his knowledge and made use of the key aspects of it, creating the rank 9 Sovereign Immortal Fetus GU. One could say, this Immortal GU was not just the materialization of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's soul path, it also showed his immense accumulation of the essence of other paths. It was an unparalleled treasure. Even though Heavens will used Fang Yuan as a tool, at the crucial moment, Fang Yuan, as an otherworldly demon, broke free of its manipulation, using Sovereign Immortal Fetus GU for himself. Qizai felt suspicion. Even though Fang Yuan had rank 6 aura, he did not dare to be careless. He was probing Fang Yuan. He was a rank 7 GU Immortal. Even if he did not have any rank 7 Immortal GU, he had rank 6 Immortal GU. Earlier, the method of extracting the mud ball of grudge chi to create the Mudman Nijian was an immortal method. But he did not use Immortal GU right now. Immortal GU were the trump cards of GU Immortals. When used, they expended immortal essence. Qizai only had a low-grade blessed land. Unless it was a crucial moment, he would not use Immortal GU. Of course, Immortal Essence was not the main reason. The most important reason was that once he used Immortal GU, the information would be known by the enemy. The number and specific types of GU worms that a GU Master owned were confidential secrets. Once intelligence was leaked, the GU Master could be countered using specific means. The same applied to GU Immortals. During an initial battle, without knowledge of the background of one another, GU Immortals would try to probe each other first. While Qi Zai was probing Fang Yuan was also probing him. All sorts of mortal killer moves were used by Fang Yuan, together with his handsome appearance, Qi He's attention was greatly captured. Similar to Qi Zai, even though Fang Yuan had immortal GU, he could not use them casually. Even though the rank 7 sword path immortal GU were powerful, Fang Yuan only had rank 6 green grape immortal essence, this was inferior to that of the rank 7 GU immortal Qi Zai. If not for Fang Yuan joining Langya sect, he would not have enough immortal essence stones to replenish his immortal essence, he would lose this battle for sure. Both sides fought continuously, attacking and defending at various times. The commotion was huge. Qi He watched unblinkingly, gasping in her mind. Unavoidably, Qi Zai was gradually falling into disadvantage against Fang Yuan. No matter how impressive mortal killer moves were, they did not have immortal GU in them. Thus, the amplification from Qi Zai's Dao marks was very limited, they could not exceed the level of effect from using an immortal GU. In the long history of humanity, only one mortal killer move was publicly known to match immortal GU when activated. That was the white bone chariot that proud bone demon Lord Shen Jiao created. This person was a rank 8 demonic path GU immortal, he was proud for a good reason. In this particular achievement, none of the 10 venerables could match him. Even though immortal venerables and demon venerables were invincible, they were not omnipotent. Specialists tackled their own fields. In the past, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had asked Long Hair Ancestor to refine GU for them. In contrast, even though Fang Yuan's Dao mark accumulation was not as high as Qi Zai, he had a large number of methods, and because the amplification towards mortal killer moves was limited, he could deal with his opponent. Thus, gradually, Fang Yuan attacked more and defended less, gaining the initiative. Qi Zai was fully aware of the battle situation in his mind. He frowned and began his counterattack. Battlefield killer move, Qi Lockdown. Immediately, the surrounding area was sealed, air was immobilized, forming a translucent temporary battlefield. Fang Yuan smiled, he was not nervous. This battlefield killer move was only mortal level, it had little threat towards GU immortals like him who had immortal GU. Only if they were a rank 6 GU immortal without immortal GU would they feel like this was a huge threat. And Fang Yuan already had this kind of battlefield killer move. Immediately, he used a signature move of Shui Song Zi, battlefield killer move Snow Domain. At once, Qi Lockdown was pushed aside, as coldness seeped into the surrounding air. Qi He could not hold it in anymore, she gasped out loud. In front of her eyes, the battlefield had been split into two, one was an icy domain, the other had motionless air. Qi He's perspective was still that of a mortal. This type of battlefield killer move, even though it was mortal level, was the trump card of every powerful mortal force. Unless it was an emergency, they would not use it normally, otherwise, they might get countered if enemies gained intelligence on it. Just now, she witnessed two battlefield killer moves used in front of her. She felt that this trip was worth going on, she was satisfied with this eye-opening experience. Seeing that Fang Yuan was still at ease, Qi Zai lost his patience, he took the lead to activate his immortal GU. He was a vigilant person. He did not use an immortal killer move, he only activated the immortal GU. A rank 6 Qi Path immortal GU. Fang Yuan did not know what it was, Qi Zai was not stupid enough to use it while calling out the immortal Gu's name. Once the immortal GU was activated, the entire battlefield changed drastically. The Qi Lockdown battlefield dissipated, turning into fuel for the immortal GU. Snow Domain could not resist it, a long rope of Qi invaded it and pierced through. This long rope of yin Qi coiled around like a venomous jade snake, it was several meters long, assaulting Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan sighed, using his rank 7 sword escape immortal GU. Whoosh! Immediately, he seemed to have turned into a sharp sword, piercing the air and flying away. So fast, Qi He opened her mouth, extremely shocked. In the blink of an eye, Fang Yuan had flown almost beyond her vision. It was a rank 7 movement immortal GU after all, it had spectacular speed. Qi Zai was shocked too. He had estimated that Fang Yuan was a GU immortal specializing in snow path, wind path, or dark path. After all, the mortal killer moves that he used earlier were mostly from these three paths. But when Fang Yuan used his immortal GU, it was sword path. And it was a rank 7 sword path immortal GU. What is this? He is not a transformation path GU immortal, but a sword path GU immortal. Qi Zai felt like his brain was frying. After probing for so long, he had thought that he found out some details about Fang Yuan. But when he used his true methods, Fang Yuan actually displayed a rank 7 sword path Immortal GU. And he flew so quickly. If this were in the past, I could only look on and sigh. It is a pity that you are unlucky. Not long ago, I completed the Immortal killer move that I had been designing for 3 years. Chi Zai snickered, whistling as he opened his mouth. At the same time, aura burst out of his body, the aura surrounded him in Chi-He, and penetrated into the Chi Grand Lion's body. The Chi Grand Lion cried out in pain, its eyes were red as it charged towards Fang Yuan. Under the effect of Chi Zai's Immortal killer move, the Chi Grand Lion's speed was astonishing. In less than a few minutes, the Chi Grand Lion carried the 2 Chi Clan GU Immortals and chased up to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan saw this and felt a headache. Chi Zai used his Immortal GU again, summoning the long rope of Yin Qi. Very evidently, it was the same Immortal GU as before. The Yin Qi rope coiled and flew towards Fang Yuan, rapidly getting closer. He did not use any other Immortal killer moves, just a rank 6 Immortal GU. Is it because his movement killer move has a lot of GU worms in it, he has to focus his attention on it? Fang Yuan's eyes shined. During the moment of crisis, his mind was still calm. He thought about it as he displayed his deep foundation in fighting. When activating Immortal GU, the aura of the GU worm would leak, but when activating Immortal killer moves, the leaked aura would be much more complex. Thus, Chi Zai easily noticed that Fang Yuan's Immortal GU was rank 7 and sword path. And Fang Yuan could also easily notice that Chi Zai was using just the rank 6 Immortal GU alone. Of course, this was a typical case, it did not hold true all the time. Some special methods could conceal the aura of Immortal GU and mislead the enemy. Flying Sword GU. Fang Yuan pointed as his Immortal GU shot out. Flying Sword Immortal GU was peerlessly sharp, the Yin Qi rope was cut into pieces easily. Chi Zai's heart shook, he was shocked. Why does he have another rank 7 sword path Immortal GU? Is he really a sword path GU Immortal? Then, why did he use all those mortal killer moves? Why are both his Immortal GU rank 7? Don't tell me, he is a rank 7 GU Immortal, and he is purposely concealing his aura to be rank 6 so that he can pretend to be weak when preying on others. Chi Zai could not guess Fang Yuan's actual situation. He had a vigilant nature and a tendency to think deeply. The more he analyzed, the more shocked he got. He was scaring himself. Chapter 1042. If heavens will finds trouble, cut down the trouble. Chi Zai's mind was churning with thoughts, his expression turned grim. Fang Yuan was also frowning deeply. He had used Flying Sword GU earlier to destroy the Yin Qi, but it had recovered in an instant. The Yin Qi rope flew towards Fang Yuan again. It was not going to stop until it coiled around Fang Yuan. Flying Sword GU might be strong, but against an obstacle that can disperse and gather at will, it cannot take it down. Fang Yuan had a realization. Earlier, when dealing with the desolate beast mud monster, he had such a feeling as well. Now, facing a Chi Path GU Immortal, this feeling emerged in him again. Of course, this was because he lacked a relevant killer move. If he had a sword path killer move that could help Flying Sword GU to scatter its attacks instead of focusing on one point, his problems would be resolved. Actually, Fang Yuan had anticipated this situation. Thus, he used Sword Escape Immortal GU and tried to retreat. But he did not think that the other party would have a movement killer move to chase him. Fang Yuan fell into disadvantage. Earlier, during the probing, he had the upper hand because of his countless mortal killer moves. But now, after using Immortal GU and Immortal killer moves, they were fighting for real, he got into a disadvantage very quickly. The other party was a rank 7 GU Immortal, his cultivation level was higher than Fang Yuan. It was to be expected that Fang Yuan could not beat him. In fact, it was already not easy to get to this point. I only have 2 Immortal GU, while he is rank 7 with higher cultivation level than me and has more methods. If he has an Immortal Battlefield killer move, even if I have Flying Sword Immortal GU, I would not be able to break out. I cannot stay here. Sword Escape. Fang Yuan activated this rank 7 Immortal GU again, flying into the sky. Hey, he is very vigilant. Chi Zai snorted coldly. His fighting style was to drain his opponent's resources and draw out the battle. When the Yin Qi rope breaks, the aura would disperse and as time passes, the entire battlefield would favor Chi Path more. By then, even if Chi Zai did not use Immortal GU, his strength would be higher, and he would be able to spend less Immortal Essence. It was a very good strategy that benefited him. But Fang Yuan had already decided to fly away and escape after a short battle. Every round was basically at a new location. Chi Zai could not accumulate his advantage. GU masters had limited movement speed, they were often restricted to fighting at a particular place. But GU immortals could travel far, moving thousands of li easily, they were different from GU masters. Thus, it was easy to defeat a GU immortal, but very difficult to kill them, unless one had an immortal-level battlefield killer move to trap them. However, these types of battlefield killer moves took time to set up. When GU immortals fought, they could only set up the arrangements in secret if they were in front of the enemy, they had to conceal their actions for the trap to succeed. Or like the time when Fang Yuan dealt with He Chang, he set up the battlefield killer move in advance, luring his enemy into it. Even though Fang Yuan escaped, Qi Zai had an immortal killer move to chase him. Fang Yuan had slaughtered Ni Clan village, this was a place which Qi Zai was in charge of, if he let Fang Yuan go, he would have to be held to account for this. Most importantly, Qi Zai was afraid that Fang Yuan was a descendant of the other clans. In this 1,000-year bet, Qi clan was already going to win, at this juncture, he could not allow unexpected mishaps to occur. Thus, Qi Zai had to investigate this matter. He could not let it go. After Fang Yuan escaped, he realized that Qi Zai had chased after him. How deep is his enmity? Why is he chasing me like this? Fang Yuan was perplexed. In his previous life's memories, Ni clan did not have any GU immortals, this was why Fang Yuan acted so unrestrained. To think that he actually attracted the attack of GU immortals, and there were two of them, one rank 6 and one rank 7. Fang Yuan could not guess Qi Zai's motives. Because he knew nothing about the bet between the 5 Shangs. He could only retreat while fighting. Each time, he would use Flying Sword Immortal GU to engage in a short fight before using Sword Escape Immortal GU to retreat. After many rounds of battle, Fang Yuan saw some details gradually. The rank 6 GU immortal beside him is behaving strangely, she is likely a newly ascended GU immortal. She calls the rank 7 GU immortal great uncle, the two of them should be blood-related family members. This rank 6 GU immortal is not a threat. If she could attack, she would have done so long ago to disrupt me. But in this entire battle, she has been sitting back and doing nothing. Fang Yuan obtained much information, while Qi Zai also learned a lot about Fang Yuan. This odd fellow is really a rank 6 GU immortal. He is actually using 2 rank 7 immortal GU. Qi Zai did not know what to say about this situation. Normally speaking, most rank 6 GU immortals did not even have 1 rank 6 immortal GU, they desired them greatly. This person did not have any rank 6 immortal GU, but he took a big leap and had 2 rank 7 immortal GU instead. But this step is too huge, I want to see how much green grape immortal essence you have to use these rank 7 sword path GU. Qi Zai snickered internally, he was skilled in battles of attrition, with his higher cultivation level, and Fang Yuan using rank 7 immortal GU, he was not in a rush. Fang Yuan fought as he retreated, he followed after him closely, he was scheming and hard to shrug off. Fang Yuan thought to himself, since the start of the battle, I have already used up tens of thousands of immortal essence stones. These were all obtained from Langya land spirit, I am wasting my sect contribution points. This person has a good plan, he wants to waste my immortal essence, I know his scheme but can do nothing about it. If he had rank 6 immortal GU, Fang Yuan would be able to fight in a sustained battle, he would not end up in this state. With his rank 6 cultivation level, it was very difficult to make use of rank 7 immortal GU. Qi Zai could not catch Fang Yuan, while Fang Yuan could not leave him in the dust, the situation was in a deadlock. After countless rounds of fighting, in order to maintain the situation, Fang Yuan had to continue to request for immortal essence stones from Langya land spirit. His Langya sect contribution points were nearing 0. Qi Zai was shocked, it was beyond his expectations that Fang Yuan could hold on until now. This rank 6 GU immortal is very strange. He definitely has a huge secret, if I can obtain it, this might be the biggest fortuitous encounter in my life. Fighting to this extent, Qi Zai's gaze was getting more heated, seeing Fang Yuan's cold gaze, he felt like he was looking at a mobile treasure chest. But at the next moment, Qi Zai's gaze froze, he showed shock on his face. He thought, isn't the mountain range ahead the 5 regional mountain range? Oh no, so this is his plan. I cannot let him escape into the mountain range. This 5 regional mountain range was not simple. It was created by a rank 8 GU immortal from southern border, his name was Dao Zhu, he was known as the restriction expert. This person cultivated restriction path, it was a branch of rule path, just like how emotion path was a branch of wisdom path. People called him restriction expert, it was because he was the expert of restriction path in this generation, it showed how incredible his attainment was. He had deep research regarding the 5 regional walls. He attempted to find a way to allow GU immortals to travel through the regional walls easily. This 5 regional mountain range was created due to his research. Unfortunately, after he died, there had been no progress. But this 5 regional mountain range was left behind and became a special area in southern border. Fang Yuan was restricted by Qi Zai. He was trying to find a way to escape. He was very familiar with southern border. The 5 regional mountain range was his hope. Qi Zai had been thinking of draining his immortal essence. This was in line with Fang Yuan's objective. He was able to use sword escape immortal GU, and after some hurdles, he flew for hundreds of thousands of li, arriving at this place. Qi Zai had been in seclusion for some time, and because Fang Yuan was drawing his attention, he did not think of this area. He quickly took action, trying to obstruct Fang Yuan, but Fang Yuan had 2 rank 7 immortal GU. He was prepared. How could any obstruction work? Qi Zai watched grimly as Fang Yuan entered the 5 regional mountain range. He hesitated before making up his mind, saying to Qi He, "Sit here, I will let the Qi Grand Lion protect you, you will be safe. After I kill him, I will come and find you." "Great uncle, be careful," Qi He said hurriedly. Qi Zai nodded. Air currents burst out behind him as he chased after Fang Yuan, entering the 5 regional mountain range. Once he entered the mountain range, he felt a strong repulsive force directed at pushing him out. As it turned out, this 5 regional mountain range was created by restriction expert, who replicated the regional walls. Once GU immortals enter, it would be like they were passing the regional walls. Fang Yuan chose the part of this mountain range which was shining with golden light. It was a replica of Central Continent's Saint regional wall. Qi Zai was a southern border GU immortal. When he entered, he was sure to face repulsion. He knew Fang Yuan's motive. This crafty person came here, and because of his rank 6 cultivation level, he has the advantage. My rank 7 cultivation level is facing more pressure than him in here. No, this person is so suspicious. This concerns our Qi clan's ancient bet. I need to kill him. Qi Zai was firm and determined. He did not waver in the face of difficulty. Both parties stopped flying. They started to travel by foot on the 5 regional mountain range. While another chase occurred here, in Central Continent's Earth Abyss, a different battle had ended. Ying Wuxie, Tai Bai Yun Sheng, and He Lu Lan were surrounding the ancient soul beast's corpse, searching for the soul core inside the soul beast's body. Soul beasts nurtured a soul core in their bodies. It was the size of an egg, but had a large number of soul path Dao marks in it. It was a top-tier refinement material. Other than this, the soul beast's corpse would disappear after some time. It had no use. "Where is it?" Tai Bai Yun Sheng searched for the soul core. He Lu Lan said, praising with certain intent, "The GU formation set here is truly amazing. In this short amount of time, even though this soul beast had the soul howl immortal GU, it still died." Ying Wuxie did not speak. He was frowning. This was caused by heaven's will. It lured this ancient soul beast here. Just now, even though I killed it, I had to use the GU formation. The more I use the GU formation, the higher the chances of getting exposed. After all, Central Continent's Heavenly Court will try its best to find this place. At this time, she knew transmitted to him secretly. Ying Wuxie analyzed to himself, not long ago, Langya Land Spirit used Treasure Yellow Heaven to send Dark Limit Immortal GU to Fang Yuan. This Immortal GU belonged to Shadow Sect, but it had perished with Zhang Yu. After that, because Langya Land Spirit created Langya Sect, he refined Dark Limit Immortal GU so that the sect members could have an easier time moving around in the future. This GU can conceal aura and hide from Heaven's will. Indeed, since I am targeted by Heaven's will, Fang Yuan's situation is worse. He might be facing the assault of GU immortals now. Ying Wuxie made a casual guess, but he was actually on the mark. However, Qi Zai did not succeed in killing Fang Yuan. Both parties fought in the 5 regional mountain range. Fang Yuan was heavily injured, but because he had lower cultivation level, he could move more freely and escaped from Qi Zai eventually. Qi Zai saw that Fang Yuan had escaped. Noting that his own condition was bad, he had no choice but to return. Once he left the 5 regional mountain range, he saw Qi He. "Great uncle, you are finally back. I was so worried about you." Qi Zai was prancing on the spot. Seeing Qi Zai, she quickly went up to him. Qi Zai felt warmth in his heart, but his expression turned grim. He scolded, "Foolish. I told you to stay with the Qi Grand Lion. Why did you not listen to me, instead coming here? This is a dangerous place." Qi Zai's movement paused. She slowly walked to Qi Zai, lowering her head, apologizing. I am sorry." Qi Zai grunted. That person is already heavily injured by me, he was lucky and escaped. But if I see him again, I will definitely not uck. Chi Zai cried out. He stared with wide-opened eyes at Chi He. A dark flying sword had pierced into his forehead, the tip of the sword was pointing out from the back of his head. Chi He turned back to Fang Yuan's appearance, he smiled lightly at Chi Zai. Shock, regret, fear, all sorts of emotions filled Chi Zai's mind. But it was too late. Bam, he fell to the ground, creating a soft sound in the process. He was dead. Chapter 1043, Surprising Discovery. In the 5 regional mountain range, 5 different colored lights filled the skies all year round. The entire mountain range was divided into 5 areas based on the 5 different colored lights. The dark purple light was the imitation of Southern Borders Miasma Regional Wall, the green mountain range was the imitation of Northern Plains Licorice Regional Wall. The red portion was Western Deserts Raging Flame Regional Wall. The deep blue portion was Eastern Seas Blue Water Regional Wall. As for the white gold mountain range, it was Central Continent's Saint Regional Wall. The rank 7 Chi Path Gu Immortal, Chi Zai, had died in the white gold region in the 5 regional mountain range. Fang Yuan let out a breath, he pulled out the flying sword Immortal Gu that was lodged in his opponent's forehead. Flying sword Immortal Gu was originally shining in silvery light, but now it was dim and did not have an aura emitting from it. This was because of the Immortal Killer move Dark Assassination. This move provided extraordinary concealment. Once used, none of the aura of the rank 7 Immortal Killer move would leak, others could not detect it. Once used, the sword attacked quickly, at a speed which one could not react to. The only weakness was that the attack range was small, the user had to be less than 100 steps away. This was truly a short distance. Ordinary Immortal Killer moves could be used across huge distances, they were incomparable. Thus, Fang Yuan had to take a risk, using familiar face to disguise his identity and get close to Chi Zai. The closer he got, the higher his chance of killing Chi Zai. For this, Fang Yuan had to fight with Chi Zai and purposely get injured, so as to reduce Chi Zai's suspicions. Chi Zai dying from this move was not unreasonable. Because Fang Yuan deceived him using the infamous familiar face. Even though it was not the original version, the core was still rank 8 Attitude GU. When used, this GU could influence the minds of others, allowing them to feel Fang Yuan's attitude, so as to lower their suspicions. Even though Chi Zai was vigilant and it was hard to find vulnerabilities against him, with Fang Yuan's scheming personality, he saw a weakness in Chi He instead during the battle. Using Chi He, Fang Yuan took a risk and killed a rank 7 expert with his rank 6 cultivation level. This was an incredible result. If one was an ordinary rank 6 GU Immortal, they might wish for the whole world to know about it. But Fang Yuan only sighed in relief now, he did not show any expression of pride. After rebirth, he had gone through a lot, he witnessed spectral soul undergoing the myriad tribulations, killing a rank 7 GU Immortal was already a small matter from his perspective. If you did not pursue me to this extent, I would not have taken the risk to kill you. Alright, let me see why you were so insistent on chasing me. Fang Yuan grabbed at the air as he pulled out Chi Zai's soul from his corpse. Chi Zai cultivated Chi Path. His soul was just an ordinary GU Immortal soul, it was not outstanding. After dying, he was not like those from Shadow Sect, even though his soul was angry and unwilling, struggling intensely, he could do nothing against Fang Yuan's actions. Fang Yuan first inspected and ensured that this soul had no problems before stuffing him into the 9-5 Sovereign Immortal Aperture. After entering the Immortal Aperture, large numbers of Soul Path GU worms flew towards Chi Zai's soul. Soul Search. While Fang Yuan searched the soul, he activated Familiar Face and turned into Chi Zai's appearance. He did not forget that the rank 6 GU Immortal Chi He was still outside. Killing her would be much easier than killing Chi Zai, but to make this easier and safer, Fang Yuan decided to use the same method to assassinate Chi He as well. His familiar face was not the original version, without change form Immortal GU, he could only use over 1,000 Mortal GU to replace it. Thus, transforming his appearance was not instantaneous, he had to spend some time. After he turned into Chi Zai's appearance, he stored Chi Zai's corpse and flew out of the 5 regional mountain range. In the end, when he found Chi He, she was already dead. What killed Chi He was none other than the desolate beast Chi Grand Lion she was sitting on. This Chi Grand Lion was enslaved by Chi Zai originally. Once he died, the Chi Grand Lion regained its freedom. The Chi Grand Lion was forced by Chi Zai to travel this much, it was already hungry. If Chi He cultivated any other path, she might have survived, but she was a Chi Path GU Immortal with a number of Chi Path Dao marks, she was a delicacy to the Chi Grand Lion. Thus, as the Qi Grand Lion was hungry, it attacked her after the control over it was gone. Qi was a newly advanced Gu Immortal. How could she match the Qi Grand Lion? After a bit of resistance, she was killed by the Qi Grand Lion and eaten by it. It was pitiful. She cultivated her entire life and fortunately became an immortal, but the moment she started witnessing the glory of the Gu Immortal world, before she started her journey, she ended up in the desolate beast's mouth. Fang Yuan chased after the Qi Grand Lion, using Flying Sword Immortal Gu and piercing its head in a few moves. Flying Sword Immortal Gu, which was shining in silvery light, rampaged inside the Qi Grand Lion's brain. The Qi Grand Lion fell from the sky in pain, it grimaced and cried out painfully, eventually dying after its struggles ceased. Fang Yuan felt glad when he saw this result. This was the true power of the rank 7 Flying Sword Immortal Gu. Against Gu Immortals or the Qi Grand Lion, once Flying Sword Immortal Gu dealt a critical strike through piercing, it could deal huge damage. This was unlike the desolate beast mud monster which did not have any weaknesses in its body. Fang Yuan had a vexing time fighting it. Other than feeling glad, Fang Yuan also felt a loss in wealth. This rank 7 Immortal Gu used too much immortal essence. After killing the Qi Grand Lion, Fang Yuan's expenditure rose again. He could slowly kill it without using Immortal Gu and only using mortal killer moves. But it would take far too long. To avoid more trouble, Fang Yuan had to deal with it quickly. After killing the Qi Grand Lion, Fang Yuan cut open its stomach and took out Qi's minced corpse. He checked carefully. He wanted to find the crucial area near her belly. It was the place where the immortal aperture was in the Gu Immortal's body. Qi's aged body was already chewed up by the Qi Grand Lion. After ending up in its stomach, half of the body was already dissolved. Fang Yuan looked around for a long time before his gaze flashed. He picked out a piece of flesh. Similar to Qi's corpse, Fang Yuan placed it into his immortal aperture. As had been mentioned before, after killing a Gu Immortal, there were two ways to benefit from it. One was to place the immortal aperture down in the 5 regions, where they would form a blessed land or grotto heaven, before attacking it and obtaining the resources inside. The other way was to place the immortal aperture into one's own immortal aperture, making the immortal aperture self-detonate. The Dao marks inside would be left behind for the victor. Fang Yuan was using the second method. After this battle, the Qi Path Dao marks in me should increase drastically. From now on, when I use Qi Path Gu worms or killer moves, the amplification effect would exceed my other paths. It is a pity that I am not skilled in Qi Path. My Qi Path attainment level is only at ordinary level. But my immortal aperture will benefit. The environment will change slowly. It would help me when I grow resources that are related to Qi Path. Fang Yuan flew into the air, concealing his traces as he flew among the clouds, thinking over his gains. Ignoring immortal Gu, Qi's soul was a huge asset. It had great value waiting to be excavated. As for how many Qi Path Dao marks he would get, Fang Yuan could not estimate it. But he knew that no matter how many Qi Path Dao marks he obtained, it could not match his other benefit. He only discovered this benefit of his new body just now, but it exceeded Fang Yuan's expectations. Other than feeling surprise and joy, he also felt doubts and anticipation. When he entered the 5 regional mountain range, he had a shocking discovery. His body was unaffected by the 5 regional mountain range. According to common sense, Fang Yuan was a southern border Gu Immortal. His body had the aura of southern border. No matter what other area relating to a particular region he entered in the 5 regional mountain range, he would be affected by it. But after Fang Yuan went in, he could move freely with no obstructions. After realizing this, Fang Yuan was puzzled, but it soon turned into joy. He had a guess in his mind. This 5 regional mountain range was created by restriction expert Dao Zhu, who imitated the regional walls. If I can travel freely here, does that mean I can also pass the regional walls freely? After that, he thought about the pursuers behind him. He pretended to travel with much difficulty, like he was heavily obstructed. Now, after killing Qi and settling the matter of the Qi Grand Lion and Qi he had time to think, and realized that this was very likely. My new body is not an ordinary body. It has no parents, no origins from other people. It is formed from the rank 9 sovereign immortal fetus Gu. If it is treated as an immortal Gu, that would explain why I can freely travel across the regional walls. The 5 regional walls targeted Gu immortals, not immortal Gu. In the past, when Feng Zhe entered Northern Plains to investigate the truth of 88 Truyong building, he sent a rank 6 information path immortal Gu to his family. It could travel across Northern Plains and Central Continent, going through 2 regional walls without obstruction. If this guess is correct, why would I need to rush and refine fixed immortal travel? Fang Yuan flew as he thought. He got closer to a regional wall. He wanted to verify this guess as quickly as possible. From his perspective, he could not confirm if fixed immortal travel was destroyed. It was only very likely because the special will had set fixed immortal travel as the first one to be destroyed. When Fang Yuan asked the current generation Nishang about it, his focus was to confirm Ying Wuxia's current situation. Secondly, he wanted to refine fixed immortal travel to pass the regional walls and return to Langya Blessed Land. Why? Firstly, Langya Blessed Land was safe. It survived 7 waves of attacks in the 500 years of his previous life. It was finally taken down by Heavenly Court after Feng Juzhe died. Secondly, a large number of his resources were inside Langya Blessed Land. He could develop in peace there. The cost of using Treasure Yellow Heaven was simply too high. Lastly, a crucial immortal material, the light of the immemorial era, was needed to refine fixed immortal travel. Even though Fang Yuan had some clues, he knew that hope was small. His biggest worries now were his calamities and tribulations. He was less than 2 months away from the first earthly calamity. Fortune and disaster came together. His blessed land had such a deep foundation, its aptitude far surpassed the 10 extreme physiques. The power of his calamities and tribulations would surely be extraordinary. If my guess is correct, I should give up on fixed immortal travel. I should rush to Langya Blessed Land and prepare amply for the calamities and tribulations. In just less than 2 months. He was no longer an immortal zombie, his immortal aperture was out of this world, the calamities and tribulations were like swords resting above his neck. Fang Yuan looked at the vast clouds in the sky as he felt a strong sense of urgency. Chapter 1044. Ancient Cloud Beasts, Disaster Follows After Great Fortune. Central Continent, Earth Abyss. Ying Wuxie looked at the rebel in front of him with an ugly expression. Behind him were He Lu Lan, Tai Bai Yun Shang, and the rank 7 variant human GU immortal Shi Nu. The battle strength of 4 GU immortals. Of course, among them Shi Nu was the strongest, followed by He Lu Lan and Tai Bai Yun Shang. Ying Wuxie was still an immortal zombie with some borrowed immortal GU. He had not subdued Fang Yuan's remaining immortal GU yet, his battle strength was the lowest. He Lu Lan was forced by Ying Wuxie to surrender. She was free from the alliance agreement with Fang Yuan, and was now Ying Wuxie's lackey. Shi Nu was completely loyal to Ying Wuxie. And Tai Bai Yun Shang, who did not know the truth, was not suspicious of Ying Wuxie. He Lu Lan and Ying Wuxie had worked together to deceive him, he was still in the dark. What is going on? Tai Bai Yun Shang looked ahead and asked in puzzlement. Shi Nu replied heavily. Earth Abyss is not a tranquil environment, tremors will appear at times within the earth. The tremors might cause a great cave-in, like what is happening here. A strange light flashed across He Lu Lan's eyes. This cave-in is simply too terrifying. Shi Nu nodded. Yes, each cave-in in Earth Abyss would be gigantic, endless numbers of life forms would perish. The aftermath would be a huge amount of rubble stacked together with the grudge and death energy of the dead life forms and their blood, countless desolate level blood beasts, bone beasts, or even blood path and earth path wild immortal GU would be created. Master, what do we do now? Ying Wuxie looked ahead. After some time, he let out a breath. He was gloomy internally, thinking, this route is the safest way to leave Earth Abyss, previously created by Shadow Sect. I had just wanted to leave Earth Abyss, and at this timing, a cave-in happened. Coincidentally, it happened here, obstructing our path. Hee. Ying Wuxie mentally sneered. This is the act of Heaven's will. My main body defied Heaven to refine GU, resisting Heaven's will, causing Heaven's will to be expended greatly. But now it seems, Heaven's will has already mostly recovered. I still have Spring-Autumn Cicada with me, it has a lot of Heaven's will in it. Thus, I am like a torch in the darkness from Heaven's will's perspective. If I did not have investigative methods and did not slow down on purpose, I would be trapped inside the cave-in. Or if I was greedy in regards to the wild immortal GU here and refused to leave, I might be discovered by the GU immortals who came to investigate. Perhaps when I used the GU formation earlier, the commotion was already detected by Heavenly Court, they have already started searching. Ying Wuxie had obtained the guidance of his main body's will in the Red Lotus Demon Venerable True Inheritance, he had a deep understanding of Heaven's will. Heaven's will had its limits, it would be expended as well. But because its foundation was the world of the 5 regions, Heaven's will could not be destroyed entirely, it could recover at a rapid speed. Regarding Heaven's will, Fang Yuan was still kept in the dark, he was unaware and his knowledge could not compare with Ying Wuxie. Heaven's will is so troublesome, a large portion of the reason is due to that bitch star constellation. My current body is ordinary, I need to refine fixed immortal travel to travel over the 5 regions. By gathering the remnant forces of Shadow Sect, I can accumulate enough strength to attempt to save my main body. Thinking of this, Ying Wuxie thought of Fang Yuan again. Intense hatred rose inside him. Back then, when we designed the recipe of Sovereign Immortal Fetus GU, my main body thought about the 5 regional walls. Thus, Fang Yuan can not only pass the 5 regional walls now, he can freely change his aura to become a GU immortal from any of the 5 regions. However, don't think about having an easy time. Even though you are a complete otherworldly demon, and heaven's will cannot influence your thoughts, it can influence others and create situations to eliminate you. Also, every tribulation that you undergo is the best chance for heaven's will to eradicate you. I hope you can survive them all until I find the opportunity to eliminate you. Even though Ying Wuxie hated Fang Yuan, the urgent matter at hand was to save his main body's remnant soul. Right now, his main body's remnant soul was trapped in the dream realm. As everyone knew, when the soul was in the dream realm, they would slowly worn down by the dream realm. Thus, Ying Wuxie was pressed for time greatly now. Compared to saving his main body, Fang Yuan was a minor matter. Thus, the priority of Ying Wuxie and the others was to refine fixed immortal travel and gather their remaining forces, to return to southern border and break through the encirclement of the southern border GU immortals around the giant dream realm, to save spectral soul demon Venerable. Southern border. Sword escape immortal GU activated. Swoosh. Fang Yuan's body was like a sword, sharp and cutting through the sky, forming a long white cloudy line behind him. Using sword escape immortal GU alone would not create this white cloudy line behind him. The problem was, Fang Yuan's injuries were very severe now. His injuries were so deep bones could be seen, cloud path Dao marks were gathered in them, spilling out white clouds constantly. Fang Yuan's expression was pale, he was frowning deeply. Behind him, about 10 li away, a large group of ancient cloud beasts were chasing after him. What caused Fang Yuan's injuries were these ancient cloud beasts. Even though Fang Yuan had the rank 7 flying sword immortal GU, against cloud beasts which were similar to mud monsters, without a fixed body structure, they could not be dealt with. According to legend, Bo Qing created the immortal killer move Myriad Sword Tribulation in the past, using flying sword immortal GU as the core to create 10,000 swords that shoot down like rain. After I return to Langya Blessed Land, I must find immortal killer moves like this, I cannot have this weakness. Such thoughts had appeared in Fang Yuan's mind multiple times. As it turned out, after Fang Yuan found out a secret of his new body, he had a new idea, abandoning his earlier plan and wanting to pass the regional walls to get back to Langya Blessed Land. But not long after that, he unexpectedly entered the attacking range of a group of ancient cloud beasts. Cloud beasts were extremely rare, not just in southern border, but also the other 4 regions. It was no exaggeration to say that they were nearly extinct. But Fang Yuan encountered a group of them, there were even ancient cloud beasts among them which had the battle strength of rank 7 GU immortals. When ancient cloud beasts were stationary, they were like clouds, very hard to detect. Even though Fang Yuan was using investigative methods, he did not have investigative immortal GU, he only had mortal killer moves. Thus, he went into the territory of ancient cloud beasts. After an intense battle, he managed to escape, but the ancient cloud beasts were unwilling to let him go, they chased after him. In his vision, a trace of purple-black color could be seen from behind a mountain range. Southern border's miasma regional wall was already within sight. Fang Yuan was overjoyed, his speed slowed drastically. He had stopped using sword escape immortal GU. This immortal GU was too expensive to use. Right now, Fang Yuan had already expended all of his Langya sect contribution points. To save costs, Fang Yuan could only use sword escape immortal GU at certain times to maintain a safe distance from the cloud beasts. Without sword escape immortal GU, Fang Yuan used mortal killer moves. As a matter of fact, the speed of movement from them could not compare to the ancient cloud beasts. A moment later, the cloud beasts were already very close to Fang Yuan, less than 1 li away. Seeing that the cloud beasts were near, Fang Yuan had no choice but to use sword escape immortal GU again. Whoosh, his speed rose again, he shrugged off the ancient cloud beast group. The purple-black miasma regional wall covered half of his vision. Finally, when Fang Yuan got to the southern border regional wall, he did not hesitate, entering it immediately. Zero obstruction, it was as if the miasma regional wall in front of him was an illusion. Fang Yuan was overjoyed, he clenched his fists, as expected. I was right, this sovereign immortal fetus GU is truly mystical. From now on, even without fixed immortal travel, I can travel freely over the 5 regions. Of course, Fang Yuan was not only considering this. This can also help me fight. The battle with Chi Zai earlier is a prime example. From now on, I can lure GU Immortals into the regional walls before killing them. But his excitement only lasted for a short moment. Soon, he frowned again. Because he realized that the ancient cloud beasts behind him also went through the regional walls, with no signs of stopping the chase against him. His guess was confirmed. Fang Yuan sighed to himself. I knew it, I am actually so unlucky. Cloud beasts are nearly extinct in southern border. Even if they exist, they would only be a group of 1 or 2 desolate level cloud beasts. Groups of ancient cloud beasts like this only exist in White Heaven and Black Heaven. Seeing how white these ancient cloud beasts are, they must have flown down from White Heaven to breed their next generation. Actually, cloud beasts were a special type of life form from the immemorial 9 heavens. The cloud beasts in the 5 regions were also all from the immemorial 9 heavens. Cloud beasts had a trait. Once in a while, they would fly down from the immemorial 9 heavens, landing in the 5 regions and storing their cloud essence in the clouds in the sky. The clouds that were storing cloud essence would not dissipate unless there was a strong external force. Hundreds of years later, these clouds would turn into cloud beasts. The infant cloud beasts were all desolate level each. Once they were alive, they would follow their instincts and fly towards the sky. Passing the heavenly wind chi wall, they would return to their origins, the immemorial 9 heavens. During this process, the cloud beasts would be obstructed by the heavenly wind chi wall, and would be attacked by fierce beasts, as well as all sorts of natural phenomena causing danger. A very small number of them actually made it back to the immemorial 9 heavens. I was so unlucky to actually encounter a cloud beast group after they bred. This luck is truly, Fang Yuan was speechless. Logically speaking, I have already connected luck to many lucky people. Even if my body and soul are split into 2 portions, my luck shouldn't be this bad. Don't tell me, to obtain sovereign immortal fetus GU, I expended a huge amount of luck. In this way, disaster follows after great fortune. Fang Yuan flew within the miasma regional wall as a group of ancient cloud beasts followed behind him. Fang Yuan had crashed into the place where the ancient cloud beasts stored their cloud essence. To take revenge for their offspring, the ancient cloud beasts wanted to eliminate Fang Yuan. They would not let him go. As long as Fang Yuan was still injured, the cloud beasts would pursue him. The problem was, these ancient cloud beasts could also move freely within the 5 regional walls. Chapter 1045. Fortuitous Encounter or Trouble. Normally speaking, it was difficult for desolate beasts of the 5 regions to pass the regional walls and move to another region. These desolate beasts, ancient desolate beast and immemorial desolate beasts, could match the respective levels of GU Immortals. They involved the essence of their regions, and as such, it was very difficult for them to leave the domain of the region they had been raised and grown in. To them, the regional walls were like shackles. Comparatively, ordinary wild beasts, beast kings or mutated beasts were much more free and could move through regional walls. This group of ancient cloud beasts that were chasing Fang Yuan, however, were not raised by southern border, but originated from White Heaven of the immemorial 9 heavens. The regional walls of the 5 regions had no relationship with them and did not restrict or reject them. Perhaps it was because no matter which layer of the immemorial 9 heavens it was, they all covered the whole 5 regions. This characteristic was already widely known. Previously, when spectral soul demon Venerable went against Heaven's will to refine GU, Heavenly Court's GU Immortals were able to reach southern border so quickly because they had used Heaven Overseeing Tower to travel through White Heaven. Also, Fang Yuan's Stargate GU could attract the starlight of Black Heaven to travel over the 5 regions. Both, in essence, were similar to this group of ancient cloud beasts. They all used this special characteristic of the immemorial 9 heavens. Fang Yuan was rapidly moving through the regional wall. The group of ancient cloud beasts were chasing closely behind him. Fang Yuan could do nothing but let them follow. These cloud beasts were stubbornly fixed upon Fang Yuan, not willing to rest until they reached their goal. At this time, Fang Yuan couldn't help but fondly recall the benefits of fixed immortal travel. If he had fixed immortal travel, he could simply get away from these problems. Even if Fang Yuan was injured, there was a limit to the range the ancient cloud beasts could chase him. He could use fixed immortal travel to go beyond this limit. However, Fang Yuan only had Sword Escape Immortal GU as his movement Immortal GU. If he recklessly used Sword Escape Immortal GU, it could increase the distance between them, but he would have to pay a huge price. Most importantly, Fang Yuan was not fully aware of the range in which the ancient cloud beasts would continue to chase him. If this range was extremely great, even if Fang Yuan spent all his assets, it might not be enough for the expenditure of activating Sword Escape Immortal GU. Lang Ya land spirit may be simple and unable to lie, but he has all along been planning against me. Previously, he schemed against me when I was dealing with Chizai as well. I had to pay a considerable amount to borrow Dark Limit Immortal GU. If I impatiently try to get rid of these ancient cloud beasts, he might extort me again. After all, Luopo Valley, Danghun Mountain and Wisdom GU are truly tempting. The regional wall in front of him suddenly turned into a deep blue color. Fang Yuan had already passed southern borders Miasma regional wall and had now entered Eastern Sea's blue water regional wall. There was nothing to say, Fang Yuan concentrated on flying. The journey was unimpeded. The regional wall did not have creatures or any other obstructions. Because the regional walls of the 5 regions in themselves were the greatest obstruction. After flying for a while longer, Fang Yuan looked behind him. Those ancient cloud beasts were still chasing him. Cloud beasts did not have any fixed shape and continued to chase like rolling clouds, white and graceful as snow. But to Fang Yuan, they looked truly troublesome. By now, Fang Yuan had already used all his contribution points from Langya sect and was starting to owe Langya land spirit immortal essence stones. If not for these ancient cloud beasts, how could I go this far? What's going on? On the way, Fang Yuan's expression suddenly changed, his gaze enlarging in wonder. He surprisingly discovered that in this blue water regional wall, his aura was having a mysterious change. His southern border GU immortal aura was continuously growing fainter, while the aura of an eastern sea GU immortal was strengthening constantly. If Fang Yuan had activated familiar face, he would not have been so amazed. The key point was that he had not activated this killer move. Could it be that this new body can not only pass the regional walls of the 5 regions, but can also change my aura into the aura of that region? Fang Yuan speculated inwardly. The moment he flew out of blue water regional wall, his southern border GU immortal aura had completely dissipated and had truly turned into one of an eastern sea GU immortal. Fang Yuan naturally was surprised and happy. This sovereign immortal fetus GU is truly mysterious. I am not even using familiar face and my body can actually perfectly adapt to the new region, which means I won't be pushed aside by the region's GU immortals. But right now, it is still better for me to use familiar face. Fang Yuan gazed at the group of ancient cloud beasts following right behind him and sighed as he activated familiar face, turning into a different appearance. He had originally wanted to quietly move through Eastern Sea and return to Northern Plains. But now, with the group of ancient cloud beasts right behind him, he had naturally dispelled this idea. Such a commotion was not what Fang Yuan wanted, but he could do nothing about it. But this place is not far away from the turbulent flow sea area. Maybe I can detour around and move towards the turbulent flow sea area, and use its environment to break away from these ancient cloud beasts. Fang Yuan suddenly had an idea. His 500 years of life experience as a wanderer had given him an understanding of the various environments of the 5 regions. After pondering for a while, Fang Yuan chose to be cautious, giving up this idea. The turbulent flow sea area was like a maze. If he was careless in entering it, he might lose his freedom and be trapped himself. According to rumors, the turbulent flow sea area was a battlefield formed after a life and death battle between powerful GU immortal experts. It was a bloody battlefield where many GU immortal experts had fallen, leaving behind many inheritances. Many Eastern Sea GU immortals as well as GU immortals of Central Continent, Northern Plains and Southern Border would come to the turbulent flow sea area to search for fortuitous encounters. Unfortunately, in his previous 500 years of life, Fang Yuan had never heard of anyone obtaining any huge fortuitous encounter. On the contrary, he often heard of certain GU immortals going missing in the turbulent flow sea area. Or that certain GU immortals would go missing for several months or several years before they were able to free themselves and appear again in the world. The turbulent flow sea area was not dangerous, but its special environment often caused GU immortals to be trapped and not be able to free themselves. Fang Yuan moved like an arrow, forming a straight line in the air. He did not choose the direction of the turbulent flow sea area, instead he flew straight towards Northern Plains regional wall. Sword Escape Immortal GU was activated, gradually getting distance from the ancient cloud beasts. He had already inquired Langya land spirit for information about ancient cloud beasts, but Langya land spirit did not know much. Fang Yuan then sent out dozens of wills in Treasure Yellow Heaven to search for information on the limits of the tracking range of ancient cloud beasts, but he did not get any useful news. With no other choice, Fang Yuan could only choose to try to see if he could break free of the pursuit of these ancient cloud beasts. Making up his mind, Fang Yuan activated Sword Escape Immortal GU unceasingly. Finally, he was able to throw off the ancient cloud beasts beyond his vision. Fang Yuan stopped Sword Escape Immortal GU and used Mortal Killer moves to continue to fly. His speed naturally slowed. I have paid such a price, it would be good if I have freed myself of them. Fang Yuan was inwardly worried. Not seeing the ancient cloud beasts did not mean he had already gotten away from them. Existences that were comparable to rank 7 GU immortals usually did not track using just sight. It depended on what the limit of their tracking range was. Right as Fang Yuan was worriedly gazing back, a blood-red ray of light suddenly flew over from the southeast direction. The blood-red light was soaring through the horizon, and when it sensed Fang Yuan's presence, it immediately lowered its speed before rapidly approaching Fang Yuan. A rank 6 blood path GU immortal, and it looks like they went through a fierce battle. Fang Yuan frowned when he sensed the approaching aura. No matter what intention the other party had, Fang Yuan did not want to provoke any more trouble. He already had enough trouble on his hands. He still did not know if he had thrown off that group of ancient cloud beasts behind him, and there was also the earthly calamity which was going to approach in 2 months. Therefore, he immediately changed his direction and flew away from the approaching blood-red light. The GU immortal in the blood-red light sensed Fang Yuan's intent, quickly shouting, "Wait! I have found a peerless fortuitous encounter in the turbulent flow sea area. As long as you can help me resolve this crisis, I am willing to use Blood Oath Immortal GU to form a pact and share this peerless fortuitous encounter with you." Turbulent flow sea area, peerless fortuitous encounter. There really are people who have obtained benefits. Fang Yuan was truly surprised. Right at this time, several GU immortals appeared in the horizon, chasing after the blood-red light with surging momentum and emitting powerful auras. They seemed to have heard what the Blood Path GU immortal had shouted to Fang Yuan. Curses after curses began to rain down. A blood path demon causing harm to the world, everyone must execute them. Anyone who associates with the demon shall be killed without mercy. Block this demon and my Tang clan will definitely reward you. No need. I, Lu Qingyu, have struck this demon with my immortal killer move, he definitely won't be able to escape. You there ahead, if you know what's good for you, get lost. In an instant, Fang Yuan was subjected to the persuasion, warnings and even curses of these Eastern CGU immortals. Fang Yuan snorted. He was not someone afraid of getting into trouble, but right now, what he had to do was hurry to Langya blessed land and deal with his immortal aperture's earthly calamity. He changed his direction, moving away directly from the Blood Path GU immortal. The Blood Path GU immortal felt very anxious. He had already reached his own limits. Fang Yuan was his only hope to survive. When Fang Yuan retreated, he also changed his direction, flying rapidly towards Fang Yuan. If you can help me, I am willing to hand this fortuitous encounter to you completely. He cried out. Fang Yuan sneered, retreating without hesitation. Seeing this, one of the Eastern CGU immortals laughed loudly. That's right. Smart guy, you know how to judge the situation, get lost quickly. Someone else also called out. We might as well help one another, lend a hand and we will definitely reward you after this. Fang Yuan's brows slowly started to furrow. He only wanted to quietly return to Langya blessed land. Why were there troublesome matters occurring one after the other? He himself did not want to engage in these troublesome matters, but they instead were taking the initiative to follow him. This is the crucial information regarding the inheritance. If you obtain it, your cultivation will definitely advance rapidly and you'd become a superior existence among immortals. The Blood Path GU immortal threw an information path GU worm towards Fang Yuan, attempting to lure him. Fang Yuan screamed, "Screw off." With a wave of his hand, a powerful burst of wind destroyed the GU worm. At the same time, he rapidly charged towards the sky. The Blood Path demonic cultivator was not able to plot against Fang Yuan, and seeing this hopeless situation, he suddenly shot a streak of strange light towards Fang Yuan. I have already handed the crucial part of the inheritance to this person. If you guys want to get the fortuitous encounter, killing me will be of no use. The Blood Path demonic cultivator yelled loudly before flying away in the opposite direction. The streak of strange light was extremely fast and soon neared Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan snorted. He very much was unwilling to provoke trouble. He shouted in a stern voice, I have important matters to deal with, do not provoke me. Saying this, he simultaneously activated Sword Escape and Flying Sword, these two rank 7 Immortal GU. Sword Escape increased his speed while Flying Sword Immortal GU shattered the strange light. Ah, 2 rank 7 Immortal GU. Who is this person? Fang Yuan's power had suddenly erupted. The group of immortals were astonished, their expressions changed in an instant. Chapter 1046, Battle of Chase and Escape in Eastern Sea 1/3. Fang Yuan's aura was only at rank 6, before he took action, there did not seem to be anything special about him. Furthermore, after retreating repeatedly, the Eastern CGU Immortals involuntarily started to look down on him. But once he took action, everyone was shaken. The Eastern CGU Immortals froze in their tracks, they reassessed Fang Yuan. They saw Fang Yuan wearing white clothing with his long hair fluttering in the wind. Graceful and handsome, he had quite a disposition. Right now, Fang Yuan had an angry expression, like the brewing of a thunderstorm. His killing intent was like a blizzard, giving people a suppressive feeling. There were numerous Eastern CGU Immortals, but they all became silent. They turned around and targeted the Blood Path Demonic Immortal instead. This Blood Path Demonic Immortal wanted to escape, but his injuries caused his speed to fall. After some time, he was killed by the group of GU Immortals. Based on this, he was indeed at his wit's end. No wonder he threw away the fortuitous encounter and tried to survive by using Fang Yuan. After killing the Blood Path Demonic Immortal, one of the Eastern CGU Immortals, a rank 7 that had taken the lead, Lu Qingyu, spoke heavily, "The imprint is not on him." Another rank 7 GU Immortal reacted, saying loudly to Fang Yuan, "Please wait." Fang Yuan had 2 rank 7 Immortal GU, the Immortals' impressions of him had changed, they no longer acted so rudely towards him like before. They looked at each other, before flying towards Fang Yuan imposingly. Fang Yuan floated in the air, sneering without speaking. "Friend," the rank 7 GU Immortal stopped, partway through, he could not continue his words. The imprint to open up the inheritance was extremely important, but it was missing now. The biggest suspect was Fang Yuan. But there was no way Fang Yuan would let them search his body. Looking at his immortal aperture was even more impossible, it was a huge taboo. If Fang Yuan was an ordinary rank 6 GU Immortal, with so many people on their side, it was okay to request it. But Fang Yuan had 2 rank 7 Immortal GU, and this was only what he showed on the surface. "Zhou Li, what are you afraid of?" The 3rd rank 7 GU Immortal waved his long sleeves as he stepping forward. He had a cold expression, his gaze was sharp, he stared at Fang Yuan, saying, "I am a GU Immortal of Eastern Sea's Tang clan, Tang Song, this matter is difficult to resolve peacefully today. But I have a way, as long as you follow it, you can prove your innocence." "Ha ha ha," Fang Yuan laughed loudly, "Prove my innocence? Why do I need to prove my innocence?" As he laughed, his battle intent surged. "It seems that all of you think I am afraid of battle," Fang Yuan said in an ominous tone. The expressions of the Eastern CGU Immortals changed. Fang Yuan squinted. "It is laughable, you are being deceived but you remain ignorant. Lu Qingyu, you killed that Blood Path Demonic Immortal, you have already obtained the inheritance imprint, but you are trying to frame me now, you are really scheming." The Immortals froze again. Many people turned to look at the rank 7 GU Immortal Lu Qingyu. Lu Qingyu looked at Fang Yuan with an angry expression, but he was thinking, impressive. This person has a sharp tongue, he is rank 6 but has 2 rank 7 Immortal GU, who in the world is he? Since when did Eastern Sea have such a person? I actually don't know who they are. At the same time, he called out, "Everyone, don't forget about our agreement, what kind of person am I? Why would I possibly deceive you?" Fang Yuan chuckled. "What agreement? I know that regardless of the Information Path Alliance agreement, it can be broken using Information Path methods. As for what kind of person you are, I only know that in the face of huge profits, people change and cannot be trusted." Fang Yuan's words were logical, the Eastern CGU Immortals hesitated even more. Lu Qingyu flew into a rage, pointing at Fang Yuan, "I saw him throw the inheritance imprint to you. The others also saw that I slashed it." Fang Yuan rapidly replied. He. Lu Qingyu laughed sinisterly. "There are many ways in the world to create illusions, who knows what methods you used to keep the imprint secretly." Fang Yuan raised his head and sighed, saying in a dour tone, "I have a mission from First Supreme Elder, I did not want to create trouble. But if it is like this, let's fight." Hearing the words First Supreme Elder, many of the GU Immortals' pupils shrunk, they thought, so this person is not a lone cultivator, he has a super force behind him. No wonder he has 2 rank 7 Immortal GU. At once, their wariness rose again. Especially the lone cultivators, they operated independently and did not have a force to defend them, they did not want to offend a huge force. "Hold it." At this moment, Tang Song stood out. "I can guarantee on my Tang clan's reputation, as long as you cooperate with our investigation, if the imprint is not with you, we will let you go." Tang clan was a super force in Eastern Sea, it was equivalent to Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects. Tang clan. Fang Yuan laughed coldly, his eyebrows raised as the silvery flying sword Immortal Gu flew around him. That's very amazing, huh? Do you think my clan will be afraid of your Tang clan? Hee, in that case, let's see what your Tang clan can do. Before he finished speaking, Fang Yuan used Flying Sword Immortal Gu, attacking the rank 7 Gu Immortal Tang Song. Tang Song did not expect Fang Yuan to strike so suddenly, he was caught off guard, quickly getting into a disadvantage under Fang Yuan's attacks. The other Eastern CGU Immortals decided to look on from the side. This person is not afraid of Tang clan, he has a huge background. Tang clan might be an overlord in Eastern Sea, but it also has enemies like Shen clan and Su clan. Is this person from one of those two clans? Since he is attacking Tang Song, that is a good thing. We can stay on the sidelines and watch their methods. If there is a future battle, we will be able to prepare. These Eastern CGU Immortals were not united. Earlier, they only worked together to capture the Blood Path Demonic Immortal. Fang Yuan's words and actions caused doubts among them, resulting in division among these immortals. He picked his opponent with specific reasons. If he chose a rank 6 GU immortal, others would think he was depending on two rank 7 immortal GU to bully a weaker opponent. Only by choosing a rank 7 GU immortal could there be deterrence. As for why he chose Tang Song, it was because Fang Yuan observed that he was the only rank 7 GU immortal with a super force behind him. Lone cultivator GU immortals did not want to offend super forces, and because super forces had many assets to protect and matters to take care of, they were wary of lone immortals. Thus, as someone in an organization, Tang Song spoke and acted with many concerns. After all, he was representing not just himself but his Tang clan as well. Both sides fought for a long time. After more than 10 rounds, Tang Song was still at a disadvantage, he was breaking out in cold sweat. Flying Sword Immortal Gu was very sharp, while Tang Song was a Sound Path Gu Immortal with insufficient defensive methods, he could not block Flying Sword Immortal Gu, he could only evade it. He was furious and startled. A Grand Rank 7 GU Immortal was being forced to this extent by a Rank 6, his face was completely gone. Tang Song had a grim expression as he thought, to salvage my face, I have to use that Immortal Killer move to capture this Rank 6 GU Immortal alive. In that case, my display of weakness earlier can be thought of as a battle tactic. But this Immortal Killer move was not easy to activate, it comprised 490 GU worms. Tang Song had to deal with Fang Yuan's attacks while concentrating on the GU worms in his Immortal Aperture and slowly forming his killer move. This Flying Sword Immortal GU might be useless against mud monsters and cloud beasts, but it is really useful against GU Immortals. Once it pierces the head or heart, they would die. Back then, Bo Qing dominated Central Continent and was known as the strongest person under rank 9, this indicates some of the power of Flying Sword Immortal Gu. Fang Yuan sighed internally, even though he had the advantage, he had not become careless. Tang Song was a rank 7 GU Immortal, he had a deeper foundation than Fang Yuan. But because Fang Yuan attacked first, he lost the initiative. But currently it was a dangerous situation, the longer it dragged on, the harder it was for Fang Yuan to escape. Most importantly, he could not use Dark Assassination. Because he had to maintain the pressure on Tang Song, Fang Yuan attacked first and pressured him. If he had any time to regain the initiative and use his methods freely, the situation would be different. Thus, Fang Yuan had to use Flying Sword Immortal Gu continuously. Flying Sword Immortal Gu was the core of Dark Assassination, it had to be used together with Dark Limit Immortal Gu. After some time, by combining it with other supplementary Mortal Gu, Dark Assassination could be unleashed. I have few Immortal Gu now, if I had some more. At this time, Fang Yuan sensed something, his movement stopped as he looked behind him. The group of ancient cloud beasts was already within sight. Seeing the group of ancient cloud beasts, Fang Yuan did not feel irritation, he felt joy. The opportunity he was waiting for had arrived. What is going on? What are these things? They have such strong auras. Cloud beasts, oh heavens, so many cloud beasts. These are ancient cloud beasts, why are there so many of them? The Eastern CGU Immortals noticed the ancient cloud beasts, they were puzzled and shocked. Tang Song's focus was on Fang Yuan, seeing that Fang Yuan had relaxed, he was overjoyed, he immediately sped up in completing the Immortal Killer move he was preparing, it was already 1/3 done in this short time. Soon, once I use this move to capture you alive, I'll deal with you personally. Tang Song gritted his teeth. Fang Yuan shouted, HMPH. I lured these ancient cloud beasts out from White Heaven. It was to cooperate with the other Supreme Elders to lure these ancient cloud beasts into a trap and capture them. You people obstructed us, we will deal with you one by one later. If you want to die now, follow me. Saying so, Fang Yuan left Tang Song, flying in the sky. The immortals were shocked but relieved. Fang Yuan's injuries were caused by the ancient cloud beasts. And the ancient cloud beasts were chasing him. These were all evidence for his words. After all, ordinary cloud beasts were very rare, this group of ancient cloud beasts most likely came from White Heaven. Chapter 1047, Battle of Chase and Escape in Eastern Sea 2/3. Chase, or not, the Eastern Sea immortals looked at each other. The first to react was rank 7 GU immortal Tang Song. Don't think of leaving, he moved like lightning, chasing after Fang Yuan as he shouted. Fang Yuan snorted. Don't go overboard. Don't think I am afraid of you, if not for my important mission, I would kill you here. Tang Song surged with anger. Bullshit. His immortal killer move was almost ready to be used, he was about to salvage his face, but at this moment, Fang Yuan ran away. He actually ran. Tang Song was unwilling to let him go, he chased relentlessly. His actions caused the stunned Eastern Sea GU immortals to pursue him as well. Fang Yuan's heart sank, but he shouted, those who are not afraid to die can come, ha ha ha. Tang Song yelled after him, those who are afraid to die are cowards. Chase him, the inheritance imprint is with him, we cannot let him join up with the other GU immortals. Only by capturing this person can we obtain the inheritance of the great expert. With such great profits in sight, the Eastern Sea GU immortals chased with even faster speed after hearing that. Fang Yuan muttered, not too stupid, before pointing his finger, as Flying Sword Immortal GU flew out and shot at Tang Song. Tang Song was shocked, he tried to dodge. But because he was distracted, his immortal killer move was interrupted and he had to start all over again to use it. Tang Song almost stomped his feet in anger. The rank 7 GU immortal Lu Qingyu passed him and chased after Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan took a look and tried to sow discord. Lu Qingyu, the inheritance imprint is in your hands, but you are chasing after me. Such incredible acting. Lu Qingyu was furious. Don't run if you have guts. Against you people, why would I need to run, it would be ruining our clan's face. Fang Yuan shouted, continue chasing me if you have the guts, we'll see who is the most unlucky one in the end. Ha ha ha. Fang Yuan appeared fearless, he was so arrogant even though he was being pursued by so many Eastern Sea GU immortals. In contrast, the Eastern Sea GU immortals became increasingly hesitant. There was a key point, who had the crucial inheritance imprint? What Fang Yuan said earlier was highly possible. And in addition, it seemed that Fang Yuan had reinforcements. And to hunt such a huge group of ancient cloud beasts, they must have set up an immortal level battlefield killer move, or even mobilized their immortal GU house, this was quite possible. If we enter an immortal battlefield killer move, it would be troublesome. Tang Song was a member of Tang clan, a super force, he might not be afraid, but these Eastern Sea GU immortals were lone immortals. These lone immortals were not doing too well, otherwise, they would not have gone into the turbulent flow sea area to find some kind of opportunity. After all, time was very precious for GU immortals. First, a GU immortal fell to the back of the group before gradually separating from the pursuing group. Next, more and more GU immortals imitated their actions. GU immortals were not stupid, they were astute figures. The GU immortals who fell behind were not willing to let Fang Yuan go, but they were afraid of falling into a battlefield killer move, and being unable to leave. Thus, they all decided to let others take the lead and scout the route. These guys, they're useless. Lu Qingyu, who was the closest to Fang Yuan, noticed this and mentally cursed, but his actions also became hesitant. He was a lone cultivator and had obtained an opportunity in the past to become immortal, even though he had immortal GU, they were rank 6. Against the immortal battlefield killer move of a super force, he might not be able to escape. Even Tang Song was hesitant, he reserved some of his attention and energy to deal with any reinforcements of the enemy. Thus, a strange chase was created. Fang Yuan flew in front, yelling and cursing angrily, he was in a weaker position but he had an arrogant attitude. Behind him were a bunch of Eastern Sea GU immortals, even though they had the advantage in numbers, they were restrained, they displayed a weaker attitude. Most of the time, Fang Yuan was using mortal killer moves to fly, the Eastern Sea GU immortals behind him were also using mortal killer moves to follow him. Fang Yuan's thoughts were far less confident than his actions, so troublesome. Looking at this situation, I can only escape to the regional wall and use the advantage in that environment to break free from these pursuers. Lu Qingyu, Fang Yuan took note of this name. Fang Yuan had not received any inheritance imprint, he might have destroyed it, but it was also very possible that was only a deceptive move by the blood path demonic immortal. The true inheritance imprint could already be in Lu Qingyu's hands. If that was the case, Lu Qingyu's acting skills were almost on par with Fang Yuan's. He was a deeply shrewd opponent. In the sky high up in the clouds. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. With Fang Yuan at the lead, a group of Eastern CGU immortals flew in the sky while moving like flashes of lightning. There was a huge commotion. Tang Song had secretly been preparing his immortal killer move. It could already be used. He held in his excitement as he accelerated, surpassing Lu Qingyu and getting closer to Fang Yuan. This sudden action made Fang Yuan extremely alert. He immediately used Sword Escape Immortal GU and raised his speed, flying away. Damn it, Tang Song mentally cursed. His rank 7 immortal killer move had greater effect when the distance was short. With his current distance from Fang Yuan, there was no chance to succeed in capturing him. Fang Yuan activated Sword Escape Immortal GU and raised his speed. The GU immortals behind were internally grumbling. The 3 rank 7 GU immortals were still fine. They could use rank 6 immortal GU or immortal killer moves to maintain the distance. But those ordinary rank 6 GU immortals who were at the bottom of the GU immortal world did not even have any rank 6 immortal GU. They were quickly left behind. Seeing that Fang Yuan was flying away, rank 7 GU immortal Zhou Li was anxious. I have a way, I can bring both of you along with me at great speed. But I need to focus and cannot be distracted. I hope you can restrain him. Lu Qingyu and Tang Song looked at each other, rapidly agreeing. Tang Song was the first to agree. These people had an agreement already. They had a basis to trust each other. Zhou Li roared as countless phantom waves appeared around his body. These phantom waves moved his body as his speed rose. An immortal killer move. Fang Yuan's gaze focused, but Lu Qingyu and Tang Song cheered. They stepped on the phantom waves and allowed the waves to move them forward. The two thus had free time to start attacking. Fang Yuan's situation became bad. Earlier, in the process of chasing, the GU immortals behind attacked. But because Fang Yuan was always using immortal GU to disrupt them and also dodge them, he was agile and hard to hit. The GU immortals behind him could not succeed. But now, 2 GU immortals had the free time to focus on attacking. They could use more precise methods and possessed bigger threat. Fang Yuan's pressure intensified. After a while, he was injured. Well done, this person has only so much capability. He only has 2 rank 7 immortal GU. His other methods are all mortal killer moves. Zhou Li said. He was injured to begin with. He was likely hurt by those ancient cloud beasts. Lu Qingyu said darkly. Even though he has rank 7 immortal GU, he is only a rank 6 GU immortal. How much green grape immortal essence can he expend? Tang Song said, smiling in the process. As long as this progressed, they were sure to win. Their only concern was the mysterious force behind Fang Yuan and a possible ambush. Thus, they were holding back, and did not deal any fatal blows. Fang Yuan's situation was quite dangerous. If this continued to progress, he might die here. GU immortals were intelligent and could form complex ideas. They were much harder to deal with compared to the simple-minded ancient cloud beasts. If they really fought head-on, these Eastern CGU immortals were not the match of the ancient cloud beasts. But their threat towards Fang Yuan was much higher than the ancient cloud beasts. Fang Yuan had never banked on the two forces fighting each other. GU immortals were not stupid. They had to consider the costs and benefits before killing even a cloud beast, not to mention this group of ancient cloud beasts. This means, I can only rely on the 5 regional walls. Even if something gets exposed, I have no choice. Fang Yuan slightly changed his direction and flew towards the closest regional wall. The Eastern CGU immortals behind him chased, along with that group of ancient cloud beasts. Soon, the regional wall appeared in Fang Yuan's sight. The regional wall was like a fence surrounding Eastern Sea. Fang Yuan had come out of the regional wall earlier. He was originally very close to it. It was just that he was flying straight ahead as he wanted to save time traveling. If he flew by following the edges of the regional wall, he would have to take a long detour. But who would have expected such trouble to appear from nowhere? Oh no, he is going to enter the regional wall. Lu Qingyu realized Fang Yuan's intention and shouted. Good plan. We are rank 7 GU immortals. After we enter the regional wall, we will face greater restrictions than him. Zhou Li said. Quickly attack, don't let him succeed. Tang Song was anxious. The two immortals' attacks changed. They attacked fiercely. Fang Yuan could not block them all. His injuries were getting more severe. Some of his bones could be seen through the deep wounds. He laughed instead. You dare to attack? Very good, Tang clan. If I die and the clan's plans are ruined, we will not let you off. Tang Song's heart shook. You keep claiming to be part of a clan, it is just a hoax. I know Eastern Sea's righteous forces deeply, why have I never heard of you? Fang Yuan laughed again, his tone filled with hatred. Tang Song, why bother probing? I will not fall for it. This matter has to be kept a secret. I was sent out because we were afraid of external interference. Even if you kill me, I will not tell you my background. I will even self-detonate my soul, you will not be able to soul search me. Fang Yuan's words made their hearts sink. Which enemies were the scariest? Everyone had different answers to this question. But a large number of people would agree, an unknown enemy was the scariest. The enemy is hidden while you are exposed, you do not know where they are, or what they are planning against you. This was the worry of the 3 rank 7 GU immortals. From start to finish, they did not think that Fang Yuan was lying. After all, ancient cloud beasts were too rare, why would a group of them chase after him like this? There had to be a cause. Since there was a cause, the perpetrator had to have enough confidence in their strength to take down this group of ancient cloud beasts. And in Eastern Sea, what kind of force would be able to take down this group of ancient cloud beasts? Evidently, only super forces like Song Clan. Fang Yuan's words made the 3 rank 7 GU immortals' attacks slow, and he obtained some precious time to recover. The regional wall was right in front of him, Fang Yuan could almost escape, but at this time, Zhou Li attacked. Chapter 1048. Battle of Chase and Escape in Eastern Sea 3/3. The phantom waves around Zhou Li that were carrying Tang Song and Lu Qingyu rushed forward, engulfing Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan felt a strong sense of pressure. The waves were only phantom images, but he felt like he was facing a colossal tsunami, he was helpless like an ant, about to be devoured by this tide. An amazing immortal killer move. Rank 7 GU immortals are truly hard to deal with. In the moment of danger, these two thoughts flashed across Fang Yuan's mind. Without the waves carrying them, the 3 immortals stopped moving. The matter is settled. Zhou Li smiled as confidence radiated in his eyes. Tang Song and Lu Qingyu looked at each other, they had guessed Zhou Li's scheme, they involuntarily looked at him in a different light, raising their opinion of him. As it turned out, Zhou Li had secretly collected information on Fang Yuan and learned about his abilities, he knew what methods were suitable to deal with Fang Yuan's capabilities. On the surface, he was helping them to fly, but in fact, he was using them to obstruct Fang Yuan while he gathered strength in the phantom waves below him. As they chased, the phantom waves got bigger and bigger, gradually creating a huge force. And now, Zhou Li attacked. He had not taken overt action previously, but once he did, it was a huge tsunami that swallowed everything. It was faster than even Sword Escape Immortal GU, it could not be stopped. Fang Yuan had the rank 7 Flying Sword Immortal GU, but against the phantom waves, it was ineffective, like dealing with cloud beasts and mud monsters. He still had Sword Escape Immortal GU, but the phantom waves were already surrounding Fang Yuan tightly. Fang Yuan's room to maneuver became smaller, and Sword Escape Immortal GU could not escape from the range of the phantom waves in time. To think that this Zhou Li appeared weak and timid on the surface, but he actually had such plans. I raised my voice at him earlier but he did not retaliate, to think that he is even more shrewd than me. Lu Qingyu felt deep wariness towards Zhou Li. Tang Song had an ugly expression, he had prepared his immortal killer move painstakingly, wanting to save his face, but he did not get a chance to do so. In the end, Zhou Li was the one who benefited. Not mentioning rank 6 GU immortals, among those who could become rank 7 GU immortals, who would be a simpleton? Once Zhou Li attacked, Fang Yuan was like a trapped beast. Our victory is assured. The 3 rank 7 GU immortals had similar thoughts. But Fang Yuan laughed coldly. Ha ha ha, friends, why are you so foolish? You came to sacrifice your lives. In my opinion, the rank 6 GU immortals are far smarter than you. The 3 immortals looked and saw that Fang Yuan did not evade, his hands were behind his back as he floated in the air, calm and composed. The 3 immortals' bodies shook, they cried out in their minds, oh no. He is fearless, is this the place where they are ambushing us? Fang Yuan said again, what's the name of this move? It can actually accumulate and grow in power over time, but can it break through my clan's immortal battlefield killer move? He, I think not. These phantom waves had incredible power and could take his life, but Fang Yuan was unmoved, as if this was not a fatal killer move, but a gentle breeze instead. He even dispelled the defensive killer move on his body, lion fur armor, in front of the 3 immortals. Oh no, this move uses almost all my immortal GU, it has strong attack but weak defense. If the other party attacks, Zhou Li's pupils shrunk. There was no time to think further, he subconsciously withdrew the phantom waves to defend himself. The phantom waves had already accumulated greatly and were a fatal attack, but with Zhou Li withdrawing most of the waves, only a small portion was left to deal with Fang Yuan. A gap formed as Fang Yuan made use of it. Farewell, friends. Fang Yuan activated Sword Escape Immortal GU, flying in the sky like a burst of lightning, entering the Blue Water regional wall. The three immortals were stunned before feeling intense rage. This kid is so crafty, he was putting up a front. He was at his wit's end, but he acted in such a convincing manner. Let's chase him. Tang Song and Lu Qingyu were furious, they charged towards Fang Yuan again. Zhou Li's expression turned pale. After staring blankly momentarily, he slapped himself before pursuing Fang Yuan again. It was such a good situation earlier, but he messed it up. How could there still be another chance? Fang Yuan had survived narrowly. After entering the regional wall, he went deep into it. The three immortals were greatly troubled. Their higher cultivation level was a burden here. At this moment, the three immortals wished that they were just rank 6 GU immortals. The deeper they got into the regional wall, the greater the repulsive force, and the slower their speed became. Left without a choice, the three immortals could only entrust their hope in the rank 6 GU immortals who were still behind. But these rank 6 GU immortals also faced a lot of obstruction. They were very different from Fang Yuan, who felt zero resistance inside. Soon, the GU immortals were left in the dust by Fang Yuan. What cultivation level does this person have? He faces such little resistance inside the regional wall. The Eastern CGU immortals were gloomy. But they did not know that Fang Yuan was purposely holding back. Fang Yuan did not want this secret to be exposed, thus, he lowered his speed and pretended to be having difficulties traveling, only causing them to be suspicious. They could not catch up to Fang Yuan, but the Eastern CGU immortals were unwilling to give up. I don't believe that he can hide here and not come out. He is a rank 6 GU immortal, flying here consumes a lot of immortal essence. I want to see if a rank 6 GU immortal's foundation can match my own rank 7. Even though the Eastern CGU immortals were unwilling to see this, reality was cruel. Fang Yuan left them farther and farther behind, even the ancient cloud beasts were catching up. After some more chaos, the Eastern CGU immortals felt bitter, seeing the ancient cloud beasts surpass them in chasing Fang Yuan. These ancient cloud beasts came from White Heaven, they were unaffected by the 5 regional walls. Eventually, Fang Yuan left the investigative range of the Eastern CGU immortals. They could only chase the ancient cloud beasts. The ancient cloud beasts got closer and closer to Fang Yuan. Seeing that the time was ripe, Fang Yuan activated Sword Escape Immortal GU and raised his speed, flying away. The Eastern CGU immortals chased until some people could no longer take it. They chose to give up, leaving the regional wall. So unlucky, I actually encountered such a person. We know nothing about this person's identity, it is unknown whether he really has a super force behind him or not. Tang Song and Zhou Li conversed, feeling that hope was slim. Only Lu Qingyu was not talking, continuing his chase. Brother Lu, stop chasing. He is already gone, this matter has so many issues, we should first leave and discuss it. Tang Song and Zhou Li urged. Lu Qingyu said, I have my methods for investigating. I will not rest until I catch him. Hold on, I will try again, I'll be back shortly. Saying so, he turned into a green rainbow as his speed rose, charging towards the ancient cloud beasts. Tang Song looked at the light as he said in a strange tone, it seems that Brother Lu is anxious, he even used this move. This move uses a lot of his Dao marks to activate, it has a high price, it is a trump card, he rarely uses it. In the past, he used it to escape from many strong foes. What did you say? Zhou Li's expression changed. Tang Song was staring blankly, his expression soon turned grim. The two immortals looked at each other, sensing the rage in their eyes. It was very possible that this Lu Qingyu was not chasing after Fang Yuan, but that he had secretly obtained the inheritance imprint and was trying to escape from them. After all, Fang Yuan destroyed the inheritance imprint that the Blood Path demonic immortal threw out, everyone saw that. And the person who killed the Blood Path demonic immortal was Lu Qingyu. Brother Lu, hold on. This thief is crafty, he might have help arriving, we will lend you a hand, Brother Lu. Tang Song and Zhou Li quickly chased. Lu Qingyu heard these words and moved even faster, he did not even turn back, it was like he had heard nothing. Tang Song and Zhou Li affirmed their guesses, their expressions turned grim as they swore that they would not let Lu Qingyu go. Half a month later, A figure penetrated the green licorice regional wall and entered Northern Plains. I am finally in Northern Plains. It was Fang Yuan. He was filled with fatigue, injuries covered his body. He had already healed the wounds that could be treated. But most of his injuries were caused by the ancient cloud beasts, immortal GU, and even immortal killer moves. These injuries had Dao marks in them. He had to use healing immortal GU to get rid of them. Fang Yuan only had 3 immortal GU, he could only stall his treatment. Over on Langya Land Spirit's End, there should be healing immortal GU. Once I return, I would get to rest. Fang Yuan spurred himself on. Earlier, he had fought with the Eastern CGU Immortals, and these last days, in order to escape from the ancient cloud beasts, he had used Sword Escape Immortal GU again. He already owed Langya Land Spirit a huge debt. Most importantly, because the Eastern CGU Immortals were pursuing him, Fang Yuan had to travel in the regional wall. Thus, he took a long detour and consumed a lot of immortal essence. But these were not important. The important thing was the immortal aperture's calamities and tribulations. Time was running shorter, Fang Yuan's bad feeling was getting deeper. Turning around and looking back, the ancient cloud beasts' figures were already vaguely showing in the regional wall. Fang Yuan sighed as he used Sword Escape Immortal GU, flying towards the northeast direction. Fang Yuan did not know the exact location of Langya Blessed Land. Earlier, Langya Blessed Land was near Crescent Lake, but because of Shadow Sect's attack, Langya Blessed Land had relocated. After contacting Langya Land Spirit, he did not tell Fang Yuan the exact location of Langya Blessed Land, he only gave a direction, a GU Immortal would come and pick him up. 3 days later, Fang Yuan reached the meetup location, but no one was there. The ancient cloud beasts continued to chase him and he could only run away. After contacting Langya Land Spirit, he realized that Langya Land Spirit had dispatched a hairy man GU Immortal, but he encountered human GU Immortals along the way and was killed. Langya Land Spirit could only send another person to go, but an unexpected mishap happened again. This hairy man GU Immortal vanished mysteriously, he could not be contacted. To bring back Fang Yuan, Langya Sect had lost 2 hairy man GU Immortals, and they did not even manage to bring Fang Yuan back to the Blessed Land. Langya Land Spirit could not bear such a loss, he told Fang Yuan the location directly. 7 days later, Fang Yuan arrived at Feng Bo Cliff. At Feng Bo Cliff, he saw the arrangements of Langya Land Spirit. This was an immortal level GU formation, its use was similar to the Green Crystal Heroes Path Zombie Alliance had. Fang Yuan used it to free himself from the ancient cloud beasts, returning to Langya Blessed Land. After so many troublesome circumstances, he was finally safe. Chapter 1049, Selling a Human Slave. Langya Blessed Land, Black Hair Continent. Steel Thread City was the grandest city in Black Hair Continent. Just within the city, there were hundreds of thousands of hairy men. Not to mention the periphery of the city, with countless villages and towns around. Langya Blessed Land could be considered the largest paradise of hairy men in the current world. Within the Blessed Land, there were 4 continents. 3 were on the sea, with similar sizes, the 4th one was the smallest but was floating in the sky, known as Cloud Cover Continent. It was the sacred land that hairy men from the other 3 continents aspired to reach. In the trading market of Steel Thread City, there was much clamor, it was one of the most famous markets in Black Hair Continent. Today, at the southeast corner of this market, a fat and muscular hairy man walked onto the stage. On the stage, there were a ring of hairy men with muscular and hairy bodies. These hairy men had black and brown hair. This was the natural hair color of the hairy men on Black Hair Continent. The fat and muscular hairy man stepped onto the stage as the hairy men below started calling out. Among them, one asked loudly, "Kong Ba, what goods do you have this time?" The hairy man Kong Ba was a slave merchant, he specialized in selling slaves, he had a huge business, and a certain amount of fame. Kong Ba heard this and laughed, looking around. "Don't worry everyone, I brought a lot of yellow-haired slaves this time, they include quasi-masters in refinement path, you will definitely be pleased." The surrounding hairy men had shining eyes, they discussed enthusiastically. Ever since Lord Immortal declared from Cloud Cover Continent that seeds would be chosen every 10 years to learn the ways of immortals, our 3 continents have been engaging in huge battles. As for how to choose the immortal seeds, it will depend on who can draw the Lord Immortal's attention in the battles between the 3 continents. Just now, our Black Hair Continent joined up with White Hair Continent to deal with Yellow Hair Continent. I heard we won several battles and captured a number of yellow hairs. I am an old man, I dare not think of becoming immortal, but I want these yellow-haired slaves as labor for my GU refinement factory. These slaves are better than employing GU masters, they are cheap and I control their life and death, their offspring will also continue to be my slaves. Everyone, everyone. Hairy man Kong Ba raised his hands, causing the surroundings to become quiet. I do not want to waste everyone's time, I will now bring out the first slave, everyone can have a look, bring him here. Quickly move. Behind the stage, a muscular black-haired hairy man dragged the chain in his hands. At the end of the chain, a slave was tied up, full of injuries that exposed his flesh. It was Fang Zheng, who was interrogated earlier. Fang Zheng could not resist the black-haired hairy man's brute force, he almost fell to the ground after being pulled. But when he stood up, he stared at the black-haired hairy man fiercely, with a firm and stubborn expression. Crack! The black-haired hairy man raised his whip and lashed at Fang Zheng's face. Fang Zheng felt his face turning numb, before an intense pain assaulted him. But he gritted his teeth, he swallowed the scream that he was about to utter back down his throat. You're asking for a beating, move quickly. The black-haired hairy man laughed as he stretched out his arm that was thicker than Fang Zheng's legs, he grabbed his neck and raised him up. Next, the black-haired hairy man stepped onto the stage and walked a few steps to the center, before throwing Fang Zheng down. Fang Zheng's neck was grabbed, he could barely breathe, his head was spinning. After being thrown onto the stage, he nearly fainted on the spot. He was seeing stars, his head was dizzy, he was sprawled on the ground, unable to stand up. Be careful, you idiot! Kong Ba scolded angrily. The black-haired hairy man who brought Fang Zheng did not dare to offend him, he quickly apologized. Scram! Kong Ba scolded angrily. The black-haired hairy man quickly ran down the stage. Kong Ba's expression changed instantly, turning from angry to joyous as he pointed at Fang Zheng, explaining to the hairy men, this slave is a rare breed, I, Kong Ba, obtained him with great difficulty. These words attracted the interest of the audience. This slave is not weak at all, he has rank 5 cultivation level. Soon, someone noticed Fang Zheng's faint GU master aura and gasped. Is this a city lord from Yellow Hair Continent? He was actually captured and had nearly all his hair shaved, who humiliated him like this? Immediately after, someone asked this curiously. In White Hair Continent, Black Hair Continent, and Yellow Hair Continent, the city lords usually has the highest authority, they had rank 5 cultivation level. In the culture of hairy men, they were proud of the hair on their bodies. Getting their hair shaved was the most cruel humiliation and punishment, in the hearts of most hairy men, it was worse than death. To make a comparison, it was like having male convicts castrated on earth. Kong Ba laughed. You all are guessing wrongly, this slave is not a hairy man, he is a pure-bred human. What? Human? He is a human. In Langya Blessed Land, hairy men were the dominant race, they rarely saw others. Many of the hairy men present were shocked, this was the first time they had heard of the rumored human. Fang Zheng had already recovered from his daze, he felt extremely uncomfortable, being watched by so many hairy men. Get up, stand properly. Kong Ba made a hooking motion with his finger. Fang Zheng lost control of his body, a formless force was controlling him, causing him to stand up on the stage. The hairy men below the stage could see him clearly now, they were conversing softly with each other, exclaiming in wonder over Fang Zheng. Kong Ba laughed, feeling very pleased. He had spent a huge amount to buy this Fang Zheng, it was to create this commotion. Now, it seemed his goal had been achieved. The hairy men below the stage were talking among themselves, growing louder and rowdier. Quickly look, there's a human slave on sale there. Really, I want to see it. Go and look at this rare thing. More and more hairy men noticed this, they were gathering from all around the market. Fang Zheng stood on the stage, looking down at the sea of hairy men, he was also staring widely. There was such a huge number of hairy men, this was the first time Fang Zheng was seeing such a thing. He had seen hairy men in Immortal Crane sect before, they were slaves refining GU. He knew the situation of the 5 regions, humans were the absolute rulers, variant humans were heavily suppressed, desperately surviving in some isolated parts of the world. But now, it seemed that these hairy men were the rulers here, and humans were heavily suppressed. Where is this place? Fang Zheng felt increasingly confused and puzzled. He remembered being interrogated and tortured, the prison guard told him that his brother was dead and who Immortal Blessed Land was taken over. At first, he did not believe it, but after some interrogation and torture, he was half believing and half doubtful. Now that he saw this, his puzzlement was intensifying. Kong Ba, how much are you selling this slave for? Someone shouted. Ha ha ha, this much. Kong Ba raised both hands, extending all 10 of his fingers. The crowd went into a commotion, many cried out, so expensive. Kong Ba, you are robbing us. You must be crazy to think of such money. Everyone, Kong Ba raised his voice, saying loudly, this is a rank 5 GU master, after becoming your slave, you will gain a rank 5 fighter. This is an opportunity that you may never encounter again. But there were astute figures among the hairy men under the stage. A rank 5 GU master, it will not be easy to enslave him. That's right, to enslave an expert like this, we need at least rank 4 cultivation level. Also, this slave has clearly been tortured and interrogated, maybe he is already heavily injured. What if he dies after we buy him? Kong Ba pretended to be furious. Who do you think I am? I do business based on sincerity and honesty. Look at him, take a good look. Saying this, Kong Ba walked towards Fang Zheng and firmly pressed his fingers around Fang Zheng's chin and lips. Fang Zheng felt intense pain, his mouth opened involuntarily, revealing his teeth and lips. Look at his teeth, come, look at his skin. Kong Ba tore in with a sharp sound, Fang Zheng's shirt was completely shredded. Fang Zheng shuddered, he was completely naked, exposed in front of the band of hairy men. Even though he has injuries over his body, they are all superficial wounds, they can be treated. I can assure they will not result in problems. Fang Zheng gritted his teeth, his eyes were spewing fire, intense anger and humiliation filled his heart, he would love to kill all of these hairy men instantly. Kong Ba chuckled, he used a twig to hold up the object in Fang Zheng's groin, saying, everyone, look, this thing is still working. In the future, he can create human offspring for you, you will have an unlimited supply of slaves. Ha ha ha, the hairy men were laughing loudly. Fang Zheng's face was red, he was extremely humiliated, if not for Kong Ba immobilizing him completely, he would have bitten his tongue and tried to suicide. I will buy this slave. Suddenly, a voice came from afar. Everyone looked towards the source of the voice, and saw a female hairy man, she had black hair all over her body, and she looked at Fang Zheng with a lustful expression. Greetings to City Lord. The hairy men all knelt down, including Kong Ba. Ha ha ha, the female City Lord who was twice the size of normal hairy men ordered, Kong Ba, give this slave medical treatment, clean him and send him to my home. By night time, I want to see him. As you command, our beautiful and strong City Lord. Kong Ba was overjoyed, he kowtowed as he acknowledged. Fang Zheng shut his eyes, losing all hope in life. At this moment, there was a thunderous sound, the world trembled. A 5-colored light shot up from cloud-covered continent in the sky, shining over the entirety of Langya blessed land. What is happening in cloud-covered continent? Oh heavens, this is the light of the immortals, this is a huge blessing. The attention of the hairy men was drawn by this event, everyone raised their heads and looked with curiosity, admiration, and envy. As for Fang Zheng, he was completely forgotten already. Chapter 1050, Recovering from Injuries. On this day, from cloud-covered continent, a huge light burst into the sky. Light in the colors of the rainbow was shining in the sky, shooting into the sky like a beam from the heavens. It was so dazzling, all of the hairy men on black hair continent, white hair continent, and yellow hair continent only needed to raise their heads to see it. This is the work of immortals. The hairy men sighed. If this were in the past, the 3 continents would only have rumors and vague legends of GU immortals. But after Langya Land Spirit's personality changed, the situation changed completely. Langya Land Spirit sent out orders, imitating the Imperial Court contest, to stir up competition in the 3 continents to select elite candidates to cultivate in cloud-covered continent. The war between the 3 continents affected all hairy men, and the immortal miracle of cloud-covered continent stirred the passions of the hairy men. Becoming an immortal, Black Hair King looked at the sky, his eyes shining with brilliant light. As the light faded, Black Hair King made up his mind, send out my imperial decree. The immortal miracle is an auspicious sign. We will hold a martial competition in remembrance of this. The winner of the martial competition will be able to choose a treasure from our treasury. Yes, the guard who received the order answered as they left in a bowing position. Black Hair King's idea was not new, he had thought about it for a long time already. The war between the 3 continents made Black Hair King realize that the mindset of GU refinement being important above all needed to be abandoned. To deal with the future battles, he needed elite GU masters skilled in combat. With Black Hair King's order, a huge commotion spread out from the imperial city, rapidly projecting outwards and growing larger and larger. Soon, half a month later, Steel Thread City had an esteemed guest. This guest was received by Steel Thread City Lord personally, because he was also a city lord himself. Wafeng City Lord, is there anything you need by coming here? During the banquet, while drinking, Steel Thread City Lord asked. Steel Thread City Lord, you are an insightful person, you know my intentions in coming here already. Wafeng City Lord smiled, pointing at the hairy man GU masters behind him. The king wants to hold a martial competition, but each region can only send 3 people. And in our region, there are both of our cities. The GU masters behind me are the ones I am going to send to the competition. But because the king has limited the number of people, we can hold a contest here first and decide who goes to the martial competition. Ha ha ha, very good, I have the same idea. Steel Thread City Lord laughed, clapping as she summoned the hairy man GU masters onto the stage. Both sides dispatched a person each and started to fight. After several rounds, Wafeng City won all of their matches, while Steel Thread City lost all of theirs. Wafeng City Lord laughed, drinking wine casually, while Steel Thread City Lord had a grim expression. She had a heavy feeling, to think that Wafeng City Lord came prepared, he picked such elite GU masters. Oh no, if we do not win any battles, this would definitely become widely spread news. For the next few years, we will live under the pressure of Wafeng City. There is only one match left. Steel Thread City Lord, please send your participant. Wafeng City Lord urged. Steel Thread City Lord snorted coldly, she placed her gaze on a hairy man. But this hairy man GU master was breaking out in cold sweat. This situation made him feel a strong burden. Precisely so, he felt a lack of confidence. Not just him, the higher-ups of Steel Thread City in the banquet also felt no confidence in him. At this moment, an elder in the city transmitted to Steel Thread City Lord secretly, City Lord, I know someone who can salvage our reputation. Steel Thread City Lord heard this and was overjoyed. She quickly asked who it was. This elder answered, City Lord, did you forget, you recently bought a human slave, he has rank 5 cultivation level. Steel Thread City Lord was stunned. Her expression was bitter as she transmitted, this is inappropriate. My contest with Wafeng City Lord is an open, fair and just matter involving our reputations. If I send out this human slave, so be it if we lose, but if we win, he will be sent to participate in the martial competition. If the king sees that my Steel Thread City sends a human instead of hairy men, would he not reprimand me? The elder laughed. He knew that this was just Steel Thread City Lord's excuse. The truth was, Steel Thread City Lord was just reluctant. That slave called Fang Yuan had been visited by the City Lord almost every night since he was bought. This had made a lot of the higher-ups unhappy. The elder continued, City Lord, don't worry. The current king is magnanimous, he only cares about talent. Among the elders assisting him, there are no lack of snowmen and feathermen. City Lord, if you send Fang Yuan and he loses, he can take full responsibility. If he wins, our reputation will be salvaged, and he would be sent to the competition. The king would surely hold a good opinion of you, he might even think of you as a friend, who knows. Steel Thread City Lord looked at this elder deeply, thinking, this old fox is really scheming. Isn't the reason simply because I have neglected the nephew that you sent to me? This is such a vile plan. If we win, I will send Fang Yuan away. If we lose, I will have to kill Fang Yuan and throw the responsibility to him. Regardless of victory or defeat, I will lose Fang Yuan. Oh, forget it. Steel Thread City Lord sighed. How can I be someone who gives into lust and neglects the important matters? Even though Steel Thread City Lord visited Fang Zheng every night and was obsessed with him, she was a hard-hearted person, a hairy man who pursued authority and power. In her heart, looks were nothing. Thus, Steel Thread City Lord swapped that hairy man and summoned Fang Zheng, informing him. After learning of the reason, Fang Zheng walked onto the stage. It is a rank 5 GU master. Wafeng City Lord's heart jumped, sensing Fang Zheng's rank 5 aura, he immediately was on alert. He smiled. According to the rules, my side will decide the content of this round. In the previous few rounds, we competed using battle strength, now how can the traditions and essence of us hairy men be discarded? This round, we will compete using GU refinement. Once he said that, Steel Thread City Lord almost berated him in anger. The elders from Steel Thread City also looked towards Wafeng City Lord with distaste. But Wafeng City Lord had been a city lord for many years, he was unabashed, he ignored these glances. Steel Thread City Lord could not rebuke him. After all, the rules were set earlier. She waved to Fang Zheng, go and compete. Display all of your capabilities, remember, you must win at all costs. If you lose, you will lose your life to compensate for the loss. Fang Zheng heard this and was expressionless. He had been utterly humiliated these last days. Steel Thread City Lord had a strong desire for night activities. She liked all sorts of stances and positions. They did it 17 or 18 times a night. She had no restraints. Fang Zheng felt like he was better off dead. Fang Zheng really wanted to simply die, but as a slave, he was under their control. He could not even die if he wanted to. Steel Thread City Lord threatened him with death now. To him it was a form of release. In his mind, there was a thought. Do I still want to live? I might as well surrender and die. But at this moment, a voice appeared in his mind. Idiot. A true man needs to be able to give in and put down his pride at times. This humiliation is nothing. If you have guts, take revenge in the future. Cut all of these enemies who humiliated you into a million pieces. This is the act of an outstanding individual. Who are you? Fang Zheng was shocked. He screamed out loud. On the other side, Huafeng City's final hairy man Jiu master stepped onto the stage. He thought Fang Zheng was talking to him. He puffed out his chest and said, I am Mao Shiba. Fang Zheng did not respond. He had regained his freedom. He could use many Jiu worms now, but the voice in his mind appeared and vanished instantly. He could not find any traces of it no matter how much he inspected his body. Scum, you dare to humiliate me. Mao Shiba was furious. He gave his own name, but Fang Zheng ignored him. It was as if he was too high and mighty to introduce himself. Mao Shiba was extremely angry. Why is this guy so angry? Fang Zheng was startled into awareness by Mao Shiba. He thought this to himself. Because of this misunderstanding, before the contest started, there was huge animosity. Under everyone's gazes, the contest started. Mao Shiba was the strongest Jiu master in Huafeng City. He was skilled in both the pen and the sword. Not only was he good at fighting, he was also skilled at refining Jiu. In contrast, even though Fang Zheng cultivated an Immortal Crane sect for some time, he mainly cultivated enslavement path. He had only explored refinement path a little. The contest had just started, but Mao Shiba already took the lead. During the middle of the contest, Mao Shiba had already left Fang Zheng in the dust. His advantage was immense. In the final moments, the hairy men watching, be it from Steel Thread City or Huafeng City, did not think that Fang Zheng could win. Even Fang Zheng thought the same. Am I going to lose? So be it. Death is release after all. He sighed internally. Bullshit. At this time, the voice spoke again. Fang Zheng was shocked. His hands trembled. The half-complete Jiu went up in smoke. Ha ha ha. Huafeng City Lord laughed. Steel Thread City Lord had an ugly expression. Inside Fang Zheng's mind, the voice continued. How can a true man falter in the face of such a small setback? You are Fang Yuan. This time, Fang Zheng recognized the voice. Hee, my main body is already dead. Only this will is left in your mind. As my brother living in this world, you are not thinking of improving yourself, you do not seek revenge. I truly cannot watch anymore. Fang Yuan's will scolded angrily. Fang Zheng snorted, thinking, you are already dead, why are you still coming out to interfere in matters? He was familiar with Lord Sky Crane's soul, who helped him cultivate in the past. It was easy for him to converse with Fang Yuan's will. In fact, he even felt a sense of nostalgia. But on the surface, the hairy men could not see anything. They only thought that Fang Zheng was completely dazed and had a blank expression. Fang Yuan's will felt Fang Zheng's animosity and laughed nonchalantly. Since I am dead, why did you use my name to impersonate me? Fang Zheng was silent. Fang Yuan's will continued. You were humiliated and tortured, but you refused to expose your real name. This shows that you still have a sense of shame, anger, and hatred. Then why are you not using this chance to improve and get stronger? You know the situation. If you win this, you will be able to join the martial competition, freeing yourself from being a slave and regaining freedom. I want to win too. Who doesn't want revenge and freedom? But my loss is assured. Fang Zheng said angrily. Ha ha. Fang Yuan's will laughed. As long as you follow my instructions, you can surpass Mao Shiba and win this. Fang Zheng was stunned. He asked, what scheme is it this time? HMPH. Fang Yuan's will snorted. Even though I am dead, I am indignant. I want revenge. None of the hairy man Jiu immortals who killed me will escape. You are my hope for revenge. Aren't you using my name now? Then take revenge for me. Why must I help a demon who slaughtered his entire clan like a monster take revenge? Fang Zheng replied furiously. Fang Yuan's will replied, there is no time for you to squabble. Follow my instructions. Start the fire, put in the 3 different kinds of gold. Remember, profound gold, ice gold, and tear gold, place them inside the cauldron in order. Fang Zheng gritted his teeth. Even though he did not want to listen to Fang Yuan, his words gave him some hope of victory, and this concerned his life. Hesitating for a while, he stretched out his hand. Refining GU again. The audience laughed loudly upon seeing this. But in a few minutes, they could not laugh anymore. They looked at Fang Zheng in shock. He raised his right hand, holding the GU worm. He had refined it under everyone's gazes. I won. He breathed in deeply, declaring loudly. In the hall, nobody spoke. Even his opponent, Mao Shiba, could not accept this fact. He was staring blankly. The atmosphere was quite unique. The hairy men did not want to acknowledge that a human had defeated an expert hairy man GU master in a competition of GU refinement. After a while, someone said, "Quickly look, the rainbow light from cloud cover continent is fading." Everyone followed what the voice had said. Dozens of gazes looked through the entrance of the hall. Indeed, the rainbow light coming from cloud cover continent was vanishing. From the rainbow light, a figure walked out. It seems you have recovered. Lang Ya Land Spirit looked at this person and smiled. Yes. This person nodded. This is all thanks to First Supreme Elder. As he spoke, the rainbow light faded, showing his appearance. If Fang Zheng saw this person, he would be shocked. This person was naturally Fang Yuan. Lang Ya Land Spirit laughed. If you want to thank me, isn't it simple? Give Dang Hun Mountain, Luopo Valley, or Wisdom GU to me. Fang Yuan smiled. Giving is impossible. But we can make a trade. I wonder what price First Supreme Elder is willing to pay. Lang Ya Land Spirit's laughter stopped. This. He was hesitant. Awkwardness was written all over his face. Chapter 1051. 3 Supreme True Inheritances. Be it Dang Hun Mountain, Luopo Valley, or Wisdom GU, they were priceless treasures, unique in this world, exceptional in their domains. Fang Yuan said they could be traded, but what could Lang Ya Land Spirit use to buy them? Fang Yuan did not reject him. He was waiting in anticipation. Lang Ya Blessed Land had a deep foundation. It was not simple. It had survived the eras of 2 Venerables and existed up to this day. After Imperial Court Blessed Land was destroyed, it could be called the #1 Blessed Land in the 5 regions. When he was alive, the land spirit was known as the #1 refinement path immortal of all times. He faintly surpassed old eccentric Tian Nan and old immortal Kong Ju. Such a character, how could he not have anything worth trading? Like Immortal GU transactions, each one was unique. Unparalleled items could be exchanged using similarly unparalleled items. The assessment of their value depended on the individual's own circumstances. Dang Hun Mountain, Luopo Valley, and Wisdom GU, these 3 were not objects that Fang Yuan would not trade away, as long as the gain was worth it. Lang Ya Land Spirit started to pace around. He frowned, entering deep thought. If it were the previous land spirit, there would be no need for consideration. He would trade with Fang Yuan. But after changing personality, this new Lang Ya Land Spirit had a different focus. The white-haired land spirit was formed from the obsession about space escape GU, thus he is only interested in refining GU. He nurtured all of the hairy man GU immortals to be refinement path experts. But this black hair land spirit wants to turn hairy men into the dominant race. I can make good use of this point. Fang Yuan thought. Seeing this land spirit walking around, he patiently waited for his decision. Fang Yuan had a sense of confidence. He believed that Lang Ya Land Spirit would not disappoint him. As Fang Yuan had expected, after struggling, Lang Ya Land Spirit made up his mind and decided to trade with Fang Yuan. First Supreme Elder, I am not doubting your ability to trade with me, but it has to suit both of us. If the things you have cannot match my expectations, I am afraid, Fang Yuan purposely said. Lang Ya Land Spirit stared as he said grumpily, don't worry. My Lang Ya sect's treasures are not inferior to those 3 things. Saying so, he handed Fang Yuan an information path GU worm. Fang Yuan stretched out his arm, receiving this GU worm. This GU was like a silkworm, although it had a head, thorax and abdomen, 3 distinct parts. Its body looked like a cocoon overall, round and cute. It was white and looked like a vase, with a shiny glaze on the surface. Fang Yuan held it in his hand. It was smooth and shiny. It had a good feel to it when handled. This is a bookworm. Fang Yuan was slightly shocked. He had seen bookworms before. They were a type of valuable rank 1 GU. But what shocked him was, this bookworm was emanating rank 3 aura. Lang Ya Land Spirit snorted, saying, this is something my previous self made. He broke the limits of the rank 1 bookworm, developing rank 2 and 3 versions of it. But what use do they have? If enemies attack, can the bookworms defend us? Even though he said that, Fang Yuan could hear vague smugness hidden in Lang Ya Land Spirit's tone. Fang Yuan shook his head. Without speaking, he used a trace of the unlimited primeval essence in his immortal essence to use the bookworm, as well as sending a portion of his consciousness into it. He did not own the bookworm, but he had borrowed it from Langya land spirit, thus he could use it without obstruction. Fang Yuan's eyes were shining. The information in the bookworm made him extremely excited, his heartbeat rose. As I expected, Fang Yuan praised in his mind, his thoughts were frothing about uncontrollably. Fang Yuan had returned to Langya blessed land and spent a lot of time recuperating. At this time, his immortal aperture's calamity was around the corner. Ying Wu Xie, He Lu Lan, Hu immortal blessed land, fixed immortal travel, all of these things did not matter now. His biggest obstacle was to pass this calamity. Once in a while, calamities and tribulations descend in a Gu immortal's immortal aperture. The deeper the foundation of the immortal aperture, the stronger the calamities and tribulations. Fang Yuan's current immortal aperture had not been managed yet, it was empty. But it had an incredibly huge space, and a large time path foundation in it. It was even not limited by the separate natures of the 5 regions. Such an immortal aperture far surpassed the 10 extreme physiques combined. The calamities and tribulations he was going to face would be unprecedentedly dangerous. One could say, this was a sharp blade hanging around Fang Yuan's neck. When he was recuperating, Fang Yuan had been training Fang Zheng as well as considering his circumstances. There was only a few days until the calamity. Fang Yuan did not have much confidence, he was uncertain about it. Most of his immortal Gu were left in his original body, a number were destroyed, while the others were left with Ying Wu Xie. Fang Yuan's strength was much lower now. Tai Bai Yunsheng and He Lu Lan were nowhere to be found, while Fairy Li Shan and Blazing Heaven Demoness were dead. The only help he could get was from Langya Blessed Land. And Langya Blessed Land must have survived a lot of calamities and tribulations after existing for so many years. It was a successful example that had dealt with many tribulations. There was bound to be much for Fang Yuan to learn from it. How is it? Langya land spirit smiled and said. He raised 3 fingers at Fang Yuan. My Langya sect has 3 major foundations. Firstly, the refinement path true inheritance left behind by my main body, it has the essence of my entire life's cultivation. Secondly, the luck path true inheritance left by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Thirdly, the theft path true inheritance left by Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. When my main body was alive, I had refined Gu for these 2 venerables. The payment I requested were one of each of their true inheritances. Fang Yuan gave a slight nod. The bookworm recorded details of these 3 true inheritances. No matter which one, they were deep and profound. Fang Yuan only saw their most superficial information, and was already deeply attracted by them. They were extremely valuable. Langya land spirit continued. Among these 3 true inheritances, the Thieving Heaven true inheritance is the least valuable. That is because my main body created space escape Gu, but could not activate it, thus, I returned a portion of the payment. However, Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's true inheritances all come in pairs. If you are lucky, after getting this true inheritance, and if the other true inheritance is not obtained yet, you might get clues to the second true inheritance. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable left behind a total of 10 true inheritances, but only otherworldly demons can receive most of them, only the one I have is an exception. Fang Yuan, you are an otherworldly demon, you can easily obtain the other Thieving Heaven true inheritance if it is still available. Fang Yuan gave a slight nod. He had seen the power of Formless Hand. Using theft path methods, he could steal the immortal Gu of others, and gain the greatest benefits after every battle. And some methods that Fang Yuan relied on greatly, Unfamiliar Face, Vaguely Familiar Face, and Familiar Face, were also Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's immortal killer moves. Fang Yuan had experienced the benefits of stealing. This true inheritance would not disappoint him. After pausing for a while, Langya land spirit continued. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had a total of 10 true inheritances, but Giant Sun Immortal Venerable only had 3. When I was alive, I refined the immortal Gu House 88 True Yong building for him, thus, this true inheritance's value is higher than Thieving Heaven's. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's 3 true inheritances encompass all of his methods regarding luck path. They are self-luck, all living beings' luck, and heaven and earth luck. Among which, the self-luck true inheritance is with me. The all living beings' luck true inheritance was inside Imperial Court Blessed Land. As for the heaven and earth luck true inheritance, it is in Longevity Heaven. Self-luck, all living beings' luck, heaven and earth luck. Connect luck immortal Gu, break luck immortal Gu, divert disaster immortal Gu, they were part of the all living beings' luck true inheritance. After Imperial Court Blessed Land was destroyed by Fang Yuan, some of these immortal GU were sent outside. As for the details of cultivation involved in it, they were already lost. Fang Yuan and Ma Hongyun had interacted. He knew about the power of luck path. Ignoring other things, if I had divert disaster immortal GU, I could mimic Imperial Court Blessed Land and send my calamities and tribulations outside. Fang Yuan knew that luck path was very useful for his tribulations. Even if this self-luck true inheritance did not have GU like divert disaster immortal GU, the higher Fang Yuan's luck was, the weaker his calamities and tribulations would be, he could deal with them more easily. Fang Yuan, I would suggest you take the self-luck true inheritance. Because your luck seems to be really bad. Lang Ya Land Spirit said. Just now, how many problems and mishaps occurred when you came back from southern border? Even on my end, I lost 2 hairy man GU immortals, you can't even imagine the cause. In order to refine fortune rivaling heaven immortal GU, old ancestor Shui who ordered the demonic path GU immortals in snowy mountain blessed land to collect materials for him. This act made the loyalty of his members drop. At a crucial moment, a traitor appeared in snowy mountain blessed land, stealing one of the most crucial materials. Old ancestor Shui who was enraged, he dispatched GU immortals to capture any suspicious people. The hairy man GU immortal I sent to receive you was implicated. As for the second GU immortal who disappeared mysteriously, I have not even discovered what was the cause of his disappearance. I believe that one day, the truth will come out. They will not be sacrificed in vain. Fang Yuan urged. Lang Ya Land Spirit gritted his teeth. He did not continue this topic, he went back to the previous one. Actually, it seems to me that the true inheritance which suits you the most is the first one. Refinement path has 2 styles, do you know of them? I have heard of them. Fang Yuan said. Lang Ya Land Spirit continued. The 2 styles are the hairy man heaven and earth style, and the human isolation style. Us hairy men refine GU differently from humans, we can use the Tao marks of heaven and earth to create the most conducive environment to refine GU, and increase the chance of succeeding in the GU refinement. Fang Yuan listened patiently. Lang Ya Land Spirit would have his reasons for saying this. Back then, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had requested help from my main body. That was because my main body used the hairy men heaven and earth style to refine GU. The success rate of refining GU was higher than your human isolation style. My main body not only knew the essence of the hairy man heaven and earth style, I even used old immortal Kong Ju's true inheritance to break past our limits, reaching a higher level. I conceptualized an immortal killer move, called Immortal Tribulation Tempering Aperture. Immortal Tribulation Tempering Aperture. Fang Yuan's eyes shined, he felt deep interest. Lang Ya Land Spirit smiled with great pride as he continued explaining. As it turned out, this killer move, Immortal Tribulation Tempering Aperture, was a refinement path killer move that used several immortal GU and more than 100,000 mortal GU to form. It had an ingenious concept. It used the blessed land or grotto heaven as the target of refinement, using the killer move to connect the immortal aperture with the outside world of the 5 regions, influencing the calamity or tribulation and using it to temper the immortal aperture itself. The calamities and tribulations of immortal apertures can have all sorts of strangeness, it makes them hard to deal with. But using this killer move, one can restrict the type of calamities and tribulations that happen. Do you know why Lang Ya Blessed Land was placed around Crescent Lake in the past? That was because the area near Crescent Lake has a lot of water path Tao marks and refinement path Tao marks. My previous self always used the killer move, Immortal Tribulation Tempering Aperture, to deal with calamities and tribulations. Most often, water path and refinement path calamities would occur. After passing them, the immortal aperture would gain water path and refinement path Tao marks. 180,000 years ago, Lang Ya Blessed Land had no seas. But now, look at this vast ocean, the huge landmass has been reduced to 3 continents. This is the effect of a huge number of water path Tao marks. Fang Yuan heard of this and thought about spectral soul using the myriad tribulations to refine the sovereign immortal fetus GU. This killer move, Immortal Tribulation Tempering Aperture, is very similar in concept to Spectral Soul's method. No, Shadow Sect had spies inside Lang Ya Blessed Land, maybe Spectral Soul's method originated from Immortal Tribulation Tempering Aperture. Fang Yuan guessed correctly. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's method was derived from the killer move Immortal Tribulation Tempering Aperture. But his methods were more refined. He used Wisdom Path to deduce the type of tribulations before making additional preparations. It was not like this Immortal Tribulation Tempering Aperture, it could only influence calamities and tribulations, there was a chance of failure. In the calamities and tribulations that Lang Ya Blessed Land went through, There were also fire path and lightning path tribulations, not all were water path and refinement path. Alright, you have Luopo Valley, Danghun Mountain, and Wisdom GU, I also have 3 true inheritances, we can do a one-to-one trade, which one do you want to exchange for? Lang Ya Land Spirit asked. This time, it was Fang Yuan's turn to decide. What should he choose? Chapter 1052, listed on the board, Heavenly Court's Pursuit. Central Continent, Hu Immortal Blessed Land. Fairy Ziwei slowly opened her eyes. She was adorned in a beautiful purple robe which could hardly conceal her graceful figure. Her eyes were like deep dark pools, with a sense of sorrow shrouding her face. Her skin was white as snow and her black hair hung down to her waist, her whole body was brimming with rank 8 aura. Letting out a breath, she withdrew her wisdom path killer move and descended from the air. Greetings to Ancestor Ziwei. On the ground, Feng Jinhuang, who had been waiting for a long time, quickly knelt down on the ground respectfully when she saw Fairy Ziwei. The corners of Fairy Ziwei's lips slightly curled up as she revealed a rare smile, the sadness on her face immediately faded and she seemed to blossom with radiance, giving off an immortal beauty that could move people's souls. Huang get up, no need to stand on ceremony. Speaking of it, your mother and I have some blood relation. From the looks of it, she was extremely pleased with this junior Feng Jinhuang. Feng Jinhuang stood up with a reverential and admiring expression. The person in front of her was a rank 8 GU immortal. In Feng Jinhuang's mind, she did not dare to have extravagant hopes regarding the rank 9 realm, rank 8 was her lifelong dream. This Fairy Ziwei in front of her originated from Spirit Affinity House, and had extremely high seniority in the sect. She had lived for at least 1,600 years, she cultivated Wisdom Path and had joined Heavenly Court. She was dignified and beautiful, and it could be said she was everything Feng Jinhuang admired and was a realistic reference for the latter's ideal goal. Ancestor Ziwei, you have been deducing for 3 months in Hu Immortal Blessed Land, did you find anything? Feng Jinhuang asked in curiosity. Fairy Ziwei gave a slight nod. At this moment, she had already descended in front of Feng Jinhuang and was only a foot away from the ground, slowly floating in the air. This was part of her personality, she had somewhat of an obsession towards cleanliness. It was not necessary for her to speak about this to Feng Jinhuang, but Fairy Ziwei still replied. After these days of deductions, I am certain the original owner of Hu Immortal Blessed Land, Hu Immortal, was a member of the organization Defy. Defy, Feng Jinhuang's pupils shrank in surprise. She might be immortal but with parents who were famous GU immortals, she was aware of many secrets. She had heard of this organization named Defy, it was a powerful undercover force of Central Continent, made from the secret alliance of some GU immortals. The 10 great ancient sects of Central Continent held the vast majority of resources and authority, controlling and suppressing other forces or lone cultivators. Where there was suppression, there would be rebellion. Organized forces rebelling against Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects were not few in number. However, these forces usually did not last for long as they were either taken down by the 10 great ancient sects or they disintegrated by themselves through internal discord. However, this organization, Defy, was greatly hidden and was the force that had lasted the longest. It was not that the 10 great ancient sects had not targeted them, but there had been no effect. Most importantly, this organization was hidden truly deeply. Even the members of the organization did not know the identities of other members and only used code names in numbers to address each other. Right now, Feng Jinhuang suddenly heard Hu Immortal had been a member of Defy, she was truly surprised. On the surface, Hu Immortal was a lone immortal, and she obtained Danghun Mountain through fortuitous encounters and coincidence. Looking over it now, Defy was helping her from behind the scenes. Fairy Ziwei continued. Feng Jinhuang's eyes flashed, she recalled the scene when she was miserably defeated and under Fang Yuan's feet, guessing, does that mean Fang Yuan is also a member of Defy? No wonder he appeared back then so coincidentally. Fairy Ziwei, however, frowned slightly. I attempted to deduce this, the result seems to be uncertain. But no matter what, Fang Yuan must have a deep connection with Defy. Huang you have been avoiding contact with Hu Immortal Land Spirit and haven't become the true owner of this blessed land, are you thinking of returning this blessed land to Fang Yuan? Ancestor Ziwei, cold sweat seeped out of Feng Jinhuang's forehead. Fairy Ziwei smiled and reassured, we are family, you don't need to worry. I know Fang Yuan undoubtedly saved Feng Juzhe. Your father has stunning talents and is astonishingly gifted, he is someone who will leave a deep mark in history, what's more, he repays kindness and hatred, he is loyal and righteous. I understand why he requested this of you. Feng Jinhuang quickly said, Ancestor Ziwei, you are magnanimous. Fairy Ziwei waved her hand, stopping Feng Jinhuang's words, speaking in a slightly meaningful tone. But you need to remember, Feng Yuan is a wanted criminal listed on the Demon Judgment Board by Heavenly Court. Should you want to repay his kindness, you should not overdo it. In the future, I won't stop you if you truly want to return Immortal blessed land to him. I can even take responsibility for this. But that will be my bottom line. I hope that you two will not become too persistent and commit a huge mistake. Feng Jinhuang lowered her head. I shall engrave your words in mind, ancestor. Fairy Ziwei gave a slight nod before lightly flying to the sky. As she flew, a gap opened up in Immortal blessed land which connected to the outside world. She then turned into a purple ray of light that flew out like a meteor, disappearing from Feng Jinhuang's sight in an instant. Fairy Ziwei flew straight to Heavenly Court. In Heavenly Court, halls stood tall and upright everywhere. The purple ray of light Fairy Ziwei had turned into cut through the air and entered a large hall. Inside the hall, Fairy Ziwei's main body was sitting cross-legged on a mat, discussing with two other Heavenly Court GU Immortals. The purple light flickered as it landed on her hand. It turned into a will, several Immortal GU and a few beads of Immortal essence. The Fairy Ziwei, who had been at Immortal blessed land, was merely a will of the main body. This will send the results of the deductions to Fairy Ziwei's mind. Fairy Ziwei stored the Immortal GU and Immortal essence into her Immortal aperture. She closed her eyes and went through the deduction results. Several breaths of time later, she opened her deep, dark eyes and lightly said, "We have already found clues to Feng Yuan." An old GU Immortal sitting in front of her, who was known as Myriad Tidal Dragon, smiled. Fairy Ziwei, you live up to your reputation of being a wisdom path great expert on the same level as Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord. You actually are able to use a will to deduce the crucial clues. The more a will thinks, the more it is consumed. Even Giant Sun Immortal Venerable Special Will left in 88 Truyong building had to hibernate to prevent expending itself due to thinking. Fairy Ziwei's method, however, was mysterious and powerful. She used only a will to deduce, and not only did she succeed, that portion of will was not consumed by even 20%. Such an attainment was truly awe-inspiring. Fairy Ziwei's main body had a slightly sorrowful expression. She did not comment on Myriad Tidal Dragon's praise, continuing, if Feng Yuan had not already been managing Immortal blessed land for some time, I would not have been able to deduce any clues. Feng Yuan has a close connection to Defy. Although I was not able to obtain Feng Yuan's exact location, I know as long as we follow the clues and eliminate the core aspects of Defy, we will be able to find Feng Yuan. Myriad Tidal Dragon nodded. Feng Yuan has Spring-Autumn Cicada. He destroyed Imperial Court blessed land and has obtained inheritances of Red Lotus Demon Venerable, Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. He is also an otherworldly demon, and was actually able to survive the battle in southern border. Such a dangerous variable must be eliminated. But if we want to deal with him, we must first deal with Spring-Autumn Cicada. You can rest assured about this. After I woke up, I immediately made some preparations. I already successfully activated a killer move several days ago and have sealed Spring-Autumn Cicada. It won't be able to activate within 3 months of time. The third GU Immortal present in the hall spoke. His voice was hoarse. He had a middle-aged appearance with dark bags under his eyes and looked listless, giving others an impression of extreme fatigue. However, Fairy Ziwei and Myriad Tidal Dragon seemed to have confidence in him. The latter smiled. Since you, Wei Ling Yang, have made the move, then Spring-Autumn Cicada is of no concern. Fairy Ziwei spoke. Then we shall go to Mingtang Valley to capture Gong Sun Liang. At the same time, in Central Continent, at the banks of Pot River, Ying Wuxie was standing at the riverbank, looking at the green willows and feeling the gentle breeze. However, he was feeling erratic inside. After detouring around the collapsed area in Earth Abyss, he, along with Tai Bai Yun Shang, Heilu Lan and Shi Nu had moved quite a distance before he could use a GU formation to transport them to the eastern part of Central Continent. This area was under the jurisdiction of Wind Cloud Manor. Ying Wuxie had Feng Yuan's body and as such, was a criminal wanted by Heavenly Court and Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects. However, he still risked staying here and even had been staying here for 3 days. He was waiting for a person. Which person was worth him taking such a huge risk? A green shadow approached them while flying at low altitude. Ying Wuxie's mind jolted. He went to welcome the person. The green shadow landed on the ground and halted. It was not a real person but a puppet. This puppet had a human figure with 2 hands and 2 legs. Its body was also robust. But its whole body seemed to be knitted with green grass and rough vines. Its head, shoulders and even its rear had green grass growing all over them, all spiking up like knives. The green grass puppet looked at the Gu worm in Ying Wuxia's hand and recognizing he was its objective, it hummed with a haughty tone, "My master was invited to participate in Ancestor Kong Kong's treasure appraisal event, so he could not come. If you want to see him, you will have to wait 3 more days." Wait for 3 more days? Ying Wuxia's expression slightly changed. What? If you don't have the patience, you don't need to wait, I will quickly go back to inform master. The green grass puppet spoke indifferently. I will wait. Ying Wuxia hurriedly smiled, I have already waited for 3 days, there is no harm in waiting 3 more days. It is just that 3 days later, it will be a whole 6 days. If I somehow am still unable to see your master, then I can only give up on this transaction. The green grass puppet snorted before turning around and leaving. Several steps later, it lightly stomped on the ground, leaping to the air and turning once again into a green shadow. After he left, Ying Wuxia's expression immediately sank, his gaze flickering incessantly as he gazed at the receding figure of the green grass puppet. When the green puppet's shadow was out of Ying Wuxia's vision, 3 Gu immortals appeared from the surroundings, gathering towards Ying Wuxia. They were Tai Bai Yunsheng, He Lu Lan and Shi Nu. That green grass puppet just now, is it the rumored grass puppet avatar? Tai Bai Yunsheng asked in curiosity. Right, Ying Wuxia nodded, it is a grass puppet avatar, formed from the rank 6 grass puppet Gu with rank 6 battle strength. When Feng Chanzi ascended to Immortal, his grandfather, Old Man Bei Feng, gave this grass puppet Immortal Gu to him as a gift. Feng Chanzi is wildly arrogant, we waited so long for him and he isn't even coming to meet us. He only sent a grass puppet avatar to meet us. He Lu Lan was dissatisfied. Shi Nu sighed, saying helplessly, to refine fixed immortal travel, we must have the light of the immemorial era, all Gu recipes of fixed immortal travel revolves around this critical material. And the light of the immemorial era, such a rare Gu refinement material, is one of the treasures of Wind Cloud Manor. We have no choice but to put up with them. Ying Wuxia coldly snorted, but did not speak. He wanted to rescue his main body, and to do that, he had to pass the regional wall. He was not like Fang Yuan, so fixed immortal travel was almost a necessary Gu to pass the regional wall. Right now, he could only endure it. He inwardly thought, Spring-Autumn Cicada has already been sealed, it seems Heavenly Court has begun to investigate me. I can't stay for long in Central Continent, after I refine fixed immortal travel, I need to hurry to Northern Plains and borrow luck from Longevity Heaven. Perhaps I can even make use of the power to conveniently get rid of Fang Yuan. No, considering the time, tomorrow should be the day Fang Yuan has his earthly calamity. The earthly calamity of Sovereign Immortal Aperture won't be easy to pass. Heaven's will cannot affect Fang Yuan, but can still make arrangements to deal with him. Most likely, not only will there be calamities and tribulations, there could also be human disasters. Chapter 1053, Fang Yuan undergoes tribulation, 1/5. To think that I am back here again. Fang Yuan sighed internally, he stopped flying as he descended from the sky. All he saw was white. An icy land filled with snow. Huff huff huff, harsh winds blew around him. In this intense wind, countless snowflakes and even icicles were flying around. Because of the blizzard, Fang Yuan's vision was greatly hindered. Because the temperature was very low, Fang Yuan had to use many Gu worms to maintain his body temperature to defend himself from the cold winds. This was still Northern Plains. But the location was at the northernmost end of Northern Plains, it was known to people as the Northern Icy Plain. This place originally had a grassland, but because of a devastating battle by experts, the entire terrain was completely destroyed, turning into a void of complete nothingness. After the battle, the victor, reckless savage demon Venerable, turned into an immemorial desolate beast ice phoenix and breathed out absolute profound ice to freeze and restore this place. Earlier, He Lu Lan chose this place to undergo her immortal ascension and become an immortal. That was because the icy plane had reckless savage demon Venerable's true meaning in strength path and transformation path. When strength path or transformation path Gu masters ascend here, there would be a resonance of Tao marks, the strength path and transformation path true meaning would manifest using the earthly calamity. When the person undergoing tribulation destroys the earthly calamity, they would receive the infusion of true meaning, it was the same as receiving reckless savage demon Venerable's guidance. Memories flashed in Fang Yuan's mind. The image was so vivid, like it was yesterday. But now, times were different. Fairy Li Shan, who had the highest cultivation level, was dead. He Lu Lan and Tai Bai Yunsheng had likely been forced to betray him, only Fang Yuan was left now. His situation was very different from back then as well. Strength path and transformation path GU masters can only receive reckless savage demon venerables infusion of true meaning once, that is during their immortal ascension. But now, with the killer move Immortal Tribulation Tempering Aperture, I might be able to replicate it again. Fang Yuan thought. He had not done anything like this before, he was not very certain. But after talking with Lang Ya Land Spirit, he realized that there was a high possibility of success. He Lu Lan had the great strength true martial physique. During her immortal ascension, the danger was huge, she lost her immortal GU to barely pass it. My immortal aperture's calamity is probably far more terrifying than hers. Fang Yuan felt immense pressure. If not for the situation, he would not want to undergo tribulation so early. Although once in a while, calamities and tribulations would occur in the immortal aperture, GU immortals had many methods to deal with them. The most common were time path methods to delay the rate of time of the immortal aperture, to stall the arrival of the calamities and tribulations. But this way, the resources inside the immortal aperture would greatly diminish in production. The gains and losses had to be assessed according to the GU immortal's situation. Lang Ya Blessed Land had once used time path methods and modified the tributary of the river of time in the immortal aperture, thus, the time in the immortal aperture was greatly slowed. But this method was not from Lang Ya Land Spirit. In the past, Long Hair Ancestor had requested the help of a time path great expert. I have too large of a tributary of the river of time in this immortal aperture, I have to undergo tribulation every 2 months in the outside world. Even though my cultivation level rises quickly, and the resources in the immortal aperture grow rapidly, if I cannot endure the calamities and tribulations and die, it would be for nothing. After this calamity, I need to find some time path methods to modify the tributary of the river of time in my immortal aperture. These were all matters for the future, the important thing now was the impending calamity. Huff. Fang Yuan let out a breath as his body shook, a mystical change was occurring in his immortal aperture. Immortal aperture, fall here. Fang Yuan gritted his teeth, a mystical light shone in his eyes. Following a loud sound, his vision changed, taking a glance, he was already inside his immortal aperture. 5 regions, 9 heavens. It was vast and empty. There were no cultivation resources, because Fang Yuan had not started managing it yet. Only all sorts of GU worms were placed in here. At this moment, these GU worms were flying around Fang Yuan, they were huge in quantity, resembling a giant black cloud. Normally speaking, the immortal aperture was inside the GU immortal's body. But now, the immortal aperture was placed in the outside world, and the GU immortal's body was drawn inside. At this moment, the situation with Fang Yuan's body was like that of a land spirit, he could move freely inside the immortal aperture, but he could not leave. And the immortal aperture itself could connect to the heaven and earth chi outside and stabilize itself. When GU immortals undergo tribulation, they would normally place their immortal apertures in the outside world. There was another situation, that was when GU immortals' immortal aperture had too many resources. If the heaven and earth chi inside were too limited in quantity, they would need to place the immortal aperture to take in and replenish the heaven and earth chi. On the spot that Fang Yuan was originally standing, he had already disappeared. The immortal aperture was placed on the ice and entered a point in space, it could not be seen as it was linked to the empty space. The blizzard was still blowing. There were no changes, as if Fang Yuan had never come. Everything was as per normal. But at the next moment, when Fang Yuan opened the entrance of the immortal aperture, everything changed. In an instant, the entire surroundings rumbled, the glaciers shook, endless heaven and earth chi rushed into the immortal aperture through the entrance. Soon, a vast amount of heaven and earth chi engulfed the place. Blizzards and hail were converted into pure heaven and earth chi. The entrance of the immortal aperture was connected to the outside world. By opening it, Fang Yuan's immortal aperture started to connect to the outside world, drawing in heaven and earth chi continuously. It was like a giant monster lurking in the sea, emerging out of the water and opening its mouth to suck in air. The vast amount of heaven and earth chi rushed in, causing a tremor in the entire immortal aperture, but the magnitude was so small normal people could not notice it. At the same time, the tributary of the river of time started to fuse with the river of time of the outside world. The rate of time of the immortal aperture thus slowed greatly. When immortal apertures were placed outside, the rate of time inside would greatly decrease, converging towards the 5 regions time. Lang Ya Blessed Land itself was modified by a time path GU immortal, and was also placed in the 5 regions. The rate of time inside was very close to that of the 5 regions. Many GU immortals would also choose to place their immortal apertures outside and hide inside the immortal aperture in consideration of their lifespan. Out of nowhere, a sensation informed Fang Yuan that the calamity was coming. But because the immortal aperture was placed outside and time slowed down, Fang Yuan could clearly sense that the calamity was approaching at a slower rate. This was normal. Every GU immortals would feel this whenever they had calamities and tribulations. It was like the premonition of an earthquake, animals would growl and go berserk, it was the signifying of an apocalypse. Heaven and earth chi continued to gush in at a slower rate, the waterfall at the start had become a large river, in just a short while, it turned into a stream. The appetite of the immortal aperture was limited. Fang Yuan was calm, he had rich experience, after seeing the heaven and earth chi, he started to organize his GU worms. Most of the GU worms in the immortal aperture had already been arranged, the important thing was regarding the outside world. A vast number of GU worms flew outside of the entrance like swarms of bees. Even though Fang Yuan could not leave, the GU worms could. Next, he controlled the GU worms and set up arrangements. In a few minutes, the arrangements were completed. Fang Yuan did not hesitate as he injected his immortal essence, activating the GU worms. Immortal GU flew up one by one, shining with bright lights while floating in the sky. The lights weaved together, eventually resonating with the GU worms in the outside world. Finally, a huge blue-colored image was formed, it engulfed the immortal aperture and even expanded into the outside world, covering a huge surrounding area of the icy plane. Immortal killer move, immortal tribulation tempering aperture. Large amounts of immortal essence were expended, over 10,000 were used, but it was just the start. The core immortal GU of this killer move were mostly rank 7, Fang Yuan's green grape immortal essence were consumed rapidly. Thankfully, he had already obtained a large amount of immortal essence stones from Langya land spirit, he even borrowed heavenly essence treasure Imperial Lotus. 15 minutes later, the killer move was completed, and Fang Yuan's immortal essence was consumed by 60%. This expenditure has greatly exceeded the number that Langya land spirit said. But he also mentioned that the expenditure was dependent on the immortal aperture's world itself, changing accordingly. Before undergoing the tribulation, Fang Yuan had already consumed more than half of his immortal essence. However, he had already negotiated with Langya land spirit, he could rapidly borrow immortal essence stones if needed. In this tribulation, Langya blessed land was Fang Yuan's greatest backer. But it was inappropriate to borrow now, Langya land spirit would feel suspicious. They had already prepared enough moving perspective cup GU to transport things during the tribulation. As for what the calamity would be, it was unknown. He felt that the calamity was close. Fang Yuan collected his GU worms, he closed the entrance and waited in the immortal aperture patiently. During this period, he checked his GU worms again. An hour later, the calamity descended. The immortal aperture started to shake, heaven and earth chi appeared from every direction. This was the heaven and earth chi inside the immortal aperture, in an instant, heaven and earth chi clashed as a blizzard formed. Snow was moving wildly as fierce winds flew, in an instant, the immortal aperture turned into an icy world. Fang Yuan saw this and was overjoyed. Did the immortal tribulation tempering aperture method work? Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The blizzard rampaged in the immortal aperture, snow monsters formed in the blizzard one after another. Snow monster calamity. Slash. Fang Yuan muttered internally, floating in the air as GU worms flew around him, forming a defensive barrier, he shot out flying sword immortal GU. Swoosh. Flying sword GU pierced through a snow monster's head, coming out from the back. In an instant, it flew back to Fang Yuan. The snow monster cried out, the injuries in its head healed on its own as it continued to charge at Fang Yuan. Snow monsters were like mud monsters and cloud beasts, if their core was not destroyed, they were hard to kill, all of these were problematic opponents. Flying sword GU alone could not be effective. But what I am using now is a sword path killer move. Fang Yuan smiled coldly. The snow monster ran for a few steps before growling, its core had been destroyed, as if its bones had melted, the snow monster broke down and became a pile of snow. Sword path killer move, sword marks targeting death. Chapter 1054, Fang Yuan undergoes tribulation 2/5. Fang Yuan was someone who learned from his mistakes. While traveling to northern plains, he encountered the mud monster and cloud beasts, suffering great losses because of them. Now that he was undergoing tribulation, how could he not fix this weakness? Speaking of which, there was a complicated story behind the immortal killer move sword marks targeting death. When Fang Yuan entered Langya blessed land, he healed himself while seeking help from Langya land spirit to reverse refine flying sword immortal GU and the other rank 7 immortal GU. He was a rank 6 GU immortal now, it was very hard for him to use rank 7 immortal GU. Langya land spirit was very straightforward, because Fang Yuan was a member of Langya sect, as an external supreme elder, he was one of them, he gave good advice. I can obviously reverse refine these immortal GU. And to reverse refine them from rank 7 to rank 6 will be much easier than promoting them to rank 7 from rank 6. But don't you find it a waste? Most importantly, reverse refinement would take quite some time, your tribulation is nearing, there is little time. If you start the reverse refinement now, it will not be done in time. You might as well use this killer move. Langya land spirit said this as he handed the killer move, sword marks targeting death, to Fang Yuan. You are very lucky, this killer move was bought by my previous self, it is suitable for many sword path immortal GU to use. Fang Yuan felt strange when he heard that. Long hair ancestor was purely a refinement path GU immortal, why would the land spirit purchase a sword path killer move that he could not use? But after looking at it, he understood why. As it turned out, sword marks targeting death was a killer move that permanently expended the Dao marks in the sword path immortal GU to carve them on the target. After the sword path immortal GU flies away, the sword path Dao marks would find the target's weak spot and attack it. Like earlier, Fang Yuan used Flying Sword Immortal GU as the core to use sword marks targeting death and pierce the Desolate Beast Snow Monster. This attack was not fatal, the wound caused by the Immortal GU healed quickly. But the Dao marks it left behind were still in the Snow Monster's body, it attacked its hidden core and once broken, the Snow Monster suffered a fatal blow and died. This way, Flying Sword Immortal GU could kill targets like Snow Monsters, it no longer worked with little effect against these enemies. But this killer move had a huge drawback. That was the permanent expenditure of the Immortal Gu's Dao marks. Immortal GU were large fragments of the Great Dao, the product of countless Dao marks. The higher the rank of the Immortal GU, the larger the fragment of the Great Dao, and the higher the number of Dao marks. The more sword marks targeting death was used, the fewer the Dao marks in the sword path Immortal GU, they could not be recovered. This way, the Immortal GU would get weaker and weaker. At a certain point, a qualitative change would occur, and the rank 6 Immortal GU would turn back into Immortal GU, or the rank 7 Immortal GU would become a rank 6. This weakness was severe, it made sword marks targeting death an unfavored killer move. The previous Langya land spirit bought this killer move for a low price because he was interested in the killer move itself. In fact, every usage of the sword path killer move sword marks targeting death was akin to reverse refining the Immortal GU. Except that the reverse refinement was very minute, a large number of usages were needed to produce a clear effect. Once Fang Yuan understood this, he knew why Langya land spirit had bought this killer move. The previous Langya land spirit's favorite interest was to refine GU. Fang Yuan thought over it and accepted this sword path killer move. Without question, this killer move was extremely suitable for him now. Winds howled as snow blew around. Sword light entered the blizzard could not block the sharp sword light, it was easily pierced. The sword light drew a beautiful arc in the sky, it hit a desolate beast snow monster's chest, before flying out from its back, turning around and flying back to Fang Yuan. The injuries healed quickly, the desolate beast snow monster laughed, it was about to move when its body scattered, turning into a pile of snow. In a breath's time, dozens of small snow monsters came out of this pile. But these snow monsters were only 10 or 20 feet tall, they were not a problem. Another sword marks targeting death. This move was very effective, desolate beast snow monsters were destroyed in just one hit. Fang Yuan nodded in satisfaction. At this point, he finally experienced one of the advantages of sword path. When GU masters cultivate, they use GU, nurture GU, and refine GU, these are extremely profound and deep. It is still Flying Sword Immortal GU, but I changed the method of usage and received an incredibly different result. Again. Fang Yuan used sword marks targeting death again. In the blizzard, desolate beast snow monsters formed again, but they were quickly killed by Fang Yuan. The strength of the snow monsters were related to their size. 10 or 20 feet tall snow monsters could be dealt with by rank 1 or 2 GU masters. 60 feet tall snow monsters were desolate beasts, they were on par with rank 6 GU immortals. 70 feet tall snow monsters were equal to rank 7 GU immortals. These 60 feet tall snow monsters were all killed by Fang Yuan, they were easy targets. Fang Yuan's battle strength was raised greatly, back then in Hu Immortal Blessed Land, he had so much trouble facing the swamp crab, but now against an endless number of snow monsters, he could fight calmly and control the situation. But Fang Yuan did not relax, he was staying vigilant. I am having an easy time because I am using the rank 7 flying sword Immortal GU to deal with desolate beast snow monsters, and also because sword marks targeting death is a powerful move that consumes Dao marks. Furthermore, the swamp crab had brought over Gruel Mud Immortal Gu's effect with it, while these snow monsters have no such Immortal GU. Fang Yuan's expression focused. He observed closely. After those desolate beast snow monsters died, the new, small snow monsters that were formed were growing in size. 10 feet to 20 feet, 20 feet to 30 feet. These snow monsters were growing stronger. If they are allowed to continue growing, would they become 60 feet desolate beast snow monsters? Fang Yuan did not dare to be careless. He stopped using flying sword Immortal GU. As he waved his hands, countless dark vortexes flew out. Bam bam bam. These black bullets rained down like a storm. The snow monsters were instantly faced with a disaster. Countless numbers died. But soon, from these smaller snow monsters, corpses, more of them spawned. Fang Yuan killed dozens of snow monsters, but over 100 came back up. Fang Yuan saw this and frowned. He felt troubled. But he observed carefully. Although the snow monsters that came back were high in numbers, they were much smaller now. Fang Yuan had a guess. At his will, thousands of green wind blades flew out around his body, shooting out. The wind blades arrived like a huge net, engulfing the countless snow monsters on the ground. The desolate beast snow monsters were intact, but the small snow monsters were sliced into pieces. At once, marks from the blades were on the ground as snow splattered. Fang Yuan activated his investigative GU. His eyes shined brightly as he observed the battlefield. As expected, once 10 feet tall snow monsters die, they cannot produce more snow monsters. After confirming his guess, he relaxed slightly. Soon after, he had a flash of inspiration. Is this because of the blizzard? Splitting his focus, he activated over 100 mortal GU in a few breaths' time. A domain of darkness formed from under his feet, creating a dark veil. This was GU Immortal He Cheng's battlefield killer move, Dark Veil. The Immortal Aperture could not normally have battlefield killer moves inside. This was because battlefield killer moves had Dao marks. They changed the environment, they clashed with the Immortal Aperture's own Dao marks and would result in damage. But the battlefield killer moves here referred to Immortal battlefield killer moves. Fang Yuan's Dark Veil was mortal level, it was not problematic. He also had Shui Songzi's mortal battlefield killer move, Snow Domain, but if he used it, it would increase the strength of the snow monsters. It was inappropriate. Once Dark Veil was used, the surrounding blizzard weakened. As expected, the small snow monsters started growing at a slower speed. But this did not last. The blizzard seemed to have been enraged. It rampaged more fiercely. As the snow moved rapidly, Dark Veil was being compressed. It shrunk to Fang Yuan's feet before completely collapsing with a loud sound. Only 20% of the 100 GU worms that made up Dark Veil survived. They were retrieved by Fang Yuan. Desolate beast snow monsters appear continuously, and small snow monsters appear from their corpses. They would also become stronger at an unthinkable speed due to the blizzard. It is counterproductive to try and isolate the blizzard. Now it seems, I can only get rid of the small snow monsters as well as the desolate beast snow monsters, Fang Yuan concluded. He did not guess wrongly. This calamity was very powerful. This was only Sovereign Immortal Aperture's first calamity, but it had greatly exceeded who Immortal Blessed Land's 5th Blue Charm Lightning Shadow, 6th Swamp Crab, and 7th Blood Poison Carry of Flowers earthly calamities. His immortal essence was continuously expended. As he concentrated deeply, his mind was feeling fatigue. But Fang Yuan was also getting more familiar with using the killer move sword marks targeting death. Time passed. The heaven and earth chi in the Immortal Aperture continued to rumble. The blizzard formed also was growing immensely. Fang Yuan's expression was grim. He noticed that this earthly calamity was not only huge, it was going to last a long time. It was far stronger than the 10 great catastrophes. Desolate beast snow monsters continued to increase in numbers. Fang Yuan's sword marks targeting death could no longer kill them quickly enough. The newly formed small snow monsters were large in numbers. Fang Yuan had to use mortal killer moves to kill them. He was handling both matters at the same time. It was hard to manage them. Thankfully, these snow monsters cannot fly. I occupy the high ground. Even though I need to deal with the blizzard, the initiative is still with me. The moment this thought flashed in Fang Yuan's mind, the loud screech of an eagle entered Fang Yuan's ears. Fang Yuan raised his head and his expression turned dark. This was bad. In the blizzard, iron crown eagles made from snow were forming. An eagle flapped its wings, charging at Fang Yuan with a ferocious aura. Fang Yuan quickly turned around, using sword marks targeting death to deal with the eagle. But in a short time, 3 more iron crown eagles formed, flying in the air, encircling him. His pressure increased, danger was approaching. Chapter 1055, Fang Yuan undergoes tribulation, 3/5. 3 iron crown eagles charged at Fang Yuan. Sword marks targeting death. Fang Yuan internally gasped, to think that at the crucial moment, this had happened. As the activation of the killer move failed, the backlash caused blood to flow down from the corner of his mouth. After all, he had owned this sword path killer move for too short of a time. In an emergency, when he was not focused, the failure rate of activation would surge. An eagle screech resounded, it could burst eardrums. The iron crown eagle in front of him pounced. Fang Yuan quickly dodged, a phantom image behind him flickered as light illusion bat wings appeared, dodging the eagle's attack. But the shield of wind around him was already broken, the iron crown eagle's claws tore through it in a moment. Fang Yuan squinted, he decided to use sword marks targeting death again, and he succeeded. The sword light was extremely sharp, it easily pierced the iron crown eagle's back, and continued to shoot out. Suddenly, cold winds blew behind him as Fang Yuan's heart skipped a beat. He had no time to think further, he used sword escape Immortal Gu immediately. Swoosh, he shot out like an arrow, piercing the sky. By rising in altitude, he narrowly avoided the attack of the iron crown eagle behind him. He temporarily escaped danger. Fang Yuan stopped using sword escape. Sword escape Immortal Gu flew straight, it was extremely fast. Fang Yuan flew into the sky and was more than 10 li away from the iron crown eagle. Letting out a breath, Fang Yuan's heartbeat returned to normal. After regaining his composure, he willed and summoned Flying Sword Immortal Gu. Earlier, he could not recall Flying Sword as it had flown away after piercing the iron crown eagle. There was more than 10 breaths of time needed for it to return to Fang Yuan. As for the iron crown eagle which got pierced, it cried out pitifully as it crashed towards the ground. Before landing on the ground, its entire body turned into a big mushy pile of snow and ice, scattering. The remaining 2 iron crown eagles charged to kill Fang Yuan from left and right respectively, as the blizzard roared. Fang Yuan was unwilling to face them head-on, he used sword escape and retreated. Even though his body was superb, it was not as tough as his immortal zombie body. Sword path was good in offense while weak in defense. Sword escape Immortal Gu allowed Fang Yuan to fly like an arrow, tearing through the sky as he pulled away from the iron crown eagles. The effect was immediate. Even Flying Sword Immortal Gu was not as fast as Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan flew in a circle in the sky before converging with Flying Sword Immortal Gu, retrieving it. Fang Yuan held Flying Sword Immortal Gu in his hand as he injected immortal essence into it. At the same time, he mobilized his Gu worms and activated more than 100 supplementary Gu worms. A profound light was created as it entered Flying Sword Immortal Gu. The 2 iron crown eagles were coincidentally chasing him with one in front of the other. Fang Yuan stretched out his fingers, he felt a small tremor in his hand as Flying Sword Gu flew out. It turned into an astonishing sword light, it seemed to have the power to pierce the universe. Flying Sword Immortal Gu and the iron crown eagles rapidly approached each other. In the blink of the eye, Flying Sword Immortal Gu flew through the first iron crown eagle and proceeded to pierce the second one without any loss in momentum. 2 birds with 1 stone. The iron crown eagle in front flew for a moment before breaking apart. The one behind was still intact, it continued to fly towards Fang Yuan, as if it had an immense grudge against him. Fang Yuan was about to take back Flying Sword Immortal Gu when his mind shuddered. Out of nowhere, a burst of true meaning was entering his mind. Fang Yuan's brows raised, he could not conceal his joy. This is Reckless Savage's infusion of true meaning. It seems that my original guess was not wrong, it succeeded. Fang Yuan was purposely undergoing tribulation in the icy plane, it was for the true meaning of Reckless Savage. Because in historical records, when Strength Path and Transformation Path Gu Masters undergo tribulation in the icy plane, they would receive an infusion of Reckless Savage's true meaning, obtaining a growth in their attainment levels. But this gift was only for Gu Masters when they ascended to Immortal. After the Gu Master becomes an Immortal, the calamities and tribulations happen in their immortal apertures, they would not receive any infusion of true meaning. But after Fang Yuan obtained the killer move Immortal Tribulation Tempering Aperture, he wondered if this killer move would be able to cause the infusion of true meaning. Earlier, when he killed the desolate beast snow monsters and small snow monsters, he did not receive any infusion of true meaning, he thought he was wrong. But after killing the Iron Crown Eagle, there seemed to be an infusion of true meaning, although it was a dangerous situation, he could not confirm it. Now, he could finally feel the infusion of true meaning. A sense of understanding arose in him. He seemed to have turned into an iron crown eagle, from birth, until its first flight, and until it soared the skies. He felt its wings flapping strongly, they had great strength. He clenched his fists like two claws of an iron crown eagle. He looked around, being able to see up to a gigantic distance away. His strength path and transformation path attainment levels were rising. And his flying attainment level was also rising slightly. The infusion of true meaning was like the guidance of reckless savage demon Venerable, without any withheld information. Undeniably, the rise of attainment levels gave great benefits in all aspects. If he trained normally, his attainment level might rise after decades or centuries. Other than dream realms, only something like the infusion of reckless savage's true meaning here could raise the attainment level of someone so easily. In fact, dream realms themselves are the manifestations of emotions, obsessions and desires. They are the remains of countless wills. Once one succeeds in exploring a dream realm, their attainment level would rise. It is the same as breaking free from the obstruction of emotions in the dream realm. Without losing oneself, one could extract true meaning from these scattered memories and gain a growth in attainment level. Everything, in essence, is still true meaning infusion. Fang Yuan's eyes flashed with bright light. The iron crown eagle approached, but Fang Yuan easily dodged it. There was only one iron crown eagle left. Fang Yuan created some distance from it and used sword marks targeting death to kill it without any mishaps. Looking over his immortal essence, there was still some left. Even though he used multiple sword path killer moves and rank 7 immortal GU, Fang Yuan was well prepared. He was not as desperate as the time he was traveling. He had not borrowed from Langya land spirit yet. Most of his resources were in fact spent on the killer move Immortal Tribulation Tempering Aperture. There were no enemies in the sky now. Fang Yuan looked at the ground. The snow monsters stood on the ground, raising their heads and growling at him. The number is higher now. Fang Yuan frowned. At the next moment, countless green wind blades and dark vortexes appeared out of nowhere, shooting down. Like surging waves of a river, he unleashed a terrifying attack that covered the entire area, engulfing all of the snow monsters. Boom boom boom. Explosions occurred continuously. After dozens of breaths of time, Fang Yuan stopped attacking. The huge number of snow monsters had decreased innumerably. The ground had a lot of empty space now. Only the desolate beast snow monsters were still around, like dozens of huge pillars. He had only used mortal methods. They were not threatened by them. Huff huff huff. Small sounds were produced, completely covered by the raging blizzard. More small snow monsters emerged from the snow. It has only been such a short time, but these snow monsters are still persisting. Fang Yuan felt this was quite a headache. He could only use sword marks targeting death to kill the desolate beast snow monsters quickly. At the same time, he used mortal methods to kill the uncountable number of small snow monsters. What made him feel strange was, no matter how many snow monsters he killed, be it desolate beasts or not, he received no true meaning of reckless savage. This earthly calamity is very strange. There aren't records of it in history. But at its current strength, it has already surpassed Heilulan's ascension. At this time, spirals formed in the blizzard, as a change occurred. Cranes flew out of the spirals. These cranes had pure white and clean feathers. They were graceful and had beautiful cries. They were desolate beast 9 palace cranes. Fang Yuan licked his lips. He charged forward with bloodthirsty intent. After killing one, there was indeed an infusion of true meaning infusion. Fang Yuan felt very excited. His eyes were shining brightly. Snow descended, wild winds blew. Fang Yuan engaged in combat with these 9 palace cranes. He moved around rapidly in all directions. He could maneuver agilely as he flew up and down. At first, he fought alone against many enemies. He was pushed back and fell into a passive position. But after killing a few 9 palace cranes, he had more space to move around. He could retreat and advance more easily. As his gains increased, he started to gain control of the situation. He had an easier time. 9 of these 9 palace cranes had appeared this time. They were 3 times the number of Iron Crown Eagles, but they were still killed by Fang Yuan. It just took a longer time. The results were gratifying. Fang Yuan could feel his attainment level rising. He was improving again. This type of feeling towards getting stronger was extremely intoxicating. However, when Fang Yuan saw the uncountable number of snow monsters on the ground, his heart sank again. Earlier, he was only fighting over a dozen desolate beast snow monsters, but now there were 50 to 60 of them. And in the blizzard, more and more small snow monsters were appearing, while the desolate beast snow monsters were progressing to ancient desolate beast level. This situation made Fang Yuan determined to stop it as soon as possible. In this situation, I can only use the 3rd sword path killer move. Immortal killer move. triple-layered sword wave. Fang Yuan took in a deep breath. More than 60% of his concentration was on this. He activated more than 500 mortal GU at once, and even more supplementary GU worms as time passed. This killer move's difficulty as well as the time needed to activate it were far higher than sword marks targeting death. Thus, it could not be used extensively. Finally, Fang Yuan took out Wave Sword Immortal GU. This Immortal GU looked like either a blade or water at various times. It expanded in the air, soon resembling a blue circular wave of water. It surrounded the area all around it. Fang Yuan was about to attack the snow monsters, when at this time, a huge figure descended. Fang Yuan raised his head and drew in a deep breath. He saw that a giant ruined bat had formed and filled the sky, covering the surroundings. Oh no! Fang Yuan's heart jumped. This ruined bat was huge. It was an ancient desolate beast, able to fight rank 7 GU immortals. At the same time, ruined bats were space path beasts. They had incredible destructive force. If they rampaged in the immortal aperture, they could even shatter the walls of the immortal aperture. Chapter 1056. Fang Yuan undergoes tribulation, 4/5. It is only my first earthly calamity, but there are so many desolate beast snow monsters, and even an ancient ruined bat. Fang Yuan looked up with a bitter expression. The ancient ruined bat was huge. It cast a shadow that loomed over Fang Yuan and countless snow monsters. At once, the blizzard weakened. The snow monsters stopped making cries and roars. They looked up at this ferocious beast in the sky. Before leaving Langya Blessed Land, I had already used luck path killer moves to increase my luck. Since the tribulation, I have been using dog shit luck immortal GU continuously. My luck should have reduced the might of the earthly calamity already. Even so, this earthly calamity is still so incredibly powerful. Fang Yuan gritted his teeth, focusing his mind again. The ancient ruined bat flew in the sky. Its body was huge like a mountain, crashing down on Fang Yuan. At once, aura was bursting out. The air was compressed as a strong pressure could be felt. Sword path killer move, triple-layered sword wave. Fang Yuan had no way to retreat. He could only face it and use the third sword path killer move. Rumble. A loud sound. The sword waves around him started moving around. They rumbled as ripples appeared. These waves were shining with a silvery white light. They were extremely sharp and had incredible offensive power. The waves moved upwards in defiance of gravity, splitting apart in the air, as multiple gigantic waves crashed at the ancient ruined bat. The ruined bat did not make a sound. It smashed these waves. Fang Yuan pushed with a hand. Swoosh, another huge wave was summoned. This wave was larger than the first one. It filled the entire surroundings. There were many ripples at the edge of the wave. They were shining and emitting a dangerous aura. Wherever the sword waves went, everything was cleansed. The blizzard was wiped out and even air shattered. Evidently, this was an area of effect attack. It used the rank 7 wave sword immortal GU as the core, along with several water path immortal GU which were borrowed from Langya Land Spirit by Fang Yuan. The second sword wave crashed into the ruined bat. The ruined bat, which was flying down, stopped moving for a moment. At the same time, it screeched out in pain. The sword wave did not last long. After it receded, Fang Yuan could see that there were deep marks left by swords on the ancient ruined bat. In normal situations, ruined bats would avoid danger and would retreat when they encountered danger that threatened their lives. But this ancient ruined bat was not a normal specimen. It was formed from the earthly calamity. After getting injured, it did not rest. It charged at Fang Yuan relentlessly. The ruined bat was a space path beast. Facing it, Fang Yuan's sword escape immortal GU had little effect. Because the space around Fang Yuan was affected by the ruined bat's strength. 1 or 2 steps would take several hundred steps to travel in reality. Simply dodging was a terrible idea. Even though the ruined bat flew slowly, its space path powers also restricted Fang Yuan's speed. The only way to resist was by eliminating the enemy, using offense against offense. That was the best plan. Thankfully, triple-layered sword wave could unleash 3 sword waves. Its might grew with each wave. The third wave. The sword wave was 10 meters tall. It crashed towards the ancient ruined bat with immense might. The sound of the moving wave filled the world. The ripples were sharp with sword light. Even Fang Yuan, who was the user, felt his body shuddering, a feeling of chilliness inside him. Boom! The sword wave and the ruined bat collided. The ancient ruined bat's charge halted. It raised its head and cried out in utter pain. The sword wave struck at its stomach. The wounds from earlier were hit again. Its injuries were deepening. Finally, when the wave was about to run out of water, it pierced through the ancient ruined bat's back. Poof! With a loud sound, a large amount of flesh and blood fell from the ancient ruined bat's body. After being cut by the third sword wave, the ancient ruined bat, Slimmed down, its huge body became much smaller. The gigantic mountain which emitted an immense pressure had been lifted. Fang Yuan felt his entire body relaxing. The space path power that was restricting him earlier had vanished. The heavily injured ancient ruin bat crashed to the ground, after floating around like a kite with its strings cut. With a huge sound, snow and ice were sent flying on impact. I killed it. Fang Yuan was joyous, but his expression suddenly changed. A huge amount of true meaning entered his mind, like a waterfall from the 9 heavens. This true meaning far surpassed the total gains from earlier. In an instant, Fang Yuan's state of mind was scattered. Fang Yuan forgot himself, he was like a ruin bat, from birth to growing up, until his death. Flying in the sky, he tore through space, traveling freely in the huge world. After a momentary daze, Fang Yuan jolted to awareness, his eyes, which were unfocused, gave off a sharp light. It seems that too much true meaning would be like a snake swallowing an elephant, I would overeat and have a risk of dying from bursting my stomach. Realizing this, cold sweat dripped from Fang Yuan's forehead. Reckless Savage's true meaning was good, it was the fastest way to raise one's attainment level. But there was a limit to everything in the world. Too much of a good thing would lead to harm. With too much of Reckless Savage's true meaning, the GU Immortal's consciousness would be destroyed. Thankfully, Fang Yuan had a Wisdom Path foundation and had defensive Wisdom Path Immortal GU that he borrowed from Langya Land Spirit. Otherwise, Fang Yuan's consciousness would be destroyed by the true meaning. After losing his senses, he might think he was truly a ruined bat that had died in the earthly calamity. I have little immortal essence left, thankfully, the ancient ruined bat is already dead. Fang Yuan floated in the sky, looking down. After the ruined bat's corpse landed on the ground, it turned into snow, breaking apart. But there were 100 desolate beast snow monsters on the ground, along with an uncountable number of small snow monsters. 70 feet tall ancient desolate beast snow monsters were starting to appear. Damn it, it has only been such a short time. Seeing this, Fang Yuan felt terrible, he felt a strong sense of helplessness towards such a huge group of enemies. To clear up these snow monsters, I will need to borrow immortal essence stones from Langya Land Spirit. Fang Yuan was not willing to do it, he had already repaid the debt he owed to Langya Land Spirit, but now he had no choice but to borrow again. The blizzard which had weakened was getting stronger again. Palm-sized snowflakes flew down from the sky. Raging winds rampaged wildly. 2 ancient ruin bats started to form in the blizzard. Fang Yuan's body shook, his expression was ashen as he cursed internally. I might as well die, what sort of earthly calamity is this? Even heavenly tribulations are not this terrifying. This was of course, just a complaint to vent his emotions. Fang Yuan gritted his teeth, he shot out like an arrow, taking the initiative to attack. The ancient ruin bat earlier had almost killed him already. If 2 appeared at the same time and attacked Fang Yuan, he could not win. The earthly calamity's power was starting to decline, it was going to end. These 2 ancient ruin bats formed slowly, it could not compare to earlier. Fang Yuan wanted to attack before these 2 ancient ruin bats finished forming. But at this time, a new blizzard started to fall from the sky. Several huge snowballs were directed towards him, they were like horse carriages. Thankfully, Fang Yuan had quasi-grandmaster flying attainment, he dodged in time and was not hit. Fang Yuan took a look, the perpetrators were the snow monsters on the ground. After the nurturing of the blizzard, the ancient snow monsters had increased in numbers, growing rapidly. Earlier there were only a few, now there were 28 of them. These ancient snow monsters clenched their fists as snowballs formed. After growling, they stretched their hands as the horse carriage-like snowballs shot up like meteors towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's heart sank to rock bottom. These 2 ancient ruin bats were hard to deal with, and with these snowballs obstructing his movement, his plan would be delayed. By the time these 2 ancient ruin bats formed, Fang Yuan would fail this tribulation for sure. Just as Fang Yuan was in a dangerous situation while undergoing tribulation in his immortal aperture, someone else was also undergoing tribulation in the icy plane. This was a GU Master's immortal ascension, the heaven and earth chi was turning into the tribulation. Master, save me, the GU Master cried out, facing the attack of the frost lightning. He could not retaliate, he could only watch as death descended. Bam! A soft sound echoed. At the crucial moment, a figure stood in front of the GU Master undergoing tribulation. The frost lightning that was unstoppable against the GU Master was fragile as paper in front of this person. The frost lightning appeared and disappeared just as quickly. It was useless, it could not even touch that person's clothing. Master's cultivation level is so high. The GU Master sighed. Ever since the tribulation started, he had been sighing and feeling shocked, he was almost numb now. This is only the flying frost jumping lightning tribulation, it is not even one of the 10 great catastrophes. Gu Immortal Chudu was expressionless, he felt regret looking at the lingering frost lightning. Master, from your words, you are not happy with the intensity of the tribulation. The Gu Master asked. Chudu answered plainly, when Gu Masters ascend, they draw in heaven and earth chi, during this process, they would mingle with heaven's will. If they ask any questions regarding cultivation, heaven's will would give them an answer. This is also known as natural inspiration. But in the northern icy plain, when strength path Gu Masters undergo immortal ascension, they would trigger reckless savage's true meaning. Because of this, the Gu Master does not interact with heaven's will, instead, they will mingle with reckless savage's true meaning, and their strength path and transformation path attainment levels will rise sharply. The stronger the tribulation, the higher the quantity of reckless savage's true meaning gathered. I nurtured all of you disciples because I want the true meaning of reckless savage during your ascension. Obtaining the true meaning would allow my strength path attainment level to rise. So that's it, the Gu Master realized. So this is what Master meant regarding the need for my help when you made me your disciple back then. Chudu was about to speak when a huge sound from a great distance was heard. Chudu looked, he saw that far away, space was cracked, like a broken mirror, the scene of Fang Yuan fighting with the ancient ruin bats in his immortal aperture could be seen. Chudu's body shook, his eyes were shining immediately. Chapter 1057, Fang Yuan undergoes tribulation 5/5. Chudu, known as Domination Immortal, a legendary person in Northern Plains Gu Immortal world. He was born in a poor family, he was not of the Huang Jin bloodline, he had a lowly start, even his aperture awakening was by chance. Without any teachers or tribesmen to help him, he cultivated alone. He cultivated strength path, but was not restrained by the flaws of it. With his overwhelming talent, he independently created Jin strength Gu, strength of 10 Jin Gu, Jun strength Gu, strength of 10 Jun Gu and others. Using these Gu worms, he grew step by step, under everyone's shocked gazes, he turned from immortal to an immortal. But this was not the end of his legend. When he became a Gu Immortal, he went back to his roots and created the human Jun strength branch. This small branch gave the dying strength path a surge of rejuvenation, it was as if vitality had filled dying trees, strength path shined again in a different light. After the beast strength phantom branch and atmospheric heaven and earth branch, it was recognized by everyone that strength path had a new human Jun strength branch. With his efforts alone, he changed the future of strength path. Nobody could deny his grand achievement. Now, 9 out of 10 Northern Plains Gu Masters cultivated strength path on the side, they mostly used the human Jun strength branch. Destiny was a mystical thing, nobody could decipher it. Be it Chudu or Fang Yuan, they had never thought that they would meet in such a situation. Fang Yuan was undergoing tribulation, because of the ancient ruin bat's power, his immortal aperture's walls were shattered, connecting to the outside world. And Chudu was assisting his disciple in his immortal ascension tribulation, absorbing the true meaning of reckless savage. The northern icy plain was so huge, but these two people chose their tribulation location so closely. Both of their eyes made contact over the distance in an instant. Chudu had just destroyed his disciple's tribulation, one of his hands was behind his back, while the other was toying with the frost lightning, he was calm and composed. Fang Yuan was wearing a white robe, he had a sharp gaze, his body was injured, battle intent rose in him like he was a divine sword, the sharpness in him made even Chudu frown. Someone is undergoing tribulation here, what is going on? The ancient ruin bat inside has reckless savage's true meaning, it manifested using the tribulation. This person has such an amazing method, he can replicate the immortal ascension and obtain reckless savage's true meaning to improve himself. Chudu felt immense shock before it turned into joy. Domination Immortal Chudu, Fang Yuan was shocked. This person is helping another person with his tribulation, he must be after reckless savage's true meaning. Oh no, he saw what is going on here, he will definitely seek me. Fang Yuan had obtained the killer move Immortal Tribulation Tempering Aperture from Land Spirit, this was a huge attraction to Domination Immortal Chudu. As long as I can get his method, why would I need to bother with raising disciples for immortal ascension? I can undergo tribulations myself and draw in reckless savage's true meaning, the tribulations would be stronger and I would obtain even more true meaning, that would be best. I must get this method. Chudu screamed in his mind, he shot towards Fang Yuan like a flash of lightning. He was known as the Domination Immortal, in the past when he was rank 6, an experienced lone immortal came to find trouble with him and was beaten to a pulp. The lone immortal called for reinforcements, but the 3 lone immortals were chased by the newly ascended Chudu. He chased them for an enormous distance before killing all 3 immortals. 100 years later, Chudu and a Gu immortal of Lu tribe had a conflict. After a dozen rounds of fighting, the Lu tribe Gu immortal lost and begged him for mercy, but Chudu killed him without hesitation. Next, Lu tribe sent out several Gu immortals. Chudu's 2 fists could not rival 4 palms. He was outnumbered. He went into seclusion for decades. When he appeared again, he had rank 7 cultivation level. He went around and destroyed 18 of Lu tribe's resource points in 3 days. 3 of Lu tribe's Gu immortals chased after him, but he did not run away. Instead, he forced the 3 Lu tribe Gu immortals to retreat and even nearly attack their headquarters. Chudu encircled Lu tribe's blessed land and refused to leave. Lu tribe's first supreme elder emerged outside in anger, fighting with Chudu for a long time. He was an experienced rank 7 expert, but he could not do anything to Chudu. He could only let him leave freely. After this battle, Chudu's reputation surged. The entire Gu immortal world found out about his domineering style. No Gu immortal dared to look down on him. Those who tried to find trouble with him had to consider it thoroughly before acting. But after this battle, Chudu became very low profile. He cultivated in seclusion and rarely showed himself. It was only during the recent Northern Plains auction that he appeared in front of everyone. Now, it seemed that in the past, Chudu gained a huge growth in strength and defeated Lu tribe because of Reckless Savage's true meaning. He nurtured a few Gu masters and helped them to ascend to Immortal. His strength path attainment level reached Grandmaster level, and he created his own Immortal killer moves. When the time was ripe, he took advantage of Lu tribe's temporary weakness and challenged them. He not only took revenge for himself, he even created a fierce reputation. These last years, he had been secluded, staying inside the northern icy plain, trying to excavate the huge treasure known as Reckless Savage's true meaning. Chudu saw Fang Yuan. He not only wanted Fang Yuan's method of drawing out Reckless Savage's true meaning, he even had a feeling of unhappiness because his treasure was being taken by others. Thus, he did not think too deeply. He attacked directly. He wanted to take down Fang Yuan and interrogate the method to lure out Reckless Savage's true meaning. Though the distance was great, it was nothing to Gu immortals. Their distance was shrinking rapidly. Chudu stretched out his right hand, pointing at Fang Yuan who was in the immortal aperture, but a sword light shot at him first. He reacted quickly, but Fang Yuan was even faster. Almost at the first instant, Fang Yuan used sword marks targeting death and shot out Flying Sword Immortal Gu. Flying sword pierced through the sky, shining in bright silvery light. Chudu could not look at it directly. Chudu chuckled. He stretched out his right arm, grabbing at Flying Sword. Boom! An explosion caused the air to burst. A huge strength path phantom in the form of Chudu's right hand squeezed the air. It was like a rampaging mountain, moving quickly and grabbing Flying Sword Immortal Gu. Surprise flashed across Fang Yuan's eyes. Chudu's strength path phantom hand was very similar to his giant hand. But evidently, his strength path giant hand was not only stronger than Fang Yuan's, it was even more agile. Chudu's strength path giant hand moved together with his actual right hand. After grabbing Flying Sword Immortal Gu, Chudu clenched his fist and directly sealed Flying Sword Immortal Gu. Fang Yuan instantly felt that his connection to Flying Sword Immortal Gu weakened severely. Chudu frowned in an unnoticeable manner. He opened his clenched fist. He saw a trace of blood at the center of his palm. It was the killer move sword marks targeting death's effect. Interesting, he commented lightly. While he said that, the injury on his palm has already healed. Hand over the method and I will spare your life. Chudu proclaimed, but when he raised his head, his expression changed. At the crucial moment, Fang Yuan chopped off the lower half of his body. He used a certain blood path killer move and refined his lower body into a pool of blood. The blood fused into the immortal aperture's gap and fixed the crack within space in an instant. Chudu quickly used his strength path giant hand to attack. But it was a moment too late. He had lost his chance. The giant hand failed to hit anything. Like a crashing meteor, it landed on the ground and formed a huge crater of over dozens of meters wide. Chudu flew to the spot where Fang Yuan placed his immortal aperture with a heavy expression. He did not have any method to break into the immortal aperture. Damn it, why did I encounter Domination Immortal of all people? Inside the immortal aperture, Fang Yuan only was left with his upper body. He floated in the air. His injuries were severe. His lower body had already been refined and used. Intense pain did not affect Fang Yuan due to the use of Gu worms. Faced with 2 ancient ruin bats, he kept his composure and calmness. I have to kill these 2 ruin bats as soon as possible. Fang Yuan gritted his teeth, his expression was ruthless. Triple-layered sword wave. He used this killer move consecutively, the waves crashed against the ancient ruin bats. Ah! Fang Yuan's 7 orifices spurted blood, his head was dizzy, he was on the verge of fainting. His head was hurting. Triple-layered sword wave was a killer move that used many GU worms, it was not easy to activate. In order to use so many GU worms, he had used up all of the thoughts in his mind, his brain was in a state of overuse. And to protect his aperture walls, to prevent the ancient ruin bats from causing more destruction, Fang Yuan had to block all of the ancient ruin bats' attacks desperately. Seconds passed like years. Every time he blocked an ancient ruin bat's attack, Fang Yuan's vision turned dark, he was uncertain about his capability regarding blocking the next attack. He could not think of anything else, all of his newly produced thoughts were used to mobilize all of the GU worms in his body. Both sides were like warriors in a death match, they attacked with sharp weapons and stabbed their opponents continuously, whoever was unable to endure it would fall in defeat first. After an unknown period of time, a gust of wind blew, clarity flashed in Fang Yuan's dazed eyes. Did I succeed? He looked up in the sky, at the falling ancient ruin bat as he muttered to himself. Soon, the thoughts in his mind replenished amply, he could finally think again. He finally killed one ancient ruin bat, there was still another left. Fang Yuan licked his dry lips, his face was pale as paper, but it showed a distorted expression as he charged towards the ancient ruin bat again. It was much easier for him this time. Facing an ancient ruin bat alone, Fang Yuan felt much less pressure, the thoughts in his mind increased in number, he could think of more things, he could attack the ruin bat after making rational decisions in response. But he did not dare to relax. If another ancient ruin bat formed, it would be troublesome. Even worse was if domination immortal Chudu was allowed to come in, if that happened, Fang Yuan's situation would be far worse, it might be even more terrifying than dying in the calamity. But eventually, the heaven and earth chi calmed, and Fang Yuan succeeded in killing the third ancient ruin bat, no more ruin bats formed, and Chudu was absent. The calamity has ended, I finally survived this. Fang Yuan looked down weakly, this place had already turned into an icy field, countless desolate beast snow monsters were staring at him, growling as they showed ruthless expressions. Thankfully, my immortal aperture is big enough, there are no resources in here yet, I will let these snow monsters stay for now. They cannot break the aperture walls. Fang Yuan flew up to the first layer of the heavens in the sky of his immortal aperture. He was severely injured, he needed to recuperate. While healing his injuries, he also needed to prepare for battle. If Chudu invaded this place, it would no laughing matter. Chapter 1058. Blood Acid Immortal GU. 3 days later, inside the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. The Sovereign Immortal Aperture was extremely huge, its layout was like the 5 regions and 9 heavens. After Fang Yuan succeeded in passing the tribulation, he had been staying inside the first layer of the 9 heavens to heal. At this moment, he was at a crucial moment of healing his injuries. Fang Yuan was submerged hundreds of feet under a lake of blood which filled a wide surrounding range. He was gravely injured, it was a sad sight. His entire lower body was cut away, only his upper body was in the lake of blood. The lake of blood was full of life force, it entered his huge injury continuously. After 3 days, a blood-colored silhouette could be vaguely seen in the form of his legs and lower body. Suddenly, Fang Yuan opened his eyes. His eyes were blood red, the moment he opened them, it was as if lightning shined deeply inside the dark lake of blood. Blood path body refinement, restore my immortal body. Fang Yuan cried out in his mind, countless thoughts were colliding. Tens of thousands of mortal GU were mobilized with thoughts, they shined with dazzling light. These mortal GU were placed in various parts of the blood lake. Once connected, the entire dark lake of blood shined in a bright red light. Gradually, the lights from these mortal GU fused into one. A rank 6 immortal GU emerged from Fang Yuan's body, floating upwards. This GU resembled a round pearl, it was as large as a goose egg, the pearl had countless markings on it that were moving around, like the blooming of a field of lotuses or the rumbling of clouds. Blood Path Immortal GU, Blood Acid. This immortal GU was not one known to Fang Yuan, this was a GU innovated by the previous Langya land spirit, he had created this using Blood Path GU recipes he bought in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Blood Acid Immortal GU's effect was to protect a portion of the immortal materials or GU worms during refinement. If the refinement failed, some of these immortal materials or GU worms could be restored afterwards using Blood Acid Immortal GU. Ever since he obtained this immortal GU, the previous Langya land spirit had saved a huge amount of resources. The previous land spirit treasured this immortal GU deeply, he would not exchange it no matter what. But after changing personalities, the new Langya land spirit most wanted to promote the rise of hairy men, he did not have much interest in GU refinement. When transacting with Fang Yuan, blood acid immortal GU fell into Fang Yuan's demonic clutches. Fang Yuan obtained it and did not outwardly express any emotions, but he was overjoyed internally. This GU could only be used in refinement path in the hands of ordinary GU immortals. But Fang Yuan was a blood path grandmaster. Not only could he display its full ability, he could also use it in a variety of ways that surpassed its original limits. Novel full. Like now, blood acid immortal GU caused the entire lake of blood to boil, like a volcano that was ready to erupt with molten magma underneath. Goo goo goo. Large numbers of bubbles floated to the surface of the lake. Streams of life force gushed into blood acid immortal GU like sparrows returning to their nests. Blood acid immortal GU floated above Fang Yuan's head, it rapidly rotated, like an inexhaustible black hole, it drew away all of the vitality in the lake of blood. Next, after purification, a stream of life force that could be seen with the naked eye, resembling translucent flowing water, poured into Fang Yuan's body. Crack crack. Fang Yuan's bones were cracking, it was a delightful sound. His withered flesh became enriched, inflating like a ball. The injuries on his skin vanished instantly. His long black hair grew out, covered in a layer of gloss. Most important was the huge injury on Fang Yuan's body. The translucent blood-colored silhouette of his lower body started to gain physical form under the injection of vitality. In the blink of an eye, Fang Yuan's heavy injuries healed, his flesh recovered and he was whole again. Whoosh! Fang Yuan shot out of the lake of blood like an arrow, appearing in the air. His consciousness swept around the area as he nodded in satisfaction. This body created by sovereign immortal fetus GU is truly profound and mystical. I have Tao marks of every path, yet they don't interfere with each other. Because of this, I can use healing methods of any path and display their full effect. If not, how could I recover from this terrible injury in only 3 days? Fang Yuan stretched out his arm, blood acid immortal GU shot out of the lake of blood like a meteor, into Fang Yuan's hands. Holding this immortal GU in front of him, Fang Yuan took a look of appreciation before placing it on his chest. Blood acid immortal GU lived on Fang Yuan's body, at his chest area, turning into a red pearl tattoo. This type of storage was not safe. If Fang Yuan's body was destroyed, blood acid immortal GU would also face destruction. Immortal GU were extremely fragile, even toddlers could kill rank 9 immortal GU. It was safest to keep it in the immortal aperture. But now, Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture was still in the outside world, he could only do this, but as long as he was careful, there would be no issue. In the 500 years of my previous life, I could not obtain a single blood path immortal GU even after a long search. I had no choice but to refine Spring Autumn Cicada. If I had this blood path immortal GU back then, I would have already achieved much more in life. Even if the 10 great ancient sects encircled me, I would be able to fight them confidently. Fang Yuan was not simply bragging. In his previous life, he had battle strength at the peak of rank 6, he had fought against 2 ordinary rank 7 GU immortals and won. Even though there were many reasons for the outcomes, like the terrain and other coincidences, defeating a rank 7 as a rank 6 was truly an incredible feat. Of course, compared to Bo Qing and Feng Zhuzhe, this was a very ordinary achievement. But the important thing was, Fang Yuan defeated the rank 7 GU immortals without any immortal GU himself. He used blood path mortal GU and mortal killer moves to defeat such strong foes. During that time, Fang Yuan became an immortal using blood path. He not only created his own blood path mortal GU, he even designed many blood path killer moves. They were either high in power, had mysterious effects, or were very bloodthirsty abilities. Fang Yuan's blood path attainment level was Grandmaster. He did not lack anything but a blood path immortal GU. If he had it, he could quickly modify his mortal killer moves into countless immortal killer moves. His battle strength would surge immensely. In his previous life, or even after rebirth, Fang Yuan did not obtain a single blood path immortal GU. After rebirth, he advanced rapidly, taking huge risks and facing great challenges. Because of all sorts of reasons, he did not obtain a single blood path immortal GU. Author's note. Actually, it was the influence of Heaven's will. Until recently, he finally obtained blood acid immortal GU from trading with Langya land spirit. Actually, Fang Yuan did not want to start his blood path cultivation so early. Any blood path GU immortal would be detected by Heavenly Court and be listed on the Demon Judgment Board. Blood path was very harmful, even demonic cultivators did not like them, everyone wanted to exterminate them. Novel full. When Fang Yuan obtained blood acid immortal GU, he thought, the less I use it, the better. But situations were unpredictable. During the tribulation, he encountered domination immortal Chudu. His life was at stake, he had to use blood acid immortal GU to create the immortal killer move to seal the gap in the aperture wall. When healing himself, Fang Yuan also used a blood path killer move. Only this healing technique could heal his injuries rapidly, and allow him to defend against the huge threat of Chudu. Fang Yuan did not want to ask for more help from Langya land spirit, the more he exposed, the higher the chances of leaking information. Fang Yuan had reserved some information from Langya land spirit, he concealed the biggest secret of sovereign immortal aperture. Fang Yuan was a blood path grandmaster, with his 500 years of deep accumulation, it was easy to modify blood path mortal killer moves into immortal killer moves, it was a natural process. It was unlike He Lu Lan in the past, who faced so much difficulty in elevating self-strength phantom to immortal level. In fact, he had created many blood path immortal GU recipes in his previous life. But because his refinement path and wisdom path attainment levels were too low, he could not continue on those deductions, they were very incomplete. After retrieving blood acid immortal GU, Fang Yuan thought to himself, 3 days have passed, Chudu did not attack, it seems he has no methods to break into the immortal aperture. 3 days ago, Fang Yuan paid a huge price of getting heavily injured to seal the aperture wall's gap, causing Chudu's plan to fail. If Chudu had any methods, he would have used them already. But 3 days had passed, even if some methods needed time for preparation, they would not take 3 days, thus, Fang Yuan surmised that Chudu had no options. This was not strange. After an immortal aperture is placed in the 5 regions, as long as the entrance was not open, they would shrink into a tiny spot and be undetectable, outsiders could not break in. Back then, when Immortal Crane sect attacked to Immortal Blessed Land, they had to use Fang Zheng's bloodline as a connection to use blood path methods in sensing where the Blessed Land was. Chudu was a strength path GU immortal, while methods to pierce into immortal apertures involved space path. Fang Yuan guessed correctly, but he did not relax as a result. Even though Chudu could not break into the sovereign immortal aperture, he could stay behind and guard this area. This was an expected situation. Thinking from his perspective, as the strength path GU immortal Chudu who wanted to obtain reckless savage's true meaning desperately, would he ever give up such a huge opportunity? In the past, when facing Lu tribe, a super force, Chudu did not leave and stayed outside their headquarters, until Lu tribe's first supreme elder fought with him. Fang Yuan was alone, how could he compare to Lu tribe? Even if he added in Langya Blessed Land, it could not match Lu tribe. Those hairy man GU immortals had negligible battle strength. Furthermore, even if Chudu could not break the aperture walls, he could find others to help. It seems that I am trapped here for now. If I collect my immortal aperture and use sword escape, can I escape from Chudu's pursuit? Fang Yuan shook his head. Sword escape immortal GU might be fast, but it flies in a straight line. I would need to stop if I want to change directions, this is a major flaw. Against ordinary GU immortals, it would work, but against domination immortal, it is not enough. I need at least an immortal killer move. While thinking, Fang Yuan flew below the first layer of the heavens. When he got to the part of the sky where he was undergoing tribulation, the snow monsters sensed Fang Yuan and growled at him, ancient snow monsters even raised their hands, throwing huge snowballs at him. After sighing, Fang Yuan had no choice but to leave. The earthly calamity is over, but these snow monsters are still around. I have to ignore them for now, in any case, this immortal aperture has nothing for them to destroy. I have sword escape immortal GU, but my sword path attainment level is too low. There is more hope in blood path methods. Next, I should modify mortal killer moves and create a blood path immortal killer move, using blood acid immortal GU as the core, for use in movement. Chapter 1059. Dog shit splits luck. Western Desert, on a certain trail. Kill these bastards, the money is all ours. Let's rob them. Guards, defend us, if these goods are lost, the clan will not let us off. Sounds of fighting could be heard. Around a sandy dune, a group of bandits and caravan members were fighting in an intense battle. This bandit group had been committing crimes in the desert for a long time, they were all human GU masters, they were fierce and experienced in battle, they were quite strong. In the merchant caravan, there were few humans, they were mostly feathermen. A portion of this group of feathermen GU masters were standing on the ground guarding the goods, while some were flying in the sky, fighting the bandits. Waves of fiery attacks were unleashed, the temperature was rising, at times, wind blades were shot out, cutting the trail or directly into people, causing bloodshed. Western Desert was flourishing with fire path and wind path GU worms. GU masters of these two paths were most common. After a moment, the bandits had the upper hand, they suffered little loss. But the merchant caravan was already heavy with casualties. Han Li was lying in a pile of goods, his body was covered in blood, his face was charred. He had been hit by a wind blade earlier during the intense battle, there was a deep and long injury on his chest, it was still bleeding. His face was charred because a fire pellet had exploded around him, the hot debris had slammed into his face. Damn it, am I going to die here today? The battle scene had Han Li feel despair. He had started his cultivation journey after much difficulties, becoming a GU master by chance. But he was chased out and could only be a vagrant. To survive, he joined this caravan as a member, but to think that such a merchant caravan would still be targeted by bandits. Run, this merchant caravan is finished, I am not going to die with them. Smart people will run with me, these feathermen are finished, even if they return alive, they will be executed by the clan. The loss was assured, the merchant caravan members started to escape for themselves. They were all human GU masters employed to be guards. These fellows, ignore them, conserve our primeval essence, even if we die, we will die fighting. The Featherman GU masters gritted their teeth, saying angrily. How can this be? Han Li was dazed, he was very young and inexperienced, he could not react to the fact that these human GU masters were escaping. Why are you not running? A Featherman GU master walked over and saw Han Li. Han Li gasped, he did not know what to do, he knew who this Featherman GU master was, he was the leader of the caravan. Even though your cultivation level is low, in some ways, you are far superior to those escaping humans. The Featherman leader sighed, before patting Han Li's shoulder. His hand flashed with light, he patted Han Li's shoulder 3 times, his injuries healed at once. Amazing, this is the might of a rank 4 GU master. Han Li was shocked, he wanted to express his gratitude, but the Featherman leader had already charged into the battlefield. The front lines were in a critical state already, the Featherman leader had to join the fight. Once the rank 4 GU master attacked, the bandits suffered huge losses, many fell off their horses. Among the bandit group, there were rank 4 experts too, but they were sitting at the back, watching coldly with icy smiles on their faces. The Featherman leader quickly controlled the battlefield, he killed many enemies, Han Li watched with much enthusiasm, while the other Feathermen praised loudly. But the Featherman leader's state of mind was turning grim. He knew that the enemy was ruthless, they were using cannon fodder to waste his primeval essence. When the true bandit experts appear, he would have less primeval essence, he would be at a disadvantage. Whoosh! At this time, wind could be heard from afar. The wind was huge and grand, like the howling of a desolate beast. Everyone looked over, as someone shouted, "Oh no! It is a golden thread tornado!" The tornadoes in Western Desert were split into golden thread, silver thread, bronze thread, and so on, in decreasing order of strength. Golden thread tornadoes were the strongest, even a rank 4 GU master would perish if they got trapped in them. The Feathermen panicked, the bandits also panicked, like gunpowder that had been ignited, they shouted loudly as they charged towards the caravan. They wanted to take down the merchant caravan before the golden thread tornado appeared, to take the precious goods and leave. Hold on, the Featherman leader shouted, even though the tornado was dangerous, and Featherman GU masters would still likely die in it. They were able to naturally fly, they would be in a much better situation than the humans. This intense battle reached the climax. Every moment, people lost their lives. Han Li was hiding in between the goods as he defended them. He had low cultivation level, he was not a significant target, the bandits did not think of him as a threat. Han Li was indeed not a threat, when his primeval essence was expended, he was no different from a powerless mortal. Few of the fire pellets and wind blades hit Han Li, because he was near the goods, and both parties did not want to ruin the goods. The tornado moved quickly, it was still far away earlier, but now, it was already close to the battlefield. Winds howled, sand flew in the air, when hitting against Han Li's body, he felt numb and pain. Retreat. Even though he was unwilling, the astute bandit leader called out, choosing to retreat. The bandits moved like the wind, even though they were injured and had blood-red eyes, they left quickly. Quickly, move these goods away. The Featherman leader had severe injuries, but he still placed his focus on the goods first. The Featherman quickly saved the goods, nobody cared about Han Li. The tornado assaulted, Han Li could not save himself, he was sucked into it. Many feathermen and large amounts of goods followed after him. Han Li was swept into the tornado, his vision was spinning, he could not tell which direction he was facing. He was like a flower, flying along with the raging winds, he was in danger of dying. Bam! He did not know whether he had hit a rock or some goods, but he fainted at once. After a long time, he slowly woke up. "Young man, you are finally awake." An old man was sitting beside him, speaking faintly. "You, who are you?" Han Li was still in a daze, he looked around and realized that he was lying on sand, there were rocks, corpses, and goods scattered around him. The tornado stopped. "I survived." Han Li was stunned before bursting out in joy. "If I did not save you, how could you survive?" The old man smiled. "Thank you, senior, for saving my life." Han Li quickly paid respects, sincerely expressing his gratitude. The old man nodded in appreciation. "Back in the day, before becoming an immortal, I was just like you. Today, the tornado that you got swept into was caused by me. I lost my bet with Tianjin after all before dying, I will impart the true inheritance of my entire life to you." Central Continent, inside Broken Sword Valley. "Where is Sword Chi Gu? Chase. This Sword Chi Gu is mine, don't think of snatching it away." A group of Gu masters were shouting, they formed into a stream of people as they charged into the valley. "Lad, don't block us. Anyone who gets in our way will die." Hong Yi was outside of Broken Sword Valley when he saw a group of frenzied Gu masters charging towards him. Among them were rank 3 and 4 experts. Hong Yi's expression paled, he quickly escaped as he moved out of their way. A group of Gu masters whipped a dust storm, running past Hong Yi's body rapidly. What is going on?" Hong Yi muttered, his heart was still pounding. Listening to a conversation among some people passing by explained the situation to him. "I heard there is a rank 4 sword Chi Gu. No wonder so many people are going after it. Let's go quickly, we might be able to encounter a rank 4 sword Chi Gu." Wishful thinking. How long has it been since this Broken Sword Valley was created? There might be only one rank 4 sword Chi Gu. Don't even think about it. Sword Chi Gu rank 4. Hong Yi's heart shook, a look of envy appeared on his face. He quickly ran into the valley. He had explored this valley before, but earlier, it was not like this. As it turned out, before the Battle of Yitian Mountain, when immortal zombie Bo Qing awakened, he had shot out countless sword lights from under falling heavenly river. One sword light landed here, cutting this mountain into two, creating the shape of this valley. This was the origin of Broken Sword Valley. Initially, people did not pay attention to it, but soon, Central Continent Gu masters realized that this valley was producing wild sword path Gu worms. As it turned out, the sword light was not ordinary, every sword light contained sword path Dao marks. After the sword light landed here, sword path Dao marks were carved into the valley. A special location was created, and many wild sword path Gu worms were slowly produced here. This fact could not be concealed, more and more Gu masters came here to find treasures. Earlier, a rank 4 sword Chi Gu was found by someone, creating a huge commotion for everyone. Rank 4 wild Gu worms are extremely rare, even if I encounter one, I would not be able to catch it, it is too dangerous. Hong Yi thought as he carefully explored this valley. He moved away from the crowd, in an ordinary-looking location, he saw something shocking. It was a common caterpillar molting. But the thing was, the caterpillar's skin was shining. Hong Yi was stunned before recognizing this scene, he was overjoyed, such luck. I actually came during the moment when the insect becomes a Gu. This aura it is emitting is so strong. Is it rank 4 or rank 5? Hong Yi could not wait for the caterpillar to finish molting, he quickly grabbed it in his hands. He immediately moved away to a safer location, activating his primeval essence and refining it. A moment later, he succeeded in refining it, he obtained a very strange rank 5 sword path Gu worm. It was black and palm-sized, it looked like a miniature sword sheath of iron. Rank 5 sword sheath Gu. What's the use of this Gu? Even though I obtained a rank 5 Gu, my primeval essence can't activate it. Hong Yi sighed to himself, when suddenly, he saw a sword path Gu worm coming out of a bush near him, it flew slowly towards him and entered the sword sheath Gu in his hand. Hong Yi was shocked, at once he was speechless. Southern border, on a nameless small mountain. It was night time, a huge rainstorm was pouring down. Shang Shenxi, your life ends here today. A muscular man walked towards the peak with his arms behind his back. There were 3 Gu masters defending themselves. 1 male, 2 females. One female Gu master was heavily injured, she was Shang Shenxi's servant, Xiao Lan. The other female GU master had long, silky black hair flowing like a waterfall, her skin was white like snow, she was extremely beautiful, it was Shang Xinxi. Seeing the person approaching, Shang Xinxi smiled bitterly. Shang Baishi, to think that it was really you, why do you need to fight to the death with me? Shang Baishi laughed loudly. Father died, elder brother died, Chao Feng also died. As long as I kill you, eighth brother will ascend to the position of Shang clan leader. Thus, you must die today. Shang Xinxi heard these words and her body shook, she almost fell to the ground, as if an invisible force had pushed her. She said in a mournful tone, for the position of clan leader, Shang Pulao is truly so cold-hearted and cruel. Shang Baishi smiled coldly. Yes, you saved eighth brother's life before, but so what? You want him to repay you with kindness and hand over the position of clan leader. HMPH, Shang clan leader has authority over the entire city. You have undue benevolence, how can you compete with eighth brother? Shang Xinxi shook her head. When I saved him, I did not think of fighting for the position of clan leader. Exactly, that is why you are in this state right now. Ha ha ha, Shang Baishi continued. Lady Xinxi, what's the need to talk to this scumbag? Yi Fan was frowning, his tone expressed his utter hatred and disgust towards Shang Baishi. Young Master Yi, you should leave. He only wants my life, I will give it to him. You are not involved in this, don't interfere, quickly leave. Shang Xinxi pushed Yi Fan's back, urging him to leave. I will not go, Yi Fan shouted. Lady Xinxi, you were the one who saved me, a droplet received in need will be repaid with a whole spring, how can I abandon you? HMPH, how touching. But you won't be able to leave even if you want to. Today, all three of you will die. Shang Xinxi, you are still so naive. If I do not kill all of you, wouldn't the survivors tarnish eighth brother's reputation in the future? Shang Baishi said as he got closer. Yi Fan gritted his teeth, even though he was heavily injured and could not stand straight, he stood in front of Shang Xinxi. A brave man. Shang Baishi commented, before pushing as Yi Fan fell to the ground. If you were in your peak condition, I would have to be wary of you. But your primeval essence has been used up, you are no threat. Ha ha ha, Shang Baishi laughed as he approached Shang Xinxi. Shang Xinxi shut her eyes, giving up any futile resistance. Before dying, in the depths of her heart, the figure of a man appeared. One thought emerged in her mind, if I could see him one last time before dying, how good would that be? But even after waiting for a while, she did not feel Shang Bai's attack. Shang Xinxi opened her eyes in confusion, she only saw that Shang Baishi was some steps in front of her, not moving at all. He was stiff as a statue, an expression of fear was frozen on his face. HMPH, for simply some authority and wealth, you disregarded kinship, you are truly a disgrace to Shang clan. A female immortal appeared. You are. Shang Xinxi was shocked. The female immortal looked at Shang Xinxi with approval, saying warmly, don't be afraid, I am an ancestor of Shang clan, Shang Qingqing. I have decided, from now onwards, you will assume the role of Shang clan leader. Chapter 1060, Pot River, Luck Inspection. Pot River resembled a long jade belt, it was situated in the eastern area of central continent. The water in Pot River was smooth flowing, like a beautiful song, it was graceful and harmonious. Ying Wuxie stood on the bank of Pot River as he waited for Feng Chanzi. Meanwhile, He Lu Lan, Shi Nu, and Tai Bai Yun Sheng were hiding nearby, protecting Ying Wuxie's safety. The river water flowed slowly, two dragonflies were flying above the river, landing on the pot grass nearby at times. There was a lot of pot grass growing in Pot River. This type of grass was deeply rooted in the soil below the river, drawing in nutrients. They were long and thin, the tip of the grass emerged above the river surface. The tip of one of the stalks of pot grass had a brown fruit. This fruit was still fist-sized, it was not mature now. The fruit was empty inside, and was not tightly closed, the tip was opened widely. At this moment, a dragonfly followed the smell of the fruit and entered the fruit rashly. It struggled for a moment, but it was captivated by the intense aroma, it did not fly out again. Ying Wuxie watched silently. He knew, in a few months, more fruits would grow, the fruits would get larger, they would attract more insects, and even fish and prawns. As they grow, the fruit would close up eventually, and when they fully mature, the tips of the pot grass would look like brown pots, tightly sealed. And next, Pot River's annual flood season would come. During the flood season, Pot River would no longer be calm, water would move rapidly, sweeping all of the pot grass away. All these brown fruits would travel in the river, leaving their origins and floating away. On the two sides of the river, GU masters would start to haul up all of these fruits. After smashing them, they could obtain the fish and insects inside, as well as some seeds of the pot grass. There was also a chance of getting GU worms from them. These GU worms were sleeping in the pot grass, they could be easily refined. A super force of the 10 great ancient sects, Wind Cloud Manor, was in charge in Pot River. During this time every year, they would hold a festival around Pot River. Countless GU masters would be drawn here, of all ages and genders, not just Wind Cloud Manor's disciples, but even all the surrounding forces would join in the festive season. As Ying Wuxie looked at the pot grass in the river, his gaze began drifting elsewhere. In order to get the light of the immemorial era, he had already stayed in Pot River for some time. On the surface, he was calm and peaceful, but a lot of frustration was building up inside him, and this feeling was getting stronger as time continued to pass. I have spring-autumn cicada, but it is sealed now and is unusable. Before I refine it again, I will be watched by Heaven's will. Not only can Heaven's will influence my emotions stealthily, it can even plot and influence others to attack me. I cannot give Heaven's will any time to prepare, I cannot stay at the same spot for a long time. If Feng Chanzi does not show up again, I have to give up on this. Ying Wuxie made up his mind. At this time, a green figure flew rapidly along the surface of Pot River, towards Ying Wuxie. It is that rank 6 level grass puppet avatar. Be alert, stay wary of any unexpected surprises. Shadow Sect's immortals transmitted, focusing their minds. The grass puppet avatar saw Ying Wuxie and said arrogantly, "The light of the immemorial era is with me, but Master said that the earlier price will not do, you have to pay an extra 30% on that basis." What? Another 30%? This is extortion, this Feng Chanzi really dares to raise it. The price was already very high, with another 30%, it is exorbitant. She knew and Tai Bai Yunsheng discussed. Ying Wuxie was also furious, but there was no choice, he needed the light of the immemorial era. To refine fixed immortal travel, the light of the immemorial era was needed, there were no alternatives. After staying silent for a while, Ying Wuxie nodded, "I'll agree to it." The grass puppet avatar snorted, "Then let's trade." Ying Wuxie was already prepared amply, both sides transacted quickly. The grass puppet avatar counted the amount before showing a satisfied expression. Ying Wuxie suffered a huge loss, he paid a great price but he had finally obtained the light of the immemorial era, he was overall still pleased with it. He smiled at the grass puppet avatar, "It has been a pleasant transaction, we should trade again some other time." The grass puppet avatar said, "HMPH, again. That depends on my master's mood. Actually, earlier, master did not want to trade, but he had lost a bet to Lang Zichu some time ago, he wants to recoup his losses, so I came. You must remember this, my master definitely did not give the light of the immemorial era to you." Novel full. I understand. Actually, your manor has a huge inventory, it is truly a sea of treasure. Just a bit of the light of the immemorial era, what could it affect? Nobody would notice for sure. Ying Wuxie said politely. "Enough, this matter is over, quickly leave now, we cannot stay here for long." The grass puppet avatar said before leaving. Even without its reminder, Ying Wuxie was already ready to leave. Concealing their traces, after flying for 100,000 li, Shadow Sect's group landed in a nameless forest, resting and recovering. Just now, even though we obtained the light of the immemorial era, Feng Chanzi's price was too high, we paid too much. To refine fixed immortal travel, we still need other supplementary immortal materials. Shi Nu said. Thankfully, the light of the immemorial era is already obtained, the following matters are easier to solve. We can make use of Defy. Tai Bai Yunsheng suggested. The important thing is, how many refinements can you do with this portion of the light of the immemorial era? He Lulan got to the point immediately. When GU immortals refine immortal GU, just one batch of immortal materials was not enough. Disregarding the hairy man heaven and earth style, and just looking at the human isolation style, the chances of refining a rank 6 immortal GU were often less than 1%. Theoretically, Ying Wuxie and others should have prepared 100 portions of materials. But after experimentation, reality was even more cruel. Because the success rate was not just dependent on the amount of immortal materials. Many times, even with more than 100 portions of immortal materials, one can still fail the refinement. This portion of light of the immemorial era can last for 9 refinement attempts. Ying Wuxie said as he paused. He secretly activated an immortal GU in his body. Rank 6 Luck Inspection Immortal GU. This immortal GU originally belonged to Qin Bai Sheng, coincidentally, because he needed it, Shi Nu obtained it and used it temporarily. After the Battle of Yitian Mountain, Shadow Sect failed, and this luck inspection Immortal GU was transferred to Ying Wuxie. This was an investigative GU worm that could inspect the luck of people. Ying Wuxie's eyes shone as he looked above him. His vision was very different now. A luck pillar, resembling an illusion, appeared in Ying Wuxie's eyes. Ying Wuxie was taken aback. Why did my luck improve so much out of nowhere? He had already inspected his own luck long ago, it was very bad. And because of spring-autumn cicada's drawback, his luck was continuing to decrease. But now, it was much better than his initial assessment. Don't tell me, a thought flashed in Ying Wuxie's mind. He thought of Fang Yuan. He also thought of the self-luck true inheritance in Langyao Land Spirit's hands. Earlier, Shadow Sect invaded Langyao Land Spirit and took a portion of Refinement Cauldron. We even destroyed Dogshit Luck Immortal GU accidentally. Langyao Land Spirit was preparing to refine it once again, and it just so happens that he succeeded recently. Perhaps he has already lent Dogshit Luck to Fang Yuan. Ying Wuxie felt that this was the most likely possibility. A few days ago, he was informed that Fang Yuan had passed his tribulation. Because Shadow Sect still had one hairy man GU Immortal traitor left inside Langyao Blessed Land. That must be it. Originally, Fang Yuan connected his luck to several people, splitting it equally. After the Battle of Yitian Mountain, my body is Fang Yuan's, while he still has his soul, both involve the connected luck. When he uses Dogshit Luck Immortal GU to improve his own luck, it will flow down like water, going towards Yifan, Han Li, Hong Yi, and He Lu Lan. And these 4 people have luck connected to my body, thus, I also benefited from it. No wonder I waited so long earlier with no results and slim hopes. But now, Feng Chanzi suddenly lost a bet to Lang Zichu and needs capital, thus he transacted with me and I obtained the light of the immemorial era. After thinking about it, Ying Wuxie found out about Fang Yuan's immense value. Novel full. His immortal aperture has to undergo tribulation every 2 months, he must have used Dogshit Luck to increase his luck and decrease the might of the earthly calamity. This way, I can benefit from it. I do not need to go to Northern Plains and find Longevity Heaven to borrow luck. Even though he knows that this would strengthen his enemies, he has no choice. Because the calamities and tribulations of the sovereign immortal aperture far exceed logic, he has to do everything he can to survive every crisis. However he chose to undergo tribulation in the northern icy plain, it was truly a wise move. Heaven's will is targeting him, trying to get rid of him, it would definitely strengthen the earthly calamity. But undergoing tribulation in the northern icy plain, reckless savage's true meaning replaced a portion of heaven's will, it greatly reduced the danger. HMPH, I hope you can survive this, I will reclaim your body one day. After staying in the nameless forest for a while, Ying Wuxie and the others moved off on their journey again. Ying Wuxie was moving quickly. He was pressed for time. Not only because his main body's remnant soul was stuck in the dream realm, facing great danger all the time, he had to make use of this good luck to refine fixed immortal travel, because the chances of success would be much higher. Northern Plains, Northern Icy Plain. Master, how long must we stay here? The newly advanced strength path rank 6 GU Immortal asked meekly. Chu Du stood on the icy plain, he looked at the handprint that he had created on the ground, sighing. He did not answer his disciple, he fell into deep regret. I was too rash earlier, why did I attack him without thinking? Since he knows the method to draw out reckless savage's true meaning, it will not be easy for me to get this method, regardless of whether it is an immortal killer move or an immortal GU house. Even if I kill him, I need to prevent his soul from self-detonating, otherwise, it will all be for nothing, I would lose this immense opportunity to gain strength. I needed to act more carefully, at least, I should have been polite before resorting to brute force. Right now, the other party has fixed the gap and is hiding in the immortal aperture, that place is easy to defend but hard to attack, I have no methods to break in. It is not too late to salvage the situation. Maybe I can talk to him. Right, I still have his sword path immortal GU with me, this is a negotiation chip.